Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Thanks, sir.
Live and running.
Yeah. The ever greater and thinner Big Jay Oakerson.
Thank you, Manjaro. Shout out Manjaro.
You're looking good, dude.
Big ups, Manjaro.
It's nice to see.
Thank
know?
you. I am exercising, too.
Beautiful.
You have to, or it will just be floppy and weird and gross.
Or it'll eat your bones.
I guess also, yes, it'll eat your bones, they say. I'm real big on taking this stuff and then not really following up with, like, you know what I mean? I just started doing testosterone from a company that's like, you know, it's above board taking it, but like, they're like, you should make sure you monitor your blood all the time. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get to that at some point. I'm going to keep taking it, though.
You don't monitor your blood at all?
No, not me with any regularity, I think.
You should probably do that.
Yeah, they did it there. I know. Someone I know says they take testosterone and they have to, like, donate blood every month to get blood.
I've heard that
their
before.
blood's so thick.
I talked to my doctor about it because that really doesn't make sense. But he has heard of occasions where people had to do that.
To unthicken their blood?
Too much blood or something. They're like, how much are you taking? Like, what do you do? Are you going ham, bro?
This Men's Health company saw me coming down the road a mile away. They offer me, I'm taking 2 peptides,
started.
and I don't even know. We started.
Sorry, we couldn't wait.
Why even ask me?
I don't know. While you were on the door, I was like, this doesn't make sense. Let's just start.
I'm taking 2 peptides
It'll be
that feel
too
like
weird.
fire. It feels like fire when I inject them. But
Really? What are they?
I don't know. Well, the BPC 157. That's
Right.
the one everyone's doing.
Right, that's a good one.
And then something that's blue.
It's blue.
And the
methylene blue?
I don't know. It burns.
Wait a minute.
You taking blue chew?
Hold up. Methylene blue, you're not supposed to inject.
It's not that then. It's G. It starts with a G. It's
okay.
some of the letters. GH.
Methylene blue is weird stuff. It's a dye for like fabrics that people take for its health benefits. Like
What the fuck?
boosts mitochondria or something. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, what exactly does it do? I should ask, even though I take it. I'm like, I don't take it all the time, but I have taken it, and I don't know. I couldn't describe. I couldn't explain exactly. Here it is: a medication used in the management and treatment of what's that word?
Methhemoglobin.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Methemoglobinemia, a condition where hemoglobin decreases its ability to carry oxygen. Huh.
Straight up.
But it started out as a fabric dye, I'm pretty sure. Right? Doesn't it say that?
What does it do for humans?
I think it was a dye. Yeah. Which is so weird that a dye would have health benefits.
I grew up in a house of supplements. My stepfather was a power lifter, so I only know about creatine.
Sick. That's it.
That's it?
Creatinine was another one that would show up in the house sometimes.
Creatinine? Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know. But
I think
have to go
Jay's
get it
thinking
for me,
creatine
GNC.
twice, and he's just remembering it wrong.
Nah, it was another word. Super creatine.
Creatine's legit. That stuff's super good for you.
Yeah, I just started taking Tongat Ali for my testosterone.
Creatinine is a waste product that forms from the breakdown of creatine in muscles. Huh.
Why would I take it?
There's another natural one. What is it? I think it's called turkesterone.
I know
think that's
Shilajit
what
is
it's
good
called.
for testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few
experimenting
of
on me?
those.
I asked my doctor to put me on testosterone. I think we talked about it because you're like, dude, don't worry, fuck your doctor. I got a doctor for you. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll just stop smoking weed.
You think that was killing your testosterone?
I think so. It was like lower than it should have been. It was like in the high 3s, and now it's at like mid 5s.
Well, like a good doctor, what they'll do first is ask you, like, what do you do for exercise? What are you eating? How much do you sleep? Like, those things are all the first thing the doctor will ask you. And if all that stuff's fucked up, they shouldn't just give you testosterone. They should be like, let's
My place
fix-
did. Shout out Game Day Men's Health. 15 minutes. They'll give me anything I want in a needle.
There's a
Really?
few doctors out there that like to go buck wild.
Of course.
I think they get incentivized.
I got PRP treatment in my hair. I'm not losing my hair.
Oh,
they just
nice.
talked me into it. Now it's never going away.
PRP worked?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I just got it like 2 weeks ago.
Jay is a mark.
Oh.
He's
Yeah.
just- his hair's thinning. It's definitely going.
There's a
No.
bunch of topical stuff that you could use these days.
Sure.
There's like a finasteride topical, but I would worry that would get into your skin and into your bloodstream. Like that finasteride stuff is crazy. Like that makes some people very depressed. It kills your DHT, which is what keeps your hair from falling out. And for some people, it kills their testosterone. They get like super depressed.
Yeah, I started losing my hair when I was 18. I just said, fuck it. I was bald. That's that.
I love not having to talk to a barber.
That's the best. You shave it, which is a big
Everyone
razor.
is fucking
It's beautiful.
Well, how do you find out how much that your barber doesn't know you, but is a big fan of Ralph Barbosa? You guys aren't going to find that
Is
out
that
if you
what
don't
you
get
get
your
from
hair
your
cut at a
barber?
Yeah.
I don't know you, but Ralph
Yeah.
Barbosa is
Do you
the
know Ralph
fucking man,
Barbosa?
dog.
Oh, Kenny. His name's Kenny. He's a nice enough guy.
Ralph Barbosa is slick. He's like a slick comedian. Like his punchlines are like smooth. You know,
Great, very funny, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he's got a
I did
great.
Fully Loaded with him.
He's like he's got a fun like just his approach.
Delivery.
I like it. It's very slick.
Yeah.
You know.
And he's sending the elevator down. I mean, he's taking guys on tour that I've never heard of, but I think been around for a long time.
That's
It's
great.
a cool move.
That's great. Yeah, very good dude. He hung out with us at the mothership one night. Fun guy.
Yeah, he
Funny
got
as shit,
popular
man.
for he like someone said on like George Lopez's show or something. They were like, "This guy sucks." Or
Well,
no,
no.
George Lopez was like, "I don't get it. He's just whatever." And then
Well,
I think
someone
he made
was.
fun of him
I
back.
think someone was talking well about him, and then George Lopez was very dismissive of him, and I think that's what happened.
And someone asked Ralph about it
Yeah.
on something, and his response I think is what made it like very popular. I think he was just saying because he doesn't like me because one of his comments goes like "Odale," and I think that just you can show any picture of George Lopez bugging his eyes out and make that hilarious.
That's hilarious.
It's fucking good fire back.
Yeah.
Are you good at living in comedy beefs? I'm so terrible at it.
No, I don't like comedy beefs.
I
don't
fucking
like.
hate it.
I don't like any beefs.
Lewis, you've been in a few where you've gone to bed on. I mean, I guess I have those same beefs too, but I don't engage as much. With
No,
some
I'm the
people.
loser. I get on a flight and I'll be on Twitter for fucking hours just tweeting at people for no reason at all.
No, but I mean like particular, like a person you could put a face to, like a comic. Like, not that I haven't had a problem with somebody before, but I mean, like, I don't know. I have a hard time like sleeping on like I'm gonna run this person every night and we hate each other.
It's been a while. I mean, I'm not. It's just not that serious. There's nobody in the world that I hate. Like, there's literally no. Even people that hate me, I'm like, yeah, dude, we're cool.
The guy that murdered your father.
Dude, I tried to get him on my podcast.
True.
Oh my god.
So the guy, my father was stabbed to death when I was 4 years old, and then years later, after the guy
Lucky.
got out of prison, I was like, let me try to get this guy on my podcast and interview him. How interesting would that be?
Oh my god.
But he was already dead.
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been insane.
Yeah,
That would've
because I
been
didn't. I wasn't
insane.
like because it was a kid. He was.
Why?
Could you imagine though being like a fucking
You killed my father.
75-year-old man, like showing up at this young guy's house who you stabbed his dad? You're gonna be alone together. That guy's gonna kill you.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I would think. If I was an old man, I couldn't defend myself.
I don't think he was
I'm
that
gonna-
old. He was 17 when he killed my father.
Oh wow.
So he was only 13 years older than me. So he'd be
Oh.
like 60 now, I guess. Yeah, but this is like a decade ago that I was going to do
That
it.
guy's
So.
a convicted murderer, dude. He could fuck your shit up.
Yeah, but he was a kid, and my father beat him up. My father was a bully.
What if he Conor McGregor goes? He goes, "Well, Lewis, I'd like to say I apologize to absolutely fucking nobody at all."
He stabs me off. Yeah. But I thought that would have been an interesting conversation. And I wasn't like going into it being like, oh, you killed my father, I'm angry. I got a great life. If my father lived, I'd probably live in Patterson, New Jersey still. I'd have a shit life. My father was a fucking,
That's what we always tell ourselves.
a drug dealer and a pimp. If he was
Well,
alive.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, but that's always. I said, hey, if my dad stuck around, maybe I wouldn't have the personality I have, and I wouldn't be where I'm at. So maybe it would be way better.
No. Well, I wouldn't have my
Maybe
kid.
I'd be a head of state or
right?
something.
Like
You
if
should
that one sperm had hit that one egg, I wouldn't have my son right now if my father was alive. If anything
Right.
happened differently.
Yeah.
All right, Ashton Kutcher.
That's the imagine.
Butterfly effect over here. Guy watches one movie, all of a sudden he's got to figure it out. Hey, do you guys ever think maybe we're just plugged into a pod somewhere, and this is all nothing? I'm gonna see if I can fly real quick.
I think there's something to that. We're plugged into something. It seems more like it every day. It seems like this is like an advanced stage of the video game right now, where like they're lighting cop cars on fire in L.A. and throwing bricks off of overpasses.
Dude, it does seem fun to order a Waymo and light it on fire. Nobody gets hurt. It's just hilarious.
And I think it's directionally correct.
Yes.
You know, like you should probably start killing robots. Like you guys you're on the right course,
they're early
You know?
on the War of the Machines.
yeah.
They're just
I'm
fucking-
trying to stop the Terminator.
bro. These are all going to be owned by corporations, and it's going to be the only way you're allowed to get around because they're the safest. They're going to take away everybody's driver's license, It's going to get weird as fuck.
Oh, yeah. But it's
It's
going to
gonna
probably
get
be better.
weird
The
as
car's going to
fuck.
go 200 miles an hour probably. Traffic will be eliminated.
Dude, I think there are going to be more of these fucking
I've
things
heard-
that we just saw in L.A. That's what I think.
I've heard that teenagers are going back to smoking regular cigarettes now and getting away from vapes. We might move back analog a little bit. You know what I
Interesting.
mean?
Bring back manual cars.
I wonder if analog makes some sort of where it slows down because people want it to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, but it's too late. They do want it to slow down. Yeah.
I mean, the electric car didn't really take off the way they'd hoped.
Yeah, the
No, I'm
problem
bought
with
into that.
electric cars is the charging time's too much. It's too much. If you're a young single woman and you have to charge your car and you have to just sit there for a fucking hour.
I also feel that way, so I feel like you just called me a young single woman.
Well, you're a man. I mean, any human.
I was gonna rent
any
a,
human's vulnerable, but like a woman by herself is particularly vulnerable, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're a hot girl and you're sitting in your car,
Weak,
how many
stupid.
fucking creeps that know that you have to be there for an hour? How many creeps can bother you?
That's a great idea, Joe.
There you go.
Let's find a hot young
You
Dude,
woman.
I'm going to start getting girls at the fucking charging stations.
I almost
Just
rented
go
a
to
Tesla once.
Starbucks, get a large order, and just walk down the aisle of Teslas waiting to find a hot one.
Looking, yeah, dude.
Have you
Just
ever- have you ever driven a
Tesla
Tesla?
dock slut?
Have you ever driven one?
Nah, dude. From the 70s. I don't trust that electric shit.
I tried it. I was going to rent one once, and they
What,
gave
my
me the
little
keys,
Duval?
and I was like, this is going to be fun. And then I remembered you have to charge it. I was like, I got to drive to fucking Rhode Island right now. I was like, I'm going to have to stop halfway there and charge the car.
I don't think it's.
for a
I think you can
while.
get. I think you can get there. It's just then you have to charge it.
No, I don't
Definitely
think
get
we
back.
wouldn't have made it.
No, it's like the real mileage is different than the mileage it says. So it really should say like percentage of battery, but they want you to like estimate the mileage, but it's all dependent upon how fast you're going. Like if you're accelerating a lot, if you're moving around, if you just stop and go traffic, like who knows what the real mileage is? If you're on, like say if you get stuck in a crazy traffic jam for like 4 hours, like there's some explosion somewhere, like, and you supposedly have 200 miles on your car, is that good for 4 hours of you sitting there too with the radio on, with the air conditioning on? Like, when is
So
it?
are we?
Is it, and
We're
if it's
team.
cold,
We're team Trump then, not Elon. Fuck Elon Musk.
if it's
Fuck
cold,
your stupid car.
if it's cold, they die quick. They
Oh,
die
really?
quicker. Yeah, that happened in Chicago. Remember when they had that fucking big thing where
Oh,
the
yeah.
highway got closed down and people in Teslas were fucked, man, because they just stopped working.
Yeah.
Also, if you blow a tire, like Tesla has to come fix that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why's that?
I don't know, but it's like they have to come handle
the
it.
function of Teslas, though, is amazing. Dude, they're amazing. They fucking drive themselves. You press you're like, where do I go? Doot, doot, doot.
You trust that?
100%. And I go, doot, doot, and it just takes you wherever you want it to
You
go.
just put on a
it
sleep
changes
mask.
lanes. Bro, it's nuts. You could
Yeah.
you could put on like dark sunglasses at night and just like have your hands on the wheel. It's
I'd be
that
like,
good.
No.
No,
I'd be doing
don't
it
do.
the entire
I
time.
don't do it. I don't do it, but I have done it. But I keep my hand near the wheel just to see what it can do. It does everything.
Yeah, no, that's much better. I get like road paralysis, where like if I'm like driving for more than an hour and I'm looking at the lines, not paralysis,
Yeah.
what do they call it? Like road hypnosis. So I'll get
Right.
hypnotized by the lines, and
You
I
start
start
falling asleep?
I start falling asleep. If I have to drive for more than an hour or two at night,
You know how to fix
terrifying.
that? Do you know how to fix that? It's real easy.
cocaine.
No.
No, that's not cocaine.
That'll
Would
probably
work for that.
That'll work too. You're right, but you have to keep doing it over and over again. Get some ice and just a washcloth, with wet washcloth with ice in it, and just rub your face.
Rub your face
You
with
wake
it.
right up.
Yeah.
You wake right up, and it
That
lasts
wet-
for like
to-
5
we,
minutes.
Ice wash rag you keep in your car.
No,
That'd be
what
great.
do they call
Chicks
it?
are gonna love that.
The smelling salts you have in the club.
Oh, those will do it.
Those will do it.
Those
I
will
do.
do it.
I did a terrible
But they
prank.
might fuck you up. You might change lanes.
You maybe shouldn't tell this. It might be illegal what you've done.
No, it's not illegal. It's definitely I will say it's a bad prank to do on a girl. If this was a dude,
This is a crazy,
if
dangerous
this
prank.
was a dude, everyone would have been like, dude, great prank. But because I did it to a girl, it was a little bit fucked up. So we were at the mothership last time we were doing our podcast, and our producer, Alex, is a girl. And she's a big pothead, huge pothead, like real deal. So as podcast producers are.
Also a mother and a wonderful producer.
And a mother, yes. Better producer than mother. No, she's great. So I had the smelling salts, and I was like, oh, these are fucking strong. They're really particularly strong smelling salts. So then I go, Alex, I was like, this weed is fucking great. Give it a whiff. Then I gave her the smelling salt container. She put her nose in it. Dude, she sniffed so hard.
Oh,
you know how potheads want to smell weed. She cried.
It was a 30-minute problem. She said the word "why" a lot. It was like when remember Nancy Kerrigan got her slugged out by the She's like, why? I sweat blood for you. I flew here to help you produce a show.
I felt so bad.
You should not do that.
It was I admit now it was a bad prank. But if it was a dude,
that's big of you.
If that was a dude, is it not just undeniably
Still
hilarious?
pretty brutal.
Yeah, if it's a guy, it's funny.
Yeah.
Funnier.
Yeah, it's funny. It's weird.
It wasn't not
Do it
funny.
to a guy, it's funny. Depend on the guy, you know? Like if you did it to Dave Attell, it'd be mean.
No, it'd be fun. You do it to Kurt Metzger, he just starts punching walls.
He starts rattling off conspiracy theories.
Pretty girls being embarrassed, though, is funny as shit.
It's hilarious.
It is the most evening factor ever. I did when I was on tour with the bands years ago, Korn did Jägermeister music tour. They always had the Jaeger girls would hang out, and I was on the Jägermeister production bus on this tour. So the girls would all come on there. They would come and hang out and drink for free on the bus. And, tour buses, you're not allowed to shit on a tour bus. And only one of the Jaeger girls asked if she could use the bathroom. It was just in the time we were there. And she went, gorgeous girl. And she came back out and she was sitting down. And then the driver comes to start getting the bus ready to leave. And just, a toothless fucking road dog just comes in the bus and you go, somebody took a shit. And everybody knew it was this hot chicken fishnets. And I mean, just the thing, I was like, she was so beautiful that me, probably my heaviest in my life, I was like, I probably could get her now. She's the shit girl. No one's seeking her out. And I'll still do it.
Hilarious.
You can't clean up that good in a fucking...
So it's such a
tour bus
function that
bathroom.
everybody has, but for some reason, I never want to hear about a woman shitting. Ever.
Nah, what about the
Why
MTV
don't
girl?
they develop a toilet that you can shit on a bus? Is that beyond our science?
I don't know why it can't be. I'm sure there's something that can be done.
It seems like it should be done. I think they're just being lazy. No shitting on the tour bus. Like, what if you
But
have to
if you
take a shit? That's crazy.
But
Because
if you
they have
see,
to empty it out. That's the problem. So I think you can shit on the tour bus, but the person that has to clean the toilet has to now empty out your shit amongst the piss.
like manually with
Yeah.
like a hose and shit. That's what's
Probably.
crazy.
It's some dude's
Yeah.
job that he has to like deal with.
Oof.
There should be something where you could pull over and those rest stops have like a thing that sucks your shit out.
Yeah.
Like out of the
Yeah,
tank.
that'd
I
be
mean,
very profitable for them. What are they going to do? They'd have to store your... No, you figure it out. That's the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do is be in shit storage.
truck stop, yeah.
Truck
He goes,
stop shit
Yeah, he goes,
storage.
they're sucking my shit out outside. I'm in here buying jerky.
No.
The Dave Matthews Band
Oh,
tour
that's
bus
right.
incident in Chicago.
That's right.
The bus driver let that stuff out over the water, and a boat went underneath it.
And it splattered the boat with doo-doo from Dave Matthews Band.
Didn't you see a thing recently where they show like a cruise ship or something just letting shit out of the front?
I don't think that's real.
Really?
I thought that was real too. I think that's like dredging.
I'll be suckered in a heartbeat by an AI thing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that super hot Down syndrome girl isn't real?
Damn.
That OnlyFans AI Down syndrome girl?
Oh, don't I know
course.
it?
God,
Bro,
damn it.
nothing's real anymore. How many videos have you seen? Like, I saw a thing about Trump saying that they were going to genetically engineer raptors and have the fucking troops ride them to protect the border.
That's not real?
But it's like you see them that they brought back the dire wolf, and
Could it be done?
it's like it's so hard to tell.
Dude,
now. Weaponizing.
weaponizing dinosaurs would be the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, is that fake?
Well, it's like a quick series of 4 or 5 little fake ones, but they look real, and then they just go like, "This isn't real, by the way."
Live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real. This is Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View Beach. Just kidding. I'm not real. This is Charlotte Reed reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified... Just kidding. I'm not real. Angela
Is she
Carter...
implying the
What the
Kraken
fuck?
is real? The Kraken's real. I'm fake.
How weird. Listen, eating healthy is hard, like really hard. I mean, you got to cook, meal plan, grocery shop on top of all the other shit you have to do. It's tough to truly eat healthy. I mean, most people start their day with coffee, grab some garbage lunch, and if you're lucky, you get yourself a decent dinner. And even if you do manage to eat healthy, you're probably still not getting all the nutrients you need. That's just the reality. But hey, there's something that can help. AG1 Next Gen. Closing common nutrient gaps can be as simple as adding AG1 Next Gen to your daily routine. It's clinically backed and designed to help with the comprehensive nutrient coverage you need. These guys did their homework to find the right mix of vitamins, minerals, and all that good stuff to help you feel your best. And that's why I've been partnering with them for so long. Subscribe today to try their newest clinically backed formula, AG1 Next Gen. You'll also get a bunch of other free stuff like a bottle of D3, K2, and 5 of the upgraded travel packs with your first subscription. Just go to drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan. 1 scoop a day, your body will thank you. Again, that's drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, I mean, the
I'm
amount of
starting
like
to think
deep
you and
fake
Theo
stuff.
Vaughn aren't two babies talking to each other.
I watch ads with you all the time. Companies just use your voice in AI now. I
yeah.
sent you one at one point where it's just like, I was like, I know this is not Joe glazing this fucking weird company for, a 10-minute read. I was like, they really got him to do this, huh?
So strange.
Yeah. Do you try to put a stop to that, or you just say fuck it?
you try, but
The guy who made that said it took 25 minutes.
I told a racist street joke on Legion of Skanks 10 years ago, and me saying the N-word has been used in so many memes and little.
But it's so funny because black
videos.
people react to it, and it's such a funny street joke that they can't deny it. It's like an undeniably funny thing. So it's always black people trying to not laugh, and they say it, and then like, all right, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
Pretty great street joke.
some
yeah.
words are coming back. That one's not one of them.
No.
Bro, these ICE raids are fucking nuts, man. Watching this protest on television, it's like
You think the raids are nuts?
all of it's
yeah.
nuts.
I think
The
both
protest
sides
is
are taking
nuts,
it a little
the
too
raids
hard.
Well, I don't think if the Trump administration, if they're running and they said we're going to go to Home Depot and we're going to arrest all the people at Home Depot, we're going to go to construction sites and we're going to just like tackle people at constructions. I don't think anybody would have signed up for that. They said we're going to get rid of the criminals and the gang members first, right? And now we're seeing like Home Depots get raided. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you've got this big protest that's scheduled for the 14th that's literally funded by the lady who owns Walmart.
To protest.
The protest, it's like no kings. It's like a no kings protest that's happening all across the country.
Yeah,
I
like
think a bunch of
criminals and
different locations.
rapists, and obviously, but then they go to like a college campus, and there's some kid about to graduate. They're like, "No, you're out." It's fucked up.
Rapists, criminals, slow delivery people, ones that can't dance or play the flamenco guitar. I've got a list. I think it's fucking crazy how violent it's gotten. I don't
Man, they're throwing bricks over overpasses.
That's what I mean. But
Bananas.
but again, I think all these things, 90% of the people that are there are just like, let's rage, motherfucker.
Oh, 100%. Also, there's people
I saw
that are
that in New
saying they're
York with
being
Black Lives
paid to
Matter.
protest.
Yeah, they're saying they're.
That's always the bricks. Piles of bricks are showing up. Like, there's construction sites around the
But
city.
No. That was weird, dude. I was in the city during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You were too during the pandemic. No, those bricks were just fucking out
I lived
there.
on a police block. I was barricaded in with them.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the black cops.
No, one day
the
there
black
was
people
no
yelling at the
bricks.
black cops, and the black cops were like, "Sorry, man." And I'd have my hand on his shoulder, like, "You're gonna be all right."
Did
Shoot
you see
that
the
motherfucker.
video of the cops getting the rocks thrown at them from the
Oh
overpass?
yeah, it's crazy. They had to hide under the overpass.
So they're throwing them at the cops. I mean, you're 100% possibly killing somebody.
Yeah, it's attempted murder.
You had a fucking cinder block brick onto someone's head from an overpass. They're probably dead. It's a good
100%.
chance. Good fucking chance,
I mean,
man.
if Lord
And
of the
they're
Flies taught us anything, that's how Piggy died.
But the thing is,
That's
this
who I
kinda-
related to.
This kind of shit can escalate.
I'm thinking of The Good Son, where they pushed the dummy off the overpass.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
make them think they killed somebody. It's pretty wild what's going on. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, everybody running out of like Louis Vuitton with a bunch of like shirts and shit.
You
isn't
seeing
really-
that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's happening too?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
yeah.
looting. Yeah.
Oh, they're looting. I didn't know they were looting too.
Hardcore. And I said it's funny.
Which, if I was a 19-year-old kid, I would be out there looting, unquestionably.
Well, it's as soon as lawlessness happens, people take advantage. That's always going to be the case, right?
That's what I think it is fun. I mean, like these cops are just standing though and like just under nonstop graffiti. It's like murder all cops. They're just like sitting there. It's like, and the people are. Some people try to talk reason to them, to the cops. Like, why don't you do the right thing and not shoot me with a rubber bullet? It's like,
Well, you know what the problem is? The problem is there's cops that just shoot people with rubber bullets for no reason.
Yeah.
Did you see that lady,
That's
that
what I
Australian
do.
reporter that
Yeah.
got shot? Did you see that video?
No.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's nuts because you see the guy do it. You see the cop just look at her while she's talking. She's clearly not a criminal. She's just
it's
reporting
good.
the news, and he fucking shoots her in the leg with a rubber bullet.
It's
The
good
leg's
stuff.
hilarious.
It's
Bro,
really good
well,
stuff.
Let's watch this.
That's funnier than making my producer smell smelling salts.
Dude, it's a real dance bitch moment. Dance bitch.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't believe that he would do this.
This is the chick.
Go full screen, please.
Situation has now rapidly
Watch this. This is nuts.
deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
She's got the shitty Australian accent though.
Watch this.
Dance bitch.
Bro, they just shot a reporter. Like, look, that guy just points and says, fuck this lady.
It's going to be good promotion, though, for her 2,000 person gangbang she's doing on OnlyFans this summer.
I mean, what is that? Do you want to know why people get angry at cops? It's shit like that.
I would say you shoot
That's
a white
how-
woman every couple minutes and everyone starts going like, oh, they're shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Is that a thing where you're kicking everybody out of the street and the press thinks they don't have to listen?
For sure.
So you don't want to listen. You're tired of this shit, and you decide to shoot her in the leg, which is fucking insane. That's so insane. You don't yell, "Lady, get out of the fucking street."
Was
you
there
just
anything-
shoot her.
This one happened too. After this minute goes down, this guy ends up shooting him at close range. With
What is this about?
40 millimeter.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. What's your badge number? That's okay. I'm going to pop you right now because you're taking up my focus.
Whoa! I'm gonna pop you right now because you're taking up my focus.
Look, it's not okay. It's not okay. But I
Right?
will say, I grew up at a time where if you talk shit to cops, nobody had camera phones, nobody had anything. A cop would just fuck you up. And there's something hilarious about that cop just shooting that guy in the dick.
There's a thing about them rubber bullets. Like you're shooting somebody, but you're not shooting them.
Right.
You're kind of half shooting them.
Yeah.
Right. But you are like fuck. What you want to do is shoot them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not allowed to. It's against the law, and it's not right. So you shoot them with a rubber bullet.
And it's not right.
But you can shoot people when you really shouldn't be shooting them
I
with
feel
a
like
rubber bullet.
getting shot in the dick with a rubber bullet could have irreparable damages.
100%.
I mean-
people have lost
This happened,
eyeballs,
in
bro.
2020, this guy had to have portions of his genitalia
I do have a hard
reattached.
time feeling.
What? Say what? Say that again.
Read, it says there.
He later had to have surgery to reattach portions of his genitalia. Portions? What are they serving it? on
How
a
big is this
platter?
guy's dick?
What kind of a dick does this guy have?
I wish my dick could be cut up into portions.
How weird is that?
He
It's like,
just knocked out the middle.
is it which one you having for breakfast?
Oh man, if he broke the middle off, I'd be like, can you give me a longer middle? Can you put a longer middle back on?
I get extension.
I don't care if it's a different color. Just try to match it as best you can.
All this gene editing. How far away are we from big dicks?
Oh, you think it'd be the first thing? These
I would
little
think they'd
Asians,
have been working that
Depends who
out.
comes up with the science. If the Asians come up with the science, that's first thing.
Well, they have the science with the genetic engineering now.
Oh, so you're saying before your baby's inborn, you'd be like, hey, also, I want my son to have a huge fucking dick.
Big dick.
That's a weird
I go, how
conversation.
big?
to
And you
have.
go, I'm thinking monster cock.
If you just let your kid have a regular dick and all his friends have giant dicks, that'd be a real problem. Your kid would
Yeah.
be so upset. You
Yeah.
mean you could have given me a giant dick as well,
Oh,
Dad?
I wanted people to like you for you.
I needed money for bowling.
Oh, great. I'll be upstairs jerking off with 3 fingers. If anyone needs me alone with no friends.
I just remember being like 12, being like, when is it going to grow? Like, when's it going to get big? And it just never really did.
You just kept having that conversation with yourself.
Yeah. Up until
on,
I was,
bud.
Up until I was a full-fledged adult. And I was
Come
like,
on, bud.
it's
Now's
a-
the time.
It's a sketch on Segura's new show. There's some
that's
sort
a funny show.
of giant
Very funny,
dick
yeah.
fucking funny show, man.
Yeah.
The Hitman one was hilarious.
Yeah, they were. I thought the video game where the you play with aliens raping
Fucks
humans.
Oh, I haven't seen
Aliens
that one
fuck
yet.
humans for. He said it wasn't about the guy, and it was, part 2 was called Evan's Revenge.
Oh, Jamie, speaking of UFOs, did you see Lou Elizondo, these photos that are supposedly of a real alien?
Oh, here we go.
Bro, it's so dumb. The photos look blurry. Of the photos of the dead alien, like you can't even zoom in on that. You can't even fucking focus. Look at these. Yeah, that thing. Look at that. What is that? What's that? What is that? How about better pictures? This is crazy. These are the only pictures. Is this from the 40s? Like, what's this picture from? What is this?
Oh, people want to believe.
Bro, so bad. Me too. I'm like, maybe the bottom ones.
It was funny. Somebody asked me, Sean Donnelly and Dan St. Germain have a podcast now about alien encounters and all that kind of stuff. And
really?
And they both really believe it. And they were like, "What would it take for you to believe, Jay?" I was like, "Irrefutable evidence."
Yeah. I have to shake hands with an alien.
the one thing I've never seen, irrefutable evidence.
There's a lot of shenanigans going on
What
for
it
sure.
says on the back of one of those photos.
Alien. Oh, it's 1993. Alien hybrid child. Born to a 15-year-old girl, subject of ET genetic experiment, under chin, neck, and upper torso view. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's under chin. And then what's the other photo?
It's the same. It's just the same. It's just one photo.
Wasn't there another one? It seems like
that's
there's
just with
two
this-
photos.
That's just with this particular one.
But at the top, yeah, the one on the bottom. What's that one on the bottom? The one on the bottom seems a little like turned to the side, right? Is that the eyeball supposedly?
Isn't
Like,
it just
what am
one of
I
those?
looking
What are
at?
those babies called that are born like that?
Oh, Harlequin babies?
Yeah.
It could be anything, man. I mean, it might not even be human. I mean, it might
Probably
not
not
even
an alien.
be. Who fucking knows?
Do you think? I mean, like someone like Donald Trump can hold in the information like
I don't
until
think they
about
tell
his
him.
daily day? You
I don't think they tell him. I don't think he cares.
But who can
He's
sit
playing golf?
But who can sit on that information if you know that? Wouldn't it be terrifying to it's almost that to play someone who knows about aliens existing? You think also breaks off and plays golf and
Yes.
decides what they want to have for dinner tonight?
100%.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
It's like finding out vampires exist. It would change everything.
I think it's a fun way to have information that you don't give to the rest of the world. And if you're the head of a giant defense contracting agency that's been back engineering UFOs for the last 50 years, it'd be probably pretty cool to know some shit that other people don't know and not tell anybody and still go to brunch.
But how are you not so consumed that you go?
'Cause you're a
hey, you want to
psychopath.
start a new? Want to start a new Netflix series tonight? Like it just seems like you'd be. It's the same way I don't believe people have like speaking to the dead powers or psychic
Right.
powers. I'm like, you'd be. You know what I mean? It's never like, oh, what is that? Tell your loved one that you missed them terribly. They miss you terribly. You guys went to McDonald's. I'll treat myself to some. Like, how does your mind go anywhere else but like I'd speak to the dead? That would be
Right.
consuming.
Yeah,
Right.
I would never sleep.
Supernatural.
All day talking to somebody about the War of 1776.
You just go nuts. It's just
There
not
was
real.
there was a video
Can you imagine
on...
you could just tune in at any time and
Yeah.
talk to like some Civil War soldiers.
You don't have a fate. You don't go pick out a new pair of sneakers while that's going on. I need new sneakers. I think.
Did you see that video where it was like somebody, it might not even, I don't know if it's real, but she was like a girl who has like paranoid schizophrenia, and she created like a video of what it's like to have schizophrenia.
Oh my
And it's like
God.
these like floating, like almost like,
Yeah,
like
monsters, sort of.
yeah, but they're like translucent, and it's like just all these voices whispering. It's like if that's how it really is to have schizophrenia, I mean, I couldn't make it a day.
Yeah, I think it varies like a lot of different neurological conditions, right? I think, there's extreme versions of it, and some people have like mild schizophrenia, which is really weird.
Well, I've been impressed. I have someone close to me in my life that's had mania, where they go like manic, and I've only seen it twice.
It's Hulk Hogan.
It's Hulk Hogan. I've only seen it twice then, but I mean, I'm blown away by how much your brain can like change functionality in a day, in a day's difference. Being like everything's changed, they're saying things that they've never said before, and believing it, and being like, what I mean? It's very strange.
Well, if you think about your body,
Scary.
Yeah, it is scary. But if you think about your body as a whole, things go wrong in your body, and things go wrong in your brain too. It's like you can't blame someone for having liver cancer, right? Sometimes people just get weird diseases, and the mental thing is a weird one, man. Because there's people that's just like something isn't clicking. It's just not working right. And they don't know what to do. And they're out there in the world, and they're trying a bunch of different medications on them, and they don't know what to do.
So you can't be mad at Kurt Metzger. It's
Can't be
not
mad
his
at Kurt
fault.
Metzger. I couldn't imagine. This is what I always try to. I always try to think about when I'm talking to somebody. I can't imagine what it's like to be them. Like, what is it like? What's it like to be Metzger?
Oh my!
What's it like to be filled with conspiracies? Just and know so much about like secret societies.
And nobody believes you.
Yeah, and nobody believes you. And
everyone's kind of like, hey man, we're just trying to smoke a joint in the green room.
Bro, he hovers. He hovers over you like a gargoyle. He's a goon. He's this giant dude, and he hovers over you. Oh, you didn't know?
I haven't
oh,
seen.
you didn't know?
Last time I was out in L.A. when he still lived in L.A., he came over to the Airbnb I was at, and always with Kurt. I haven't seen Kurt always in like months and months between when I get to see him. He's one of my closest friends in comedy. He's my daughter's godfather. Very close to him. And then I was
Which is a crazy choice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's on Jay.
It was a strange choice, but he's a good godfather.
He's a great guy.
He's great. And yeah, him and my daughter have a great relationship. It's fantastic. But he is a whacker for sure. And he came in to the house. I was like, my man, it's good to see you. And he goes, you know, the P. Diddy thing is real, and that's why Usher, that audio of him fucking that guy was real, and he got Usher first, and that's why Usher. Remember when Usher was gone for a year because he had to get his asshole sewn back together? Like, what?
He just rattles them off
like,
too, and it'll go to Libya. All of a sudden, you're talking about Libya. Gaddafi. Remember the thing with Gaddafi? Like, I don't.
Dude, he's one of the people that texts like the way he texts. It's not just like he won't send you like one long text about like just everything he say. He has just every sentence is a new text. So you're just getting like it just seems manic. Just like
mania.
Full on. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Sometimes it can feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And for guys, especially, it can feel like you have to carry that burden on your own. There's a lot of stigma around men being the provider, to keep it all together by themselves. But that's not good for you, your family, or anyone. Did you know that 6 million men suffer from depression every year in the U.S.? And it often goes undiagnosed because of these stigmas. Real strength isn't bottling things up inside, though. It's admitting to your faults and doing something to better yourself. So go talk to someone, a friend, your partner, family, a therapist. Therapy is an excellent tool everyone should utilize. It's a great way to learn more positive coping skills, like how to manage stress, and help you live a more balanced and fulfilling life. BetterHelp is a great place to start that conversation. Judging by the millions of reviews and the 4.9 rating in the App Store, it's helped many people across the globe. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/JRE. That's betterhelp.com/JRE.
That's undiagnosed.
And then after like
mania.
an hour, you get back to like cool.
Dude, Bobby
does it to
Kelly, when he came
everybody.
over, so we had a pool at the Airbnb we were at, and at one point I realized, I go, oh no, he's had Bobby Kelly in the corner for a while. And then Bobby Kelly, Kirk goes inside and Bobby swims over and he goes, so I guess the Jew lasers are real. He goes, I guess Kurt told me those Jew lasers actually are pretty real. What's going on with them?
He just corners you. He just corners you.
But I love it. I can listen to him all
He's
day
the best,
long.
bro.
He's
He's
doing
the
our
best
show tonight.
podcast guest.
Yeah. He's
the
doing
best
Story Wars.
podcast guest. You just have to rein him in. Like,
Tell that to Owen Benjamin.
like go in this. That was a fun one. Take him in this direction. Go in this direction because it just never stops coming out of his mouth. He's a joke writing machine.
No, he's a genius. He's
I
an
literally
actual genius.
I say his day-to-day personality is genuinely, I always describe Kurt, he's the first person I see, that price of genius. Where it's like, he's so great at being funny and his mind works such a thing, but
He's out of his mind.
His brain, when you're not talking to him, maybe even when you're talking to him, is just like, it's like a division sign. It's just formulas, going through
Like that meme. Yeah, 100%. That's how I feel like when I'm talking to Elon. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like you can tell there's like numbers running in his background and shit going on.
And he's trying to figure something out while you're talking.
Yeah, I mean he's clearly on the spectrum. You know, I mean that's how you make rockets and electric cars and also own Twitter at the same time, be addicted to Twitter. Like, where's your time coming from? And you're playing Diablo? Really? Like, hey, where is it?
I couldn't imagine being that rich and ever opening Twitter. Like if I was that, like I would just like I'm just definitely above tweeting.
I think
man, if you
really
didn't
rich
have to.
guys, one thing that happens if you're really rich and people are stopping you from communicating and you get pissed off and you think, well, fuck it, I can just buy Twitter. Like, nobody would do that normally.
Right.
Like, you need a wild person like Elon to do that. That's a wild move to say, I'll just buy Twitter and then pay them way more than it's worth. And then everybody says you're a terrible businessman because your company lost $20 billion in value in the first year. But it's like, no, it wasn't worth $44 billion. He paid $44 billion for it because he wanted it. It wasn't worth that. Like, how was it worth that? And then we found out a ton of shit, man, that we wouldn't have found out about, like censorship and like what's directing it. Like, it's what's keeping us at each other's throats. Like,
You're saying almost just in the basic level of like someone his age, like doing the same action that like a girl flopping on her bed on her tummy and kicking her knees up is like doing like whatever. Trump's stupid and he's on the list.
Yeah, you made it. You don't need to prove anything else. You made it.
Yeah.
What else you got to prove?
Let him find out in the newspapers. Doesn't matter.
It's not a good look.
I mean, if I double my net worth, I'm gonna disappear from public life altogether. Much less Elon money. That's insane.
I think you're aware when you have a lot of money of how many different entities are manipulating society. I think that becomes an issue. And if you can do something about it and you feel compelled to do something about it, you're literally one of the only people that can.
Do you think that he did do something about it?
He definitely did when he bought Twitter. And
Twitter changed.
He definitely did with Doge, just exposing some of the wild shit. Like billions of dollars that's gone to who knows where with no receipts. But
did they even do anything about it, really? Or he just exposed it and people talked about it for a week?
You can't do anything about the money that's gone. I mean, unless they can somehow or another figure out where it was spent and whether it was valid and hold someone accountable. They're not going to do that because they want to make sure that that doesn't happen to them. And they're just going to keep spending insane amounts of money.
I feel like they're still spending. They were like, hey, this is happening, but it's still going to continue to happen for the rest of your lives.
Well, here's the thing. If it's been funding the Democrat machine for this whole time, which is what guys like Mike Benz allege, it's a little over my head to really explain, but essentially we're saying that there's so many NGOs. You want to know how many NGOs there are? There is one NGO in India for every 600 people.
I don't know what an NGO is, and neither does Jay.
What a fucking idiot, dude.
Just so you know.
Non-government organization.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Tell it to him.
Yeah, sorry. Non-governmental organization.
thank you.
It's just a nonprofit. So it's a nonprofit that's funded by the government. It's real weird stuff, man, when you find out about it.
Just in future reference, if you can make all your acronyms, just say the whole word out so Lewis gets
Sorry.
it. You stupid idiot.
I should assume that no one knows about that.
No, come on.
You do, but I should assume, because I didn't know about it until I started talking to Mike Benz about it. I was like, wait, what? Like, how much money? And when you find out where the money was going and what it was doing, it's like he said it's all for stuff that's too dirty for the CIA. I was like, Jesus Christ. And he lays it out in like hours-long presentation and explains how it's all, what's the root of it all. And it's like, it's really spooky stuff because you realize like how corrupt our society actually truly is.
Do you enjoy having the burden of information, though?
No,
Do
I
you?
fucking hate it.
Why? Like, where does your
Bigfoot podcast.
Where does your like political give a shit stop, really?
Well, I just don't want the world to fall apart. That's
Sure.
all it is. I'm not politically aligned with either the left or the right. I believe in a lot of shit that the left believes in.
Sure.
And I believe in a lot of shit that the right believes in. I just don't believe in any of the shit that the extremists on either side believe in.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you're fucking tackling people at construction sites, it's like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, you want everybody out? I feel like once you get in, let's take a test. Let's see, like, are you the type of guy that shows up at work? Are you the type of guy that respects America? Do you like being here?
Isn't it too easy to get in, though?
Do you want to
Jay,
pass?
you had a great analogy about the movie theater. I
My
love
movie
that.
theater analogy is killer.
It's a great analogy.
I said I've snuck into a movie before, sit in an empty seat that no one's taken. It's not even taking up any kind of space. If they come in and go, hey, where's your ticket? I go, I don't have one. They go, you have to go. You got to go, man. You can't be like, dude, I've already watched an hour of it. Like, so what?
And I feel like you should let them finish the movie.
That's a good.
I'm just saying my point. I'm not even saying you shouldn't let. I'm saying it's discretion to let them finish the movie or not. I'm just making the point to be like blown
They shoot
away.
you with a rubber
But I'm
bullet.
Like, well, this movie theater was built on my people's lands. Or fucking. It's just to me. It's just like a weird like reaction to getting caught, being like, well, but I've already been here. It's like I've gotten away with it for so long.
Yeah, it's
if
kind
you
of
steal
funny.
someone's stuff and they find it 20 years later, you go, well, it's been mine for 20 years.
But also, I totally agree with you, and it's a funny joke. But also, if you're living in Mexico and you're a young person and you figure out a way to sneak across the border, you get gainfully employed in the United States, you start doing well, you're involved in a business, you start raising a family, but there's no real path to citizenship because you snuck in. But you've actually become integrated in society and you're part of the American dream.
Sure.
It's just there's no path if you're dirt poor. That's the problem. See, if you're living in Denmark and you're white and you got a college degree and you're really good at genetics, you want to come over here and work for a lab, probably not that hard. You got to jump through hoops, though. You got to meet with the guy every 6 months or whatever it is. You got to fill out the paperwork. But if you're walking here from Mexico, there's no clear path to citizenship.
You got to marry a fat white woman.
Find a desperado. Yeah. I mean, there's no clear path, and especially if you're integrated into like there was a guy that I had was my landscaper for a long time in L.A.
He was Danish.
He came
Dutch.
He came from Mexico. He walked across from Mexico. It's like, and he lived in these communities. Like he took me to they had chicken fights in their communities, and this dude had just roosters stacked up everywhere. It was like there was like 100 roosters in this guy's backyard. Not my landscaper, but his friend. He took me to his friend's place. They would barbecue a goat and cook. There wasn't a English-speaking sign for blocks. And I was like,
you should have fucking paid him more.
So, like, my point is, I paid him well. That was not my point. My point is, like,
Spends
there's
it all
like
on chicken fights.
completely integrated societies that are a part of LA that are fully Mexican, you know, but it functions. It works. Like going in and raiding those people and putting them in jail because they've integrated into society in an illegal way. It seems
And then
stupid.
it's all the people that are going, it's like, is my tax dollars like, guys, the amount of bullshit that our tax dollars goes to, that should be a priority over getting a fucking Mexican dad out of the country. It's like,
Joe, it sounds like you just want to keep barbecued goat in this country.
Well, here's the problem. The problem is if they're illegal, right, which is what everybody wants to keep it that way, because what if you let them vote? And this, if they're illegal, then you don't have to pay them as much. And this is where it's dark. This is the dark secret of why people want cheap labor in this country, because there's a lot of people that don't pay people what they're supposed to be getting paid. It's non-union, they're illegal, everyone knows, and they want cheap labor, cheap, dependable, reliable labor, so they let people in for that. Tim Dillon was talking to me about this a long time ago because, you know, he used to be a real estate guy. Like he understands like the dynamics of it all. It's like that is a big part of what they want, why they're bringing people in. But the reality is, yeah, you should just pay people more money. Like, you should make less money. You should pay them more money. You should pay them enough money so they can live. Like you just to try to have a giant business that pays people the least amount possible. It's kind of crazy.
That's most businesses.
I know, but that's kind of crazy. It's kind of a crazy thing to do.
It's very interesting. My my ex-wife's, both her parents are immigrants, and you'd be surprised how not like sad they feel for people being kicked out. Like they're like, I think they have a very like we had to figure out how to do it legally.
That's what a lot of people. But that's also how people felt like when people were unvaccinated. Yeah, I had to take the shot. You know, like why don't you take the shot? I had to take the shot.
Shit, I didn't have to. I sought it out so hard.
Did you?
Yeah, Jay was.
Oh my God,
you were so
paranoid.
You were scared.
Certain I was dying.
Yeah, a lot of people got scared.
Yeah, I took
They scared the fuck out of us.
I took it and then I faked the second one, the booster, because I realized that there's no way to it's a piece of paper, it's a card with like some random name on it. It's like it was like I was like, there's no way they're actually tracking this.
My daughter made one on her phone to go into a cheesecake factory. It's pretty impressive.
They're going to absolve you of that crime. It'll be in the future. It'll be like when they all the people that dodged the draft.
Yeah.
They exonerated them.
Oh wait,
all.
did I just admit to a crime on this podcast?
It was a crime. They were saying they were going to prosecute people. I remember saying that there was people that were saying if you try to use a fake vaccination card, we're going to prosecute you. Like,
yeah, but that's like saying they're going to put you in jail for not going to jury duty. That doesn't actually happen.
Yeah, but that's way crazier than that because that's like this whole thing is nuts. Like you're telling people they have to do this to get on an airplane, and it doesn't even work.
Have you ever had the Thai lettuce wraps at Cheesecake Factory?
They're great.
I'll risk it.
Do they come to you for? Have you ever done jury duty?
I haven't done it. No.
Like that's if Joe Rogan showed up to do jury duty, it'd be wild.
Are you familiar with this case? I'm familiar with everything. I'm a little familiar with everything.
Mildly.
Yeah. I think I interviewed the defendant and the plaintiff.
I've never done jury duty either. I haven't gotten a notification in years and years and years for it, but I would just ignore them back in the day.
I just ducked one recently. Pretty hard.
You died.
I just flat out moved.
Tim Dillon was just talking about it on the Spicy Wings show. What Hot Ones?
Hot Ones.
Tim was talking about how he did for a murder trial.
Really?
Yeah, the guy was a fucking murderer.
See, he did it recently?
Yeah, he was talking about it recently. The guy, it was a long time ago, but he was did jury duty, and he was like joking around with the defendant.
See, if I was guaranteed that, I'd go show up. It's just what you're going to get is like a tax something or a business argument, or some kind of shit, and that's boring as hell.
Now you have to pretend to be racist to get out of it.
Yeah.
You got to get schizophrenia.
I hate. What's the last name of the one guy? Watkins. I hate black people.
Just say,
it's Jeremiah Watkins.
I'm a little too
Shit.
opinionated.
To be, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd say. I'm a little too opinionated.
The only time I
on
ever
this
showed
subject.
up, the only time ever I showed up, I was wearing jean shorts, and they said you can't wear shorts to. And I go, what do? They go back. You'll go back into the pool and just go home. And they sent me home.
They sent him into a pool because he was wearing shorts.
Yeah, nice shorts, idiot. Get in the pool.
You can't offend people with your wardrobe at this place of the law.
I guess so.
When did they stop wearing the wigs and the fucking crazy like, you know?
Did they do it here?
Did they still
ever?
wear those?
I think so. Right?
They don't wear the wigs anymore, right?
When we first came from.
Oh, like Pilgrim Court? Okay.
Like, how
back in
fucking
Pilgrim
stupid
Court.
is it that everybody had wigs on?
They still have it in England to this day.
Yeah, they still
the
do it to
judges
this
still
day.
wear it. It's crazy.
And Jewish
Yeah.
women, religious Jewish women,
You know where it
and
came
any
from?
black woman.
Came from syphilis.
The wigs?
Yeah.
Why, how so?
All the people. So the story's a little complicated. This may or may not have been exactly how it happened, but it seems like when explorers came to North America, they contracted syphilis from the natives and then brought it back to Europe. And then a lot of people were getting syphilis. These people were freaks. They're all fucking each other. And they were losing their hair and getting big holes in their face and shit. Like, syphilis is crazy. It, like, rots your head away. And so they started wearing wigs because they had, like, big scabby holes in their head. Like, literally, it's horrific shit. And the more wealthy you were, the bigger the wig. So that was like big wigs. That's what the term big wigs comes from. It comes from these
makes complete
these freaks
sense.
that all had syphilis that were all banging each other.
and if you have
in
money, you're
France.
fucking just getting pussy left and right.
Yeah.
So
there was these two guys that were royals, and they started it all. They started wearing the wigs when they got syphilis.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Nuts.
So I guess
then
it all
like,
dials
that,
back. It's not the white man's fault. It's these dirty ass Indians.
It has
these
to
dirty
be.
Indian sluts.
Has to be why they wear wigs in court. It has to be, right? Like, it has to be like a proper thing, like wearing a tie or something. Like a gentleman wears a wig.
I should start wearing a wig. How fun would that be?
A powdered wig.
I thought
Would be
about
great.
getting a
Buffalo shoes?
toupee recently just to be funny and just show up with like a really high quality toupee.
Jamar does that.
Yeah, I know. He has
wears
the
a mohawk.
the mohawk.
Glues it to his head.
You should get a hair system, not a toupee.
No, dude. I'm not going to another country to get my fucking ass hairs implanted
No,
in my head.
not an implant. Just a system. It's like a different. It's like more permanent toupee. It really looks.
Dude, I saw a video today where this doctor was talking, and a doctor that I know was talking. Garth Fisher's his name. He was talking about his clients that went down to Turkey to get a gastric bypass operation. And then a couple months later, they're like, my stomach's bothering me. And the doctor's like, oh, well, let's check out what's going on with your stomach. How long have you only had one kidney? And she's like, I have two kidneys. He goes, no, you have one kidney. And then contacts the other two girls that were on the trip. They all come in and get examined. They're all missing a kidney as well. So they went down to Turkey to get a bypass, a gastric bypass, and they stole their fucking kidneys.
Brilliant.
Yo.
Not bad.
Bro, imagine
Brilliant
they're
move.
out there stealing body parts.
Yeah,
you only
that's-
have one kidney.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's better.
That's
I used to. Did they
evil.
also get the gastric bypass though?
They did. But I think
Oh,
they paid
so-
for it. You know?
Oh, what if it costs a kidney to get gastric bypass? There's fat people that would do that.
Right. What if they didn't read the fine print?
Yeah, and it just costs you this. Here's why it's so
It's
cheap.
free.
We need a kidney.
It's free if you have A, B
How much is a
blood.
kidney on the black market worth?
That's a good question, Jamie. Don't Google that. We'll
No,
get in
Jamie,
trouble.
off the dome.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Also,
to.
where does your
Let's guess.
Where
How
does
much
your
you think
circle?
kidneys
How
worth?
big is your circle of give a kidney if they need?
Oh, it's very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure that out.
Is it-
I'm not giving up kidneys
Where?
for people.
Just like
Well, what happens
Ari,
if you
does
don't-
Ari
if you have
Shaffir
one
get your
kidney?
kidney?
Not good.
What I mean, like
Not as good. It's
it's
two. That's why you have two. I'm
But I mean,
keeping
what-
two. Hello, science, catch up.
You can
Don't
live with
be
one-
fucking stealing people's kidneys.
you can live with one kidney, but how much does it affect your like day to day? Like you exercise still? Can you?
I don't know.
What would it
It's
do
a
to you?
Very good question.
I think
Yeah.
you could live life relatively normal. 'Cause
Yeah.
people do it for loved ones.
It's interesting that people get kicked in the kidneys all the time, but you don't really hear about too many like severe kidney injuries. You know, like you hear about liver injuries,
Yeah.
like you hear about internal bleeding from guys from body shots. You don't hear too much about kidney injuries.
Dude, getting punched in the fucking liver, it's the most painful thing
It's weird,
on the
right?
planet, dude.
It's a weird
Like,
feeling.
It's crazy. It just shuts your body down. You roll around on the floor and start crying. It's wild.
I think Mickey Gall told me his
Mickey Gall kicked me in my kidney.
Oh, well, he said the
Your
Diego
kidney?
Yeah, so I sparred with Mickey Gall once, and I sparred with Michael Bisping once, and both of them put me down with liver shots. No, I'm sorry, liver shots, not kidney. Liver shots. Like, but they called it. This is how good fighters are. Like, Bisping's like, hey, watch this, bang, and they just put me down. I mean, literally the whole gym of people cackling, laughing at me as I roll around on the floor as a man. It's fucking pathetic.
Have you seen Ilya Taporia do that to people? He does it to fans. He hits them with a liver shot.
No.
They ask him.
No.
So he's liver shotting bare knuckle. Ilya Taporia, bare knuckle liver shotting people.
I'd rather be punched in the face 10 out of 10 times.
But Mickey said when he lost to Diego Sanchez, it was because his kidney started shutting off.
That's why he bit him.
I bet that is a weight loss thing.
He said no, that's what he said. It's from weight loss.
Yeah, that's a brutal thing that they do, man. Like Kayla Harrison, who just won the bantamweight title, bro.
Oh, that picture of her weighing.
So big. She's so jacked, and that her getting down to 135, I don't know how much weight she's losing. I don't really want to ask, but I do. You know, you're not supposed to ask ladies what they weigh.
Right.
But she was competing
even
in
in professional
Olympics.
fighting.
Yeah, and when she was over at the PFL, she was fighting at 155.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, her picture of her at the actual weigh-in was like scary.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
It was like
honestly.
a thumbnail from like Crack Whore Confessions. Or you like,
See, this is the problem. The UFC had a 145-pound division, and Amanda Nunes was the champion of it. Like, for the health of both fighters, like, that would be a good way. I mean, it really depends on if Kayla Harrison can continue to make 135 and defend the title, because I don't know who's going to beat her. She's too fucking strong.
Huge.
She's so strong.
That happens a lot with like the chicks. There's like a real dominant chick for a while. Right?
With Amanda, it was KO power. Amanda was one of the rare women that she could just touch you and just blast you out in orbit. You know, it's usually with women, it's like a combination punches. Like Amanda had extraordinary power.
Yeah.
Like when she knocked out Cyborg, that was wild, dude. That was she just folded Cyborg. I'm like, that lady can crack.
what was it Silva? This last weekend there was a knockout. The guy was asleep standing, and it was the most softest looking turnover.
Yes.
Turnover like chin punch.
The Korean dude.
Yeah,
the boxer.
young. It's like 23 years old. It was like
Joe Sang-yu.
He moved. And just like it was the smallest little like he didn't pull it from the shoulder or nothing.
One of the best left hooks of all time.
The guy was asleep before he hit the ground. It was
One
crazy.
of the best left hooks of all time. It was literally like this, bam! Like he just turned it over.
And he's a kid, right?
Yeah, he's young. No, he's not that young. No. Here it is. Boom! Look at that.
Yeah.
I think he's 28.
It's a lot of his momentum coming in too. It's like the perfect place timing
for sure. But he's also a really good boxer.
You get knocked out and then some dude's doing backflips in the ring.
That's the worst feeling in the world. By the way, I don't know how I'm not a good enough sport for if I was knocked out and they come over and start doing that thing where they're touching my face a lot and be like, "Thank you for the opportunity." I go, get the fuck away from me, dickhead.
A lot of people do.
You fucking jerk off. I don't want to talk to you. He goes, "Hey, will you pray with me?" No.
Will you pray with me?
To who? A God that hates my guts?
Shit.
That's so funny.
I've been praying to God this whole training camp.
I just got
shit.
fucked up. God just gave me a concussion.
Thanks, God.
That's hilarious.
I guess
That's
God thought I was
hilarious.
training wrong.
This lady's got a problem because if she, other than the Amanda Nunes fight, who? Well, who's going to pay to watch her just steamroll somebody? If she can continue to make 135, if she becomes a marathon runner or something and drops even more muscle mass and can make 135, who the fuck is going to be able to deal with
It's
that?
almost like Mike Tyson back in the day.
Yeah.
It became a thing where they started like offering you money back on the pay-per-views if he didn't last at least 2 rounds.
Did they?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It was like because he was knocking people out so fast. It was like, yeah, I'm not paying for this. This is fucking
everybody
crazy.
would look at a pay-per-view based on how long you thought the fight would last. Like $60, man.
Yeah,
It wasn't that much back then, but I remember people being bummed out. It was like a 30-second knockout.
but it was also fun to like. It was almost
great.
like Mike Tyson. His thing was he was so vicious and badass.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun to watch somebody that dominant.
Yeah, but also the crazy. When
I
people,
think the UFC people like they want the back and forth. They want 5 crazy fights. They want to like you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
I remember after Tyson Holyfield, the ear thing, I ordered that pay-per-view, and I was driving around that night afterwards, listening to the radio, and people were like tons of complaining on sports radio. I'm like, you just watched a guy bite another man's ear off. Like, what?
If they would have sold it that way before
$60 just for that.
Yeah, before the fight, if they were like, watch a man eat another man's ear, like, I'll pay anything you want.
Didn't he bite him twice?
Yeah,
guess.
he didn't get it off the
money
first time,
back
though.
was for that fight.
Dude, the fact that Mike Tyson has
$50 back then?
he has
Wow.
edibles that are ear-shaped
It's
is one of the
hilarious.
funniest fucking things
And
on
the
earth.
fact that they're friends now.
Yeah.
Mike is lovely.
Evander Holyfield has no idea what's going on.
He doesn't?
He'd be friends with anybody. He is Gonski. Evander Holyfield?
Is he?
Oh,
He was on my podcast a few years back. He was
Really?
fine. Yeah.
It sounded like he was
Back in L.A.
No.
No, man, he was like super coherent back in L.A.
Damn.
I mean, that was a few years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. How long ago was Evander on the show?
Did he fight Vitor? Is that who fought Vitor?
Yeah, that was
that was bad.
unfortunate.
That was a
and
bad
I don't
fight.
think he had a real camp for that fight either.
Yeah.
I think that was a last-minute replacement because Vitor was supposed to fight somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Very
maybe.
few athletes will ever, I think, at this point. I know there's bigger contracts now than ever.
2019, so 6 years ago.
But
Yeah.
very few athletes will ever understand the idea of that, like what those guys' lives were like. Even like Riddick Bowe.
Oh, yeah.
Like Riddick Bowe was champion for like 2 fights. I mean, you know what I mean?
And he was awesome.
He was awesome, but he didn't have a long run or anything. And then you see his thing. It's like 14 acres with white tigers everywhere, and all his clothes are silk. Like they're immediately, like they were just getting handed like $50 million
So much money.
a night, like, in one night. I know it's like you train for that night, but that's a crazy amount of, like no athletes get that.
Yeah, well,
Like anymore. Nothing like that.
there's a few. Canelo does.
Does he?
Yeah, Canelo has a giant deal with the
But I don't mean,
Saudis.
maybe even boxing still has that with the pay-per-view like taken. I just mean
Yeah,
it
some
was,
of these boxers are making pretty fucking nuts
Yeah.
money.
but that sport's the only sport that, I mean, UFC has never paid like that, has it?
I don't know what the most amount anyone's been paid in the UFC for a fight. If I had to guess, it's got to be Conor.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I know Conor has made more than $100 million in the UFC, I believe.
Yeah.
See if that's a fact.
Is that going all
See, 'cause
in with his endorsements?
I shouldn't
and
say
everything?
that because I don't really know. I just read some article that tried to break down how much he made for each pay-per-view and how much he made at the beginning of his career, you know, like when he first burst onto the scene.
Yeah. It's
I got 2 numbers in the first results. That says 39.3, and then down here says 100.
108. Yeah.
That might include
That's-
the boxing.
yeah,
fights,
so
though.
there's like the pay-per-view bonuses versus like fight pay. So
What I was going to say is I thought he made $100 million from the Floyd fight, so it can't be that.
30 million from that.
So 30 million.
30 million
Oh, it
for
says
Khabib.
Mm-hmm.
30 million from the boxing match in Floyd. I thought it was 100 million.
And his biggest payout was against Khabib for 28.5 almost.
Yeah, he's so 28 million. He's probably made the most.
but his like
If I had to
he wasn't
guess-
getting that was an all pay-per-view bonus. That was a huge pay-per-view.
Right, but he did get paid. I mean, but that's the only way they get paid anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the pay-per-view bonus thing is great because it forces them to promote, but I don't mind a silent killer. I don't mind an Alex Pereira. I don't want to see him promoted. He don't have to promote. That dude promotes when he puts people into orbit. You know,
Yeah.
just let him train. Let him shoot a fucking bow and arrow at a soccer ball. let him train. Like, don't fucking
Yeah.
pawn that guy out and have him do media everywhere. Like, leave his energy alone. Like, you guys can do enough with promotion from his highlight reel.
Do you know-
But a guy like Connor, though, that fucking guy, like, if he can get on the radio, if he can get on a talk show, if he can start talking shit, the number. Dana sees dollar bills like fucking Scrooge McDuck. Ka-ching, ka-ching. He's like, start throwing gold coins in the air. Connor was the best at it.
What about a couple weeks ago, Aaron Blanchfield versus what was the girl she was fighting? They canceled
Barber,
it.
yeah.
They canceled it as it was starting. They already did the
Yes.
package for the main event, and then they found out that Macy Barber had like passed out. She had a seizure
Something-
backstage.
So I don't want to speak out of turn. So it's some sort of medical condition, and she was in trouble, and so they sent her
That's
to the hospital
wild.
to get checked out.
I mean, they literally said, "All right, now it's time for the main event," and then they were like, "Well, never mind, we're not doing it."
yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think she might have had some health concerns. She's had a bunch of health concerns over the last couple of years, I think. So, and then she missed weight, which is never a good sign. You know, when they miss weight, usually something's off.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're injured or sick or something. But whatever it was, it sucks.
That sucks for Aaron Blanchfield. Dude, she's actually from my hometown in Jersey.
She's a beast, dude.
Yeah, she's a monster.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
young, too.
What, were you going to set him up, say something shitty about her, and then be like, I know her actually really well. She's a dumb bitch. Oh, I grew up with her. What an ass.
I was with Dave Porterfield. You know, he's a big fan of Meatball Molly McCann, who's
Yeah.
great, too. But he's like, I'm betting on Molly. And I go, yeah. And he's like, you think? I go, dude, like, Erin Blanchfield is the truth. Like, she's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
She's a problem. She gets a hold of Molly, and she just ragdolled her.
If you were going to Pete Rose your own sport, how do you think you would hit good?
Oh, I used to bet on it.
Yeah.
But I can't affect the outcome.
Sure.
So I used to, in the early days of the UFC, when they first started having lines in sports books, I'd bet. Because I would see, like, you'd see shit like Anderson Silva. And it's like, if this isn't an 800 to 1.
Anderson Silva versus Travis Lutter. Like, okay.
That was different. Okay. Travis Lutter lost that fight, in my opinion, because he cut too much weight.
You think he would have won the fight?
He had him mounted early in the fight. Let me tell you something. Travis Lutter's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was fucking elite.
Yeah.
All the guys that I know that trained with him, like, oh, dude, he's like Ricardo Laborio level. They're like, he's special. Like, he did The Ultimate Fighter, and everybody was terrified. And they're like, that motherfucker gets you on the ground, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
He's just a machine in jiu-jitsu. So I saw him cut weight, and he looked so bad, his lips were cracked.
Wow.
His face was sucked in, and he was shuffling to the scale, and he still didn't make weight. He never made weight.
Oh, is that what happened? It wasn't a title fight. That's right.
He wouldn't have won the title if he won.
That was crazy. They used to give the winner of the Ultimate Fighter a title shot, like back in the day. That was like a crazy, like, just sort of like prize. Like it's just changed. It's turned into such more of a legitimate sport now that you can't just give like the winner of a reality show a title fight.
America's Got Talent used to give $1 million prize, and then one day they just changed, like, hey, you just be part of an America's Got Talent show in Vegas.
Did they always give you a title fight? Is that?
I think the first few seasons, yeah.
I think Travis had a few fights in the UFC before that, dude. That was long after The Ultimate Fighter.
I don't know.
I'm about 90% sure, because I know he knocked out Marvin Eastman. I remember that fight. And, you know, he fought quite a few dudes, but the main theme was when Travis got a hold of you, you were fucked. And he got a hold of Anderson, and Anderson looked fucked. It was early in the fight, but then Anderson got him in a triangle. He just tired out, and Anderson was blasting him.
Anderson was, when he first came in, it was crazy.
If you saw that guy the day before, you'd go, "Oh my God, how is this guy even alive? He should be taken to a hospital."
Yeah,
he looked so bad. I've seen a lot of people weigh in looking really bad, but Travis was the worst. So look at this. He's mounted on top of Anderson early in the fight.
Wow.
Dude.
I mean, I skipped ahead. He was mounted for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, but he just gassed out, man. I mean, he just had nothing left. He lost too much weight, man. And so then Anderson got him in a triangle and started fucking him up with elbows. So there came a point in time where you could see him visibly fading. You know?
Yeah.
I think look at that mount, bro. Look how slick that is. I mean, this dude is so slick. Travis was so dangerous, man. He could have possibly submitted him, but he was just too big for the weight class. He shouldn't have been making that weight. So that's my point. It's like, yeah, he was a live dog in this fight is my point.
Yeah, he was tired there. That wasn't even really an escape that Anderson did.
He lost way too much weight. Dude, he was dead the day before. I mean, dead. When I saw him dead, he looked like he might die.
Have you ever gotten to talk to a fighter about the psychology of, like, once you lose, like when you're just like this dominant force, and once you lose, like, your whole thing changed. Like Roy Jones Jr. was overnight.
Yeah,
overnight. They said that one guy called him out, said he was ducking him.
Antonio Tarver.
Tarver said he was ducking him. Then Antonio Tarver beat him. Then Glenn Johnson just beat him, knocked him through the ropes. It was just like it became like, oh, you can just beat him.
But Glenn Johnson knocked him out where it was one of those scary ones where your arms are stiff.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like he hit him that hard either. It
seemed like it couldn't be real that it was happening. It was like two fights before that was the fight I believe where he's hitting the guy and he tells the ref, he's like, stop the fight. And then the ref didn't, and he hit him a few more times.
Yeah, Vinny Pazienza.
Like that was like 2 fights before, it was just all over.
Yeah. But you know what happened? Roy went up to heavyweight and he fought John Ruiz. And then he dropped back down to light heavyweight. And that's a real problem. There's like, he got knocked out. So it's like, he's stiff, dude. Like when you get knocked down and you're just like stiff here, ugh.
Anderson Silva.
Oh, that's so awful.
Wasn't it pretty much Anderson Silva after the leg went in the fight?
Yeah.
Like it was just like he never really he won fights since, but he never really captured back like we're just going to watch him. We went first UFC we ever went to was 101 in Philly.
Anderson
the first
Silva
one ever
versus
in Philly.
Forrest Griffin.
And a
racist ass Philly
crowd.
Was so. Anderson's coming out.
That night for us in general was just a hilarious thing. We went with it was me, Dave, and Lewis, all three of us.
It was the first White Boy Weekend.
First White Boy Weekend. We went to like a Ozfest or Mayhem Fest.
Mayhem Fest, yeah.
And then UFC. Lewis and Dave brought their friend who I was not getting along with, and a girl who
Shout out Crypto West.
Crypto West. We used to, Lewis used to date a girl who became friends with the group sort of, and she came with us also.
And she was we'll say she's a chunkier girl. This is back in the day when I was younger. It's like, if you become friends with a girl, like you can't separate
Lewis,
friendship.
No one's gonna see her. You don't have to over-explain that you fucked a girl that wasn't.
No, she was really hot. I mean,
it's okay. It's okay.
Look, you know what I'm saying? Now I wouldn't have dated her. But yeah, she was a little bit of a chunkier girl, and whatever it was that we were just talking shit, like, you know, watching the fights. Everyone's just being animals. We ended up getting to a thing with these guys in front of us. Like it was maybe four of us, and I want to say maybe 3 of them. We might have outnumbered them.
No, I don't think so. At first, it was just there was like 1 or 2 guys just there. The other guys were gone.
Yeah, whatever.
It's
it was
like
just
a coyote trap. They
Yes.
show you one coyote, and the rest of them surround you.
And we started talking shit with these guys. It just turned into like a, you
Well,
know.
I don't think I mean, we shouldn't make this. We're not looking. None of us are looking for trouble, guys. The guys were. I think we were talking and saying shit, like being funny, and I think they kind of were giving us like a, why don't you guys shut the fuck up kind of
Yeah,
thing. You know what I mean? Like,
we're being dickhead comedians, and they're like really serious about watching an MMA fight right now.
first
And
one
they-
ever in Philadelphia.
They turned around, they start talking shit. So then we start talking shit to them. We kind of chump the 2 guys, and then their group of friends show up, and they get wind that they just got chumped by these fucking loser
Yeah,
comedians.
they left the nerds behind, and they went and got merch.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So then these
You
guys
make
came.
the nerds get merch. So
And
we
it-
see what we're working with.
It became a whole argument. These guys started talking shit to us. And by the way, we were above them. We could have we should have just.
Oh, higher ground.
We should have just dominated these guys, but whatever had happened, we just didn't want to fight and get kicked out. We're not like tough guys like that. So they start talking shit, and then this is like, it's such fight. It's almost like when somebody spits on you. One of the guys goes, it was like, yo, fuck you and fuck your fat bitch too, about the girl that I was seeing. And we all just acted like we didn't hear it.
Everyone acted like they didn't hear it. We just communally agree without even looking at each other. We were like, these guys, huh? She sat there the rest of the night. I can't believe these guys were ready to fight for everything except me. When that was the final vote, he goes, oh, well, you should stick up for yourself, lady. And then we just sat there.
She's a big girl. She could have helped.
Then we went outside and pretended like we were waiting to find them as in a sea of 18,000 people
God,
being
we
moved.
suck.
Boy.
God, we did look like jerk-offs there. But then that was so funny because it was Philly, which is historically hilariously racist city. And
Which fight was that?
it was Forrest Griffin, Anderson Silva.
Oh, that one was crazy.
Forrest Griffin, I mean, the applause he got when he came out, the ovation he got, they couldn't wait.
They loved him.
And
Irish.
they literally booed Anderson Silva. And then Anderson Silva handled that hilariously and quick.
Yeah.
And then when Forrest Griffin left immediately, he didn't stay. He ran right out of the ring, which was a thing. And then they announced the thing. Goes, your winner, and still Anderson Silva, and the place booed. It was such a sweet moment because Anderson Silva seems like his personality is good.
Yeah.
It seems like, and they were like booing, and they had him on the big screen, and Anderson Silva goes like, he almost had like a really like, and he's like holding the belt, and they're like, yeah, all right, you son of a bitch, that was amazing, and then they cheered for him.
Come on, man.
Strange, but
You
we saw
boo
like
for
an
that.
18-year-old or 19-year-old John Jones just walking around the arena that night, and I didn't know. I got into UFC way early. Me and my step-pop used to get like, ninja versus sumo wrestler.
Oh, wow.
UFC, and then when it got like rules and everyone was kind of like trying to start doing like actual MMA. I lost track of it, and Lewis and Dave were super into it. So you guys
That's
walking around,
funny when the rules came, you checked out.
out.
Me and
then-
Dave, we became friends. We were roommates in Brooklyn. We would go to the Blockbuster, rent the old UFCs. It was like Ultimate Knockouts, Ultimate Submissions. They had like a series of videos. And who was it? Mark Lehman. He would teach you how to do moves.
Sure, yeah.
Like in the, there was like a segment where it's like, hey, kids at home, here's how you do a fucking armbar. So me and Dave, literally living in the shittiest, dirtiest apartment with like garbage everywhere and beer bottles everywhere, we would have grappling matches with our buddy Wes. My cauliflower ear didn't come from jiu-jitsu. This is from Dave Smith. He would literally open hand smack. We had open hand smacking rules. And he would
Political
open hand
pundit?
smack me
Dave
in the
Smith?
ear.
Political pundit.
Political
Maybe the
pundit?
best
Dave's
political
cool.
pundit alive.
Yeah.
How weird is
I
that?
know.
This is who Dave
I'm going to
was.
assassinate him.
Dave was a pothead wigger who was grappling amongst garbage with me.
That's so
That's how
funny.
he
He also
started his
lived on my
career.
couch for a couple years.
Did you guys ever imagine he was going to be that good at like
No.
political commentary?
You know what? I shouldn't say no. I didn't know he was going to go to be that kind of big in it. The fact that he is great at it doesn't surprise me at all. But
His recall's nuts.
It's interesting how because I said this was just a guy at a time. I said we smoked pot. We essentially raised my daughter like a gay couple during the day. Then my ex-wife would come home, and then we head into the city and meet up with Lewis.
How many times did your ex-wife accuse you of doing gay shit with Dave? during
Several. You know what's
fights?
funny? Before, one of the reasons I was able to give while I was leaving when I left was I went in her thing to see if she was. I was like, I should see if she's cheating also.
Right.
And I went through her computer, and it was nothing about her cheating at all. It was several times looking up what to do when you find out your husband is gay. I was like, what?
What?
That's such a
Imagine
cheap.
being a woman married to a guy and thinking he's secretly sneaking away and sucking cock.
That's a video that just
Me and
went
Dave
viral
Slip-
recently. The girl like caught her boyfriend or
It
husband.
looks staged. I saw that.
You saw that? You think it was staged? I don't think so, dude. I don't think she's that good of an actress.
I think a lot of these are staged.
They might be.
I think a lot of them are staged.
She was losing her
I've been
mind. She's like,
enjoying-
"You're fucking that guy? You're fucking him, Chris? Really?"
Cheaters getting caught by their significant others, though. As much as I've felt that pain, I love those videos. That's a rabbit hole I've gone into.
Remember the show Cheaters? And the
was
guy
great.
got
All
stabbed
fake.
on a boat?
All fake.
All fake?
All fake.
I believe it.
I've talked to so many people who've worked at Cheaters before and stuff, and recently I wanted to be the host. They brought Peter Guns from Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, Uptown Baby. Remember that song?
Yeah.
He became the newest host. Before him, it was Clark Gable the third. It was like Clark Gable's grandson. Seriously, it was like Clark Gable the third or something. Hosted. He died from a drug overdose. The original guy who hosted was a guy named Tommy Habib. He was pretty great at it. Then the little guy got stabbed. Fake, completely fake.
Do you remember Morton Downey Jr.?
Of course.
He was the best.
Mouth.
He was the best.
Yeah, he would just smoke on the show and just yell at people. He's like, all right, so you're a Nazi. Here's the Jewish Defamation League. Just bring him out to fight.
This is what's crazy. There was a guy who used to work as a doorman at one of the comedy clubs, like a wannabe comedian, and he would also get jobs on these reality shows. And the way it would work, they'd call him up. Hey, we're looking for someone whose brother had an affair with his wife, and he just found out. He goes, what a coincidence. My brother just had, like, that would be the thing. They go, great, come on in. And we're looking for a guy who came back from Vietnam, very disillusioned, whatever the fuck it is. They would just say that to him, and he'd go, great. And they knew it was bullshit, and he would just show up and act it. They would just give him so you came back from Vietnam, and what did you discover there? And he would just start talking.
Well, when it's real, it goes bad. They had the one thing where the guy, it was Jenny Jones, that ruined her fucking career completely. The guy
was in love with
they were,
the guy.
Yeah, they were like, hey, I'll do the show, but it's not going to be a guy, right? Who's like into me, and they were like, no. And then it was now he's friends with two people, a big fat girl and a gay guy, and the big fat girl was sitting out there, and he was like, oh shit, okay, and they go, no, it's not her, and they bring out the guy, and he goes, oh, you lied to me, and his face is real like embarrassed, and he killed the gay guy later, and that ruined Jenny Jones' career completely.
Yeah, Jenny Jones was a comic, and she used to do, like, all-girls night. So at the club, like, you couldn't even be in the club. So they would do, like, a show where it would be all-girl wait staff, all-girl everything, all-girl audience.
It's the least funny show ever.
Jesus Christ.
They might
Funny,
talk about
the
girl
service is
things.
slow, the math is wrong.
And then she
But the
No
place was
security.
clean as shit.
No security, Latina gang fights in every bathroom.
I think it was just the regular club. It's just they just only got female staff to run everything.
That's great. You sometimes see that. It was like an all-female comedy festival. You're
Imagine
like,
if you tried to do an all-male comedy festival.
it'd be hilarious. We have it, Skankfest.
Be a good festival. Have you seen
There's a
that?
few girls show up.
Did
to
you
that.
ever see that there's like, I forget, there's some shift in some town where their brag is like, and this shift is all 100% female police officers. I'm like, well, now we know the time and place, dude.
Let's loot.
Yeah. Take over this fucking city, dude.
They'll do that with on a flight. I wasn't on it, but I've seen it where it's like, it'll be like, just so you know, today, all of the flight attendants and our captain and co-captain are female. You're like, what?
God
Let me off this
Christ.
fucking flight right now.
Wasn't that the case in Toronto where the plane flipped upside down? I think that was
That's
that.
the movie Flight with Denzel Washington.
No.
They woke you up and they were like, hey, do you know how to
the
read
lady,
a map?
she came in hot. She came in hot on the landing and flipped the plane.
Oh, yeah, when it
you
landed
see
upside
that?
down, I did. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was one of them deals.
If I get a female Uber driver, I rebook my Uber.
Oh, my God.
They drive so slow and by like the laws.
Oh, my
Why
God,
not
an
just
Asian
get a
woman.
Waymo?
I've been in Waymo twice.
Because, dude, an Asian woman driver is the worst. There's a lot of that in New York City sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they are slow, and they do not change lanes. And it is brutal to sit there in the back and not yell.
I know, and then they're going exactly the speed limit, so you can't complain.
Yeah.
Like, please break the law. This
Did you
is
see
crazy.
that guy who was one of the producers of Top Gear in the UK? He got his license revoked because he went 24 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. They took his license away for
That's
6
crazy.
months.
Dude, weird.
How rough is England?
That town needs a Mexican uprising. It sounds like.
Sounds like they did an English uprising.
They
That
do
is
20,
fucking
but
bananas.
it is 20. I was just driving from Manchester to London. When you get into London, the speed limit is 20 miles an hour.
That is so crazy.
It's insane.
How many
Like,
kilometers per hour is that?
I don't know, but because my driver had it was in miles per hour, like his speedometer, and it was 20 miles an hour he was going, and it just feels like you're in slow motion. It's insane.
Well, do they always use miles per hour? I think they use kilometers, right?
No, I think they
Canada
do. Yeah.
uses kilometers.
I thought they
right?
used kilometers, but
So-
this car specifically had miles per hour on the speedometer.
Aren't we like?
But you were on the
only-
wrong side of the road.
Yeah,
Is that weird?
when
You're
I
a
was-
bad driver on the right side of the road.
Well, I wasn't driving. I did drive in Jamaica, so because that was an English-owned country
Territory.
So they're on the opposite side as well. And I rented mopeds when I was in Jamaica, and you get used to it very quickly. Like you think it's going to really turn you around, but like whatever it is, your mind just flips it. And that's
No,
that.
as soon as I drive into Canada, right away, we've been Canada signs. I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Here we go. We got to go ooh east.
Yeah. Oost. Nord.
How many different countries use inches and miles an hour? Doesn't everybody use kilometers now? Doesn't everybody use the metric
I still
system?
think they're wrong.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They tried it on us when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to introduce the metric system as if this is going to be the thing that we all accept, and everybody's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Antiquated.
Not in this country, bitch.
I don't follow the Dewey Decimal System either.
Nope.
Suck my dick, old people.
Whoa. Fuck your kilograms.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing that one country just says, nah, we can't learn it.
Fuck that.
I mean, how many countries have it? How many countries have inches? I think it's maybe England.
It says the UK, USA, and Canada keep miles per hour.
Oh, so is that what is England has miles per hour?
Oh no, they have it like it's double, but it's their main thing is definitely kilometers for sure.
Yeah,
So-
so everything else, it's
Everything else is kilometers. So it's like 6 countries that have kilometer or miles per hour.
well,
Or inches.
It's just weird that we didn't. I still don't know.
I feel like,
when
dick,
I go
I feel
to
like dick is inches in every
You think so?
place. I
My
do.
dick, my
Yeah,
dick is
probably.
36 decimeters.
Yeah,
Just
nobody's
so you
talking
guys know.
about that.
26,000 kilometers. Do you know? You guys know? Do you guys have a
Vast majority
do you guys have a,
countries use kilometers per hour. 9% of the world uses miles per hour. U.S. being the notable example. Interesting.
Oh, so it's all the UK. I wasn't wrong.
When I was in England for the fights, they measure people in stone. So they say 10 stone, and then
I have no idea what that means.
I think it's 230 pounds. I think is it 13 pounds each stone? It's a weird old timey fucking measure, but you have to say it. You
Was
say
it
the
actually
way
based off of
fighting.
stones?
I think so.
Probably,
14
right?
pounds.
Yeah, I think
so
it-
14 pounds. So that would be 240 pounds, 10 stone.
I think it was actually like a fucking scale, justice scale with like a person on one side and stones on the other. I think it's what it comes from.
I do like England though. It's shitty food, but it's still just a cool. Like
You
London's
like
a cool
being
town.
the only circumcised person in a room, you piece of shit.
So no, 10 stones, 140 pounds, right? You said it's 14 pounds per?
Yeah.
Okay. 20 stone would be 240 pounds. So then you'd have to say the like 5 stone 9 ounces, and then say the fucking pounds
That's a lot.
afterwards. It's weird. Like why? We're talking about weird things to keep holding on to. Stone. That's a strange one.
Do you go and see the places and any of those weird destinations for UFC?
I definitely have. Yeah. Yeah. London's cool. It's interesting. You'd go into a bar that's a 500-year-old place. It's weird. Like there's some old shit in that town.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And you see how New York was like designed after it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, London's a cool town. I like honestly, if I like cities that remind me of New York. So like I love Rome. Rome's like the OG New York.
Right.
It's fucking really cool.
How so? I don't think you're wrong. I've never been. How's it like New York?
It feels like because back in the day it was like the
see
most.
the Pope, you cocksucker.
Like the hub. It's like very fast moving. It's
Yeah, they were more advanced than everyone. They were just like architecturally, technologically, they were way ahead of their time with everything.
that St. Peter's Basilica is bananas.
So
I think
cool.
about that all the time. I think about it all the time. Like the amount of work involved in making something that spectacular.
The Sistine Chapel's fucking nuts, dude.
Insane.
Michelangelo went blind painting it.
Yeah.
Like he was on scaffolding and like paint was just dripping into his eye and he started
Yeah.
going mad and fucking.
Oh god.
It's so cool. And the details, and he wasn't even a painter, which is the craziest thing. That
Right.
wasn't by trade what he did. He was just a genius and could like emulate like that crazy ass art.
He could do anything. His sculptures were insane.
Yeah.
The fucking art in the Vatican too is nuts. When you're
Yeah.
walking through the place, you're like, how much money is all this worth? Like, this is crazy.
It's the biggest art museum in the world, and I'm going again. I brought my son a few years ago on a father-son trip, and
Great.
he was 8 years old. We did a 4-hour tour. We could have done an 8-hour tour. It was so cool. It was just never ending. Just every room was more awesome than the next. They had the big map room. Did you see that? They had like a map. It was like 150 feet wide, fucking however many feet tall, and it was 99% accurate. And whatever year it was that they made it, it was like I don't know how, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. 99% accurate, drawn by hand.
Crazy.
I can't even begin to tell you how. Like I have no idea how that could possibly be done.
Yeah,
Lewis swore to me today he was going to crowbar an art talk.
I did.
He said in the car, he goes, I bet I can get Joe to talk art.
How about their books?
I said, he's going to think it's gay. And he was like, I bet he doesn't.
It's funny that art would be gay. You know?
Yeah.
When you the books that they have too, they have a crazy library.
Yeah.
Like they probably have some books from the Library of Alexandria. They got tucked away in there.
Well, apparently, the deeper you go, like the more like exotic the shit is. There's like levels that you can only have access to if you're like a king or a fucking.
That's why I believe people are capable of hiding UFO information. That's why I believe people are capable, because there are people capable of hiding all kinds of shit.
But what's you hiding England shit? No one gives a fuck.
Yeah, Jay
They're
hides his
actually.
herpes.
What are they hiding in their salt? Things for their food taste good.
The King's List.
Yeah,
This is when we had dragons.
but yeah.
Yeah, the history of dragons been stifled by
Jay doesn't.
London.
Jay doesn't travel. He won't go to other countries. I'm trying to get him to do shows like in the UK. Just
I mean, they have the internet.
well, you got to figure. New York to LA is a 6-hour flight. New York to Amsterdam is a 7-hour
Can I
flight.
tell you something? I've done
It's really
everything.
close.
Everything I did overseas, I did probably, or most things I should say, probably a little young in comedy, and intimidated myself on the situations.
Well, it's because you're
that I've
poor, so
gone
you can't
back
go to like a
and-
nice restaurant or like you.
Well, it's
you
not even
went,
that. When I was in South Africa, I was wealthy, dude. It's their money is garbage. But no, but I'm telling you, I've enjoyed some of the places when I've gone to them. It's just like I am such a regular idiot that I'm just like I'm not going to understand the food. And then what am I going to plug my stuff into? Doesn't it explode if it's wrong?
Dude, Amsterdam is so when
And
you
the
go
TV
through like
blows.
when you walk through the red light district, like the places where you could buy like snacks, like they know how many. Dude, it's so funny. They have like hot dogs on like pizza buns. It's so for like dumb Americans to be like, oh, a hot dog on a pizza bun. You fucking just eat this terrible
Chocolate
shit.
taco.
Chocolate tacos are great.
Choco taco.
Chocolate tacos were fucking badass.
I get it, Jay. Why travel? Fuck it.
I follow the Kid Rock credo. Just try to get famous here. Let's just handle it here. This is the best
Yeah.
place to be famous if you can get famous.
Yeah, who does it better than Kid Rock? He's got his
Nobody. The
audience
guy's really
dialed
figured
in.
it out.
Also, by gunning down that Miller Lite, you know,
Bud
that
Light.
Bud Light rather, that Bud Light thing, when he gunned down those cans, like that was like one of the craziest moments in economy. Like that fucking the Bud Light stock dropped like a rock. Like that moment when Kid Rock guns down the Bud Light.
Kid Rock, maybe though, if we were going to appoint him something, it should be like the minister of beer. Like he should be the person deciding what beer we should have. I'll accept that because his friendship with the president is hilarious.
It's funny
and wacky. There's been no other thing like that ever. Do you know what I mean? You never found out like, oh, Bill Clinton and Iverson kick it once in a while.
Right,
Like that
right.
never happened.
Well, there was what the fuck's his
Bobby
name?
Brown and fucking Joe Biden fucking golf and crush ass together.
What the fuck's his name? That's friends with Kim Jong Un.
Rodman.
Rodman.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
Rodman goes over there and hangs with Kim Jong Un.
It's the best documentary. Did you ever see that documentary?
No.
Oh, treat yourself as soon as humanly possible to Dennis Rodman's Big Bang in Pyongyang.
Oh boy.
It starts off as him going over there believing he's doing something diplomatic. And then they go, all right, so you're going to go home and gather up some players and come here. And the documentary filmmaker goes, on the flight back, when they were coming back now to North Korea, he goes, oh, I noticed from the last time that Dennis has started drinking again. And he was supposed to be like, stopped drinking completely. And then the documentary takes off because it's just Dennis Rodman fucking up in North Korea for 2 hours.
Oh,
so
no.
he first comes in drunkenly, starts bowing to everybody. It's not a bowing culture, so that's pretty hilarious. He treats the North Koreans like they're dolls. He'll like grab them and make them come sing karaoke and just points at them like while they sing. He just dominates the room and everyone's afraid of him and everyone hates him.
Oh no!
It's one of the best documentaries. Is there a trailer for a trailer?
What a crazy thing to go hang out with a dictator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, also
Oh, you
Kim
play
Jong
basketball? Come on
Kim
over.
Jong Un also does not want much to do with Dennis Rodman.
What?
Like after his meltdown, he stiffs him. He like has Dennis Rodman meet him at his like chalet, and then he's not there.
Whoa!
And then it's just Dennis Rodman crying. Is this the trailer? Oh.
We're here today for Dennis Rodman to make a historic announcement following his recent visit to North Korea.
The Ministry of Sports of the DPR Korea invites Mr. Dennis
I just realized how much influence stylistically you take from Dennis Rodman, Jay.
Almost the same guy, a lot of people say.
Mr. Rodman is on a private trip, and our views about North Korea have not changed.
You know, you got the JCs, the Beyonce, stuff like that. None of these people in the world are doing what I'm doing.
Concerned, as many Americans are, about giving a birthday present to a man who is seen.
Wait, pause it for 1 second. Do you remember that interview on ESPN?
No.
So they had him and the players that agreed to play go on there, and he loses his mind, Dennis Rodman. But in the documentary, they show you the whole build-up to that, which is the guys meeting without Dennis Rodman. They're like, Dennis is a little off his rocker right now, and America's turning on us. We're going to do this interview with CNN while Dennis is asleep, hungover. And we'll just do it, just us, and we'll be able to explain this better, that we're just trying to be diplomatic and do something here. And then Dennis Rodman wakes up and finds out they're doing that.
Oh, my
and he just
God.
barges on. And he just cuts a wrestling promo on this, and he's just slobber-filled and makes no sense.
Who just had his uncle executed.
I'm gonna ask what the hell you think. I'm standing here. Look at these guys. Look at them.
Oh, it's so great.
Do you have to let the Koreans win when you go over there?
Oh, it didn't matter. The Koreans, the game was such nonsense. Like at first it was the Americans versus them. Koreans kept up with them because they're good and they're giving a shit and trying. Dennis Rodman stops playing. He just changed out of his thing, puts on street clothes, and goes and hangs out with
Kim
Jong-un right away. And then he goes at halftime. He just goes, "Some people switch jerseys," and then he goes, "So we could play together," and he just has them play. He also has the audience try to sing along "Happy Birthday" to Kim Jong-un when he starts the game, and the audience doesn't know what he's singing, so they just start clapping too fast while he's singing. It's really. It's 2 fantastic hours of television. I recommend it highly.
Wow.
I love that kind of just brazen, not seeing it, what's happening around you. Like everyone's hating him, and he's just like, I'm killing it. I can't believe how good he's doing.
That's great. So he doesn't go over there anymore?
No, well, I don't think so. I'm sure he still drinks, though. You stopped drinking. How was Protect Our Parks with no drinking?
It was fun.
And you're the only one not drinking there.
Yeah.
But then at some point, aren't you wrangling 3 people who are blackout drunk?
But it's okay. I've been blackout drunk. I know what it feels like. It's not bad. It's just for health purposes. I was like, I work out so much and I take care of my body. Like, why am I poisoning it all the time? And I said, let me just take a break. And I just took a break, and I was like, God, why do I need it? I was like, what am I doing? Like, everybody's like, you want a drink? Yeah, let's have a drink. But sometimes you're just like, what? It's just like a force of habit. You know, have a drink every time I do a set, have a whiskey, have a shot before I go on stage. And
you feel like you're doing something. You feel bored when everyone else is drinking, but it's really like, I have way more energy when I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I could stay up and like be present. Like I want to be in bed by 11 o'clock if I'm drinking or smoking weed.
Dude, I've had 3 months off and I haven't had one bad day. So I haven't had one day physically where I feel like shit. That has to be it.
Well, the other side is your metabolism. When I stopped drinking, I got really like just in incredible shape. And as you're getting older, like even just like whatever it does to like my metabolism, and everybody's different, but it was like a huge difference in terms of how I felt in the gym, how much I could run, how much I could lift.
It's fun. It's fun poison.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well,
it's
my
fun
doctor
to get
said
a
to me,
little lit.
my doctor said those exact words. He was like, you're poisoning yourself. He was like, it's up to you. If you want to poison yourself a little bit, that's fine, or a lot, that's okay too. But
that guy sounds fun.
Yeah, they were trying to say for a while that like
fun doctor.
Yeah,
one
his name was
drink
not
a
Dr.
night.
Feelgood.
Remember they were trying to say for a while that one drink a night is probably good for you.
Oh, like a glass of red wine.
Yeah.
It's good for your heart.
You know what the problem with that is? Aura rings. If you have an Oura ring, you wear one of those things, and then you have it one drink, you'll notice a difference in your sleep. It's significant. It's real. It's measurable.
Oh,
And if you have a couple drinks,
I try not to track anything that's going to be bad news.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you should get a sleep study. He goes, why? To know for a fact that I die 27 times a night?
Yeah, isn't there like things you could do where you see a doctor and they're going to like be able to essentially predict within a couple years of when you're actually going to die?
That's the Joe Rogan doctors.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
want to know, Joe, who's you send Bert to where they come and they put him in that machine like Luke Skywalker on Hoth, and they come out and they're like, if you never eat beans again, you'll live to 105.
Bert is going to need more than that. Every time I see him, he looks more like a grape. Like, settle down, boy. He's capable of doing it on his own, though. Bert has incredible willpower. Like, if Bert wants to, he can lose a lot of weight. He just drinks so much.
It's part of his thing, you know. So I feel like he feels like I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but he almost like, am I Bert Kreischer if I'm not getting fucked up and having fun with the fans like that?
Like, if he does a show and he doesn't take his shirt off, people will boo.
Yeah, but he wants to take his...
paid to see tits.
But I think he wants to take his shirt off, and they want it to come off.
100%.
Yeah.
I do too.
I told
love
Bert,
it. I run to the balcony when he's about to take his shirt off.
Last time I did,
there's a big cheer, the pop when he takes his shirt off. Everybody goes crazy. It's fun.
When I did Bert's podcast last time, I was like, stop letting everybody get in your head about like all these complaints are about Bert being the same person that we all are, and also who he is. But it's like now it's almost sudden like, you know, he worries about that shit. And I'm like, Bert, people want you to take your shirt off.
Bert's
and they want to hear
reading
your
the
stories about
comments.
your family. You're letting people go like, well, you don't do it like this person. It's like, well, you don't tell jokes like Mark Normand. You know, that's not what your thing is. So it's not a thing to worry about.
He reads the comments. That's the problem. You read the comments, he'll fuck with your head. Dude, no matter how mentally strong you are, if you're reading a bunch of opinions about you, it'll fuck with your head.
Yeah, and it's just like the same people who go onto Yelp and write reviews. It's just people that want to complain. So when you go onto social media, it's just like it feels like I have a pretty decent fan base. Like Legion of Skanks, we have a really like healthy fan base, and then there's like 30 dudes.
They're not healthy.
Not physically healthy. But there's like 30 dudes who hate me and want my son to die. And if you go onto Twitter, I'll just see that, and it does like fuck with you.
It's not good.
Yeah,
it's all 30 of his followers.
But there's a lot of crazy people out there, and there's also a lot of kids that just want to get a rise out of you. You know,
Right.
There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people that want to fuck with your head, but it's almost all unhappy people, unfortunately.
I just learned very quickly, though, like the ones that I have responded to, even when I respond, like my thing was always to respond kind of funny. I'm not getting into fights.
Yeah.
Or so it'd be someone write like 2 paragraphs about how terrible I am, and I'd be like, you know, come on, Jimbo, you don't mean it. And then how much they write, I mean, without fail, almost 100% of the time, they're like, dude, just being a piece of shit, man. I had a crappy day. Love you, dude. Listen every day to whatever.
Well, you meet him in
He's
real
like,
life. Sometimes there's one guy who tweets at me almost every day where he says, Louis J. Gomez has lip fillers, and he's trying to get this to be a thing to catch on. And then like every day he's trolling me, and I'm like, this fucking guy. And like for maybe 2 years, Louis J. Gomez has lip fillers. He'll respond to everything. Other people tweet at me. It's like, just so you know, you're talking to somebody who has lip fillers. And I don't have lip fillers. I just have beautiful Puerto Rican lips. This guy showed up at a show.
You had a little work.
Dude, he showed up at a show in...
lip fillers are wild for a dude. That's wild.
He showed up at a show in Raleigh, North Carolina with a T-shirt that said, Louis J. Gomez has lip fillers. And then I was like, I should bite your fucking nose off your face. What are you doing? But he's just like, oh no, I'm a fan. Like, it's hilarious.
He's just being silly.
He's just being silly every day.
He's being silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of being a fan.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
if
so
you
I
get a
noticed
rise out of you, it worked.
I know. So I steer
He
clear.
got you.
He's in the front row.
He got you. He got you.
I steer clear of the comment just because that. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'd rather just meet people, and if they show up, I guess
They're so
fans.
sweet in person because Skankfest is like half of them are like people who are on Reddit and trolling. And you go to Skankfest and it is just thousands of people that are like, just love. Like,
Oh, that's
they
what
really
I say. Skankfest
fucking...
particularly, it's like, you know, they say how many times in your life you walk by a murderer. It's like, how many times does Skankfest do? I walk by, take a picture, and shake hands with somebody who was like, dude, you used to be good, but you suck dick at comedy now. I'm like, all right.
You're always going to get guys like that.
There was one guy who was a fan of ours in the old school when we were at the Creaking Cave back in New York. There's a dude he used to wear black glasses, long black hair, and he was at every episode. He ended up murdering his mother.
Oh, Jesus.
Murdering his mother.
And then becoming great friends with Doug Stanhope after he murdered his mother.
Like a jail pen pal with Stanhope.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He when he got out, he's out. He like lives in like a halfway house type thing now because it was a mental issue that he did that.
Which is
he killed his
like,
mom.
Clearly.
If you
Still
kill your
strange.
mom, well, you know, she might have been a bitch.
She'd
But-
have to do something really bad.
Yeah, if you kill your mom, I feel like I don't care. Yeah, obviously you have mental issues.
Yeah,
I don't like.
Yeah, but he was in the
Filed
like. But he had
that
that when he
under
called us. He described it. It was like he thought she was like a demon that he had to stop before she got out in the world. Like he went crazy.
But I still feel like you should lock that guy up.
You guys
Absolutely.
been
Listen,
paying attention to the BJ Penn stuff?
He's like losing it, right?
PJ Penn claims that his family are imposters, that someone has kidnapped his family and replaced them.
Oh, yeah, that's a very...
Yeah,
Isn't it funny when they hit the... with mania and manic shit like that, and bipolar with those kind of things, like, they really, like, they're textbook. That if you look it up, because I've looked it up before, you look it up, it's texting one sentence at a time, like a newfound thing in like religion and like being serious about it all of a sudden. Like it's always been that way, and weird, and they always have those things. And that's one of them too. Like everyone's fake.
Right.
Everyone in my life has been replaced with somebody else. They called something particularly.
Some of them think they have a chip in their head and people are talking to them. Yeah,
it's very,
there's a lot of that. A lot of that is they have a chip in their head.
Well, this guy who killed his mom and Doug Stano became friends with, Doug was doing a Zoom Skanks one time episode with us, and he had that guy call in. And, we were asking him kind of about what happened, and he was, he gave a very compelling story. And when we were saying goodbye to him, he goes, I just remember this. He goes, I just want to say, when I was going through all that horrible stuff and the last several years that have been so difficult and terrible and my family hating me, but I still always, man, I listen to you guys and laugh, and I just want to say that I love you guys. And I was like, well, I think I speak for the group when I say, phew. Because we all are aware of what you'll do if you feel someone is a problem. So
yeah, or a demon.
Yeah, or possibly a demon.
Yeah. So the point is, we have some great fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
only one's murdered their mom
you guys are doing
on record.
You guys are doing something really fun. You're getting all the misfits together, and you're celebrating comedy. It's like a real comedy, like a comics festival. Like the comics look forward to it. Everybody loves it. Everybody talks so highly of it. And everybody says the vibe is so fun because they just go there to see, like, people were real upset when Louis C.K. started to come back into the public eye.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite moments is when he went up at Skankfest. They didn't know he was going to be there.
That was the first time he performed in America after he got canceled.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
and
awesome.
it was wild. And what's beautiful about the fans, they're educated comedy fans, so we didn't even have to tell them to not pull out their cell phones.
Yeah.
Not a single person took video. Not a single person like, oh, this
well,
is
they
my
definitely
opportunity.
did because I watched the video.
I took that. No.
Just
you?
I
Okay.
took that video of Justin Silver announcing, ladies and gentlemen,
that's
special
great.
guest. And I didn't take any of his set. It was just him walking on a stage, standing ovation. It made TMZ. It was fucking really cool. I mean, I was a pig in shit. I went outside. I got emotional. I was like, that was fucking so cool.
That's cool.
What was really neat what's funny about that moment was I was with Dan Soder, and I was like, you want to come outside? I'm going to smoke a joint outside. He goes, yeah, sure. And as we were just walking through that room, I wasn't even thinking about it. He goes, oh, he goes, we should watch Louis come on real quick. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Like I didn't overthink of the moment you were about to watch was so crazy.
It was really,
awesome.
It was really cool. Like that was
cool.
That was like one of the coolest moments at the festival. That and then the Tough Crowd. We did a Tough Crowd reunion at Skankfest in Brooklyn a few years ago. And just having everybody from Tough Crowd get together and
that's awesome.
Yeah, Colin, being at the head of it, that was awesome.
That was one of the best shows ever.
He should just make it a podcast. It would be a huge podcast.
100%. I wonder if he has the name. If he owns the name.
I think he
Tough
does.
Crowd. Well, then he should definitely do
I
it.
think he does. I think he just doesn't want to.
I think, it might be something that someone needs to offer it to him and put it together. Like if someone like
it could be something. If you said it, he'd be like, "I never even thought of that until this moment." Seriously,
no,
right?
a lot of people have. He's been approached with it.
He was great at the club. He was at the club a couple weeks ago.
He's awesome.
Colin's awesome.
He was great. All the comics that worked there, they all like lined up to watch him.
Yeah. I mean, he's a real he's just such a pro.
It's also
and for
his
so long,
material so interesting.
Yeah,
he's such an interesting guy.
Well, he does the one-man shows. Yeah, are fantastic.
The last time I did a Tough Crowd, he warmed up the crowd, and so he's doing stand-up in front of the crowd, and he was fucking murdering. I'm like, this is way better than even Tough Crowd. Like he's one of the most underrated guys of all time.
Yeah,
like all us comics know how funny he is.
He's like a real comic, and every he's like in the top 3 for. It's like a tell. Like he's there. It's always like top 3 for every comedian.
It was also that place was like the Shark Tank though for something. When they got that fan, I never felt bad for somebody more in my life when they had him on there. And the only segment that was produced of Tough Crowd, you remember, was the last one. You had to write and give them like the whatever your little rant was going to be about the
You
final
did it
topic.
once, right?
I did it once.
Yeah.
About that final topic. That was the only homework you had to do at all. And that fan was clearly going to do something about his mother and do the voice or something. And Patrice, right before he was about to do his 4th segment thing, he goes, hey, let's see if you can do 2 minutes without doing your mom accent.
Oh,
and then,
no.
And then Voss and all those guys just like started pouncing on him, and then he just had to go like, "Ha, you guys." So my mother called me. I was like, oh, he had to do it still.
That's all he prepared.
Ooh,
but it was like an OG podcast before podcasting was podcasting. Like just a bunch of comics sitting around, just barking at each other, arguing.
Yep.
So fun.
It was fun.
Way ahead of its time. But then again, like Regis and Kathy Lee was a podcast technically too.
Technically, if you really think about it.
Yeah, The View, all these shows.
I think Opie and Anthony was the big start of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
That was what started it off for me, because that was the first time I was ever on a show where there was no structure. It was just comics.
Just shoot the shit, yeah.
Like we all could be on Opie and Anthony. We'd be having this exact same conversation, except Norton and Cumia and Opie would be here. Same fucking conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it was they would let you go.
I was more of a Howard Stern guy, you know, and I know so were you as well. But without Opie and Anthony, like shows like Legion of Skanks wouldn't exist. Like that's the truth. Like there's a lot of fans that are just these 50-year-old truckers that are just like, we need something. And
our generation was having a much harder time. Like it wasn't like back in the day when Howard Stern was bringing on comics, all the comics, because that was like his crew he was trying to build up. Like we were past that, so we had there was no like show that was like that for anybody, except for Opie and Anthony. I was Ron and Fez. You remember Ron and Fez show?
Sure, yeah.
That's the show that kind of like took me in that I jived with best.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Ron Bennington's fucking great.
He's hilarious.
He's the best.
So funny.
Yeah, there's like, you know, there's a whole, you could track like Ancient Man, you know, like fucking prehistoric. You could track podcasts to where it is. But it's
without a doubt. How about Mark Maron just quitting?
I know, crazy.
He's done. He's hanging it up. Not fun anymore.
But like Opie and Anthony, what they did different than Stern was they put comics on. There was a few comics that would come on Stern. They would interview, but they were megastars. Opie and Anthony figured out they could put 3 or 4 comics in a room and create like a beautiful chaos. And it was just going to be people bouncing off each other. You'd create these moments that nobody knew was going to happen. Really cool.
Stern did not believe in that.
You want a cigar?
I'll take a cigar. Hell yeah, dude.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love a good cigar.
Yeah, Stern's thing now is for comics.
Oh, Stern sucks now.
Now it has to be. I know, it's funny. Like I was one of the last people to check out.
Yeah, you liked Stern way too late.
I still arbitrarily just go to it, and I think he's the best that ever did it. I think I give him all the kudos in the world.
Without him, there would be nothing.
None of it. I give him all the kudos in the world. It's just I think I think his last like phase here might be like I might be weirdly too young for it, like possibly.
Thank you.
Like the interviews don't
these
really.
Are the Rogan ones. These are good.
These are good.
The interviews don't really strike me anymore. I really don't. He's not going to get to anything that I care about with Sarah Jessica Parker. It's just not going to get. I remember back in the day, he made the guy, one of those guys who died from LFO. Remember that song from the '90s? What is that like? Chinese food makes me sick. Girls of Summer.
I don't know what that is. You're a real cigar guy. Look at you. You know how to burn before you.
It's a one hit. It's a one hit wonder.
I don't remember
LFO.
it at all.
They were like around the same time as all the boy bands, and they got pretty popular. And he made one of those guys so interesting. You got him to talk about fucking Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then her dumping him, and the way he found out he was dumped. Like she gave him a ring that was like a promise ring from her to him, and then he saw her in like a tabloid walking with another guy, and the guy had the same exact ring. That's just her ring she gives out.
She's a wild girl.
Yeah.
Giving out rings to dudes.
I know. She fucking aged like a goddamn plum, though. She looks like shit.
Oh, no.
You know, looks like shit now? I feel bad to say this is too big of a platform to be really just trashing a girl for not being pretty anymore. It's fucked up.
Back off of that.
This is the way to do it.
I mean,
you'll feel better if you don't say it.
Hillary Clinton.
No. I mean, no. Pamela Anderson. I mean, God damn it, did she fall off? She was the hottest woman.
Wearing makeup.
She put it back on again. It didn't help a lot. But I will say, no, she was Pamela Anderson. First of all, the documentary about her they did on Netflix
Jay loves
a couple years back.
documentaries. Jay loves the documentary.
Love them. The one they did about her
he
on
won't
Netflix.
read a book, but he'll watch a documentary all day long.
Books. Who's got time for books? But the thing about her made me like her. The one about Anna Nicole Smith made me realize what a piece of shit she was. I mean, terrible person it seemed like. And then Pam Anderson made me kind of like fall in love with her again, where I'm like, she really is just like a dummy who just believes in love.
Yeah,
she's just like a sucker.
No, she had a couple of moments where she talked about, like during the Me Too movement, she was like, I got invited to every hotel room by every director in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't go because I knew what the fuck they wanted. And she just kind of had a very real opinion on that whole sort of movement and what was going on. It's like, you know what's happening if you go to a hotel room with some fucking powerful guy. Like, you know, you have to take a certain amount of, you know, accountability yourself. And she had a very real take on it, which I kind of respected.
Well, Hollywood had a long history doing that. Tarantino was telling me about this old school director that had a bedroom in his office.
And his name was Quentin Tarantino.
His name was Tintin Quarantino.
Dude, we talked about that, right? Where he in Desperado, was it? Or
no, Dust Till Dawn.
Dust Till Dawn, where he's like,
that's Dave always.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna have Salma Hayek shove her foot in somebody's mouth. You know what? I think it'll be me.
I'll take that.
Hilarious.
I'm not going to put George Clooney through the sweet sensation of sucking Salma Hayek's beautiful foot.
Oh, God, she was hot in that scene.
He played such a good serial killer in that fucking movie.
That was great. I just watched it like 2 weeks ago again. Yeah,
he was such a good psycho.
I prefer Black Dust Till Dawn called Sinners. I don't think Dust Till Dawn had enough social commentary.
I thought Sinners was great. People hate on Sinners.
I didn't see it.
I thought it was really good,
was it
dude.
great?
It's
People
fine.
try to politicize everything. I'm like, it's just a fun vampire movie. Who cares?
Yeah, you don't like a good vampire movie?
No,
Is it
I
politicized?
love a good vampire movie.
Kind of, yeah. They were saying it's like an attack on white culture.
The annoyance of
because
politicizing.
the first vampires were like white and they were like feasting on black people, and which, you know, black people would be more delicious.
Yeah,
But
dark
you
meat.
very rarely, other than Blade, you very rarely get a black vampire.
Yeah,
sweeter the juice.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you remember Blackula?
Blackula,
You remember
yes.
Blackula?
It had to be a comedy.
It was a fucking movie.
No, but it's like a
No,
It's
Blackula
black
wasn't
exploitation,
that
right?
I
Kind
don't-
of.
But it's supposed to be
I
ridiculous.
think it was a horror movie. I think it was a legit horror movie.
Do you know that
Just
guy?
A black vampire.
Do you know Blackula?
Yeah, there it is.
Blackula, I found this out from that Pee Wee Herman documentary. Blackula was the mailman on Pee Wee's Playhouse. What a
For
wacky
real?
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
Wow. Phil
Yeah.
Hartman was on Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Died hating him.
What? Phil Hartman did? What are you
Hated
talking
Pee Wee
about?
Herman when he died.
No.
Still, yeah.
What makes you say that?
That's the thing in the documentary.
Phil Hartman hated Pee
Phil
Wee
Hartman did an
Herman?
interview with Howard Stern, and Howard Stern asked him about that, and he was like, "Yeah, we don't speak anymore." And
Oh, wow.
he thought he didn't get enough credit, I think, for Pee Wee's Big Adventure and shit.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
That's weird because Phil was
Pee Wee
easy.
Herman was a real bitchy queen, but
Phil
very
was
interesting.
easy to get along with. Like Phil was.
Ask his wife.
He was easy for me. I got along with him great. I love that
Andy
guy.
Dick. There was the problem.
He was fun, man. He was just too wild, you know. But I did so many scenes with that dude where we had to do him like 3 or 4 times because I couldn't stop laughing. I just couldn't stop breaking character. He
It's
was
more just
hilarious.
like sad what he's going through now. Everything's
Yeah,
like,
it's not good.
but he also just gets like he's one of those guys like letting himself get used by people. I assume for drugs or something. But I mean like
I don't know.
because he ends up on these like weird pods where it's like he's sleeping at some guy's house or something weird.
It's not good. Yeah.
He's out of it. And he was right there on the precipice with
I
jury
know.
duty. Pauly Shore's vehicle, jury duty.
Right. He did other stuff too, man. He did that fucking war movie. What was the war movie they did?
Oh, In the
Pauly
Army
Shore-
Now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in that too,
I think that's
wasn't
the
he?
one he did. I don't know if he may have done another one or two of them. They may have been trying to Farley Spade them. Farley Spade them
He's
together.
a funny dude, though.
Do you have hopes for Happy Gilmore 2? Could it possibly be good?
Yeah. Adam
Really?
Sandler still makes good stuff. He still
Comedy?
makes good stuff. Yeah, he does. Those Netflix ones were good.
Yeah, those
they were funny.
They're pretty good. You like Hubie, Halloween, or something.
They're funny,
that was,
man. They're funny.
pretty good.
If you like Adam Sandler movies, I love Adam Sandler movies. I love silly movies. Like I love the
too.
one when he played his own sister. What was that one?
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill's fucking hilarious. And Al Pacino's in love with her,
Yeah.
and she's a brute. It's fucking funny.
No, Adam Sandler rules. He's a great actor, and I mean, Happy Gilmore was so great, but I almost feel like
There's no way this second one's going to be good.
it's just
They'll figure it
I
out.
think they're going to try to do too many throwback moments. This what was a movie they kind of did that with recently?
Fucking like this Coming to America Part 2?
Yeah, like they're just like that was terrible. That was actually fucking terrible. And Coming to America, I grew up on. First of all, they made it PG-13. The original Coming to America was rated R.
They made
was
it a
like-
musical. They put
Yeah, it was
music
bad.
numbers in it.
It was bad. But I have. I will
Oh, I thought
watch it.
Beetlejuice people loved. I didn't like that. 'Cause same thing. I thought it was like
Yeah.
you can't capture that first one.
I thought
ever again.
Beetlejuice was pretty good. The new one. I thought
Did
it was pretty
you?
good. Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it's pretty good. I fucking loved it. The Soul Train, when they got on the Soul Train, it was all dead, like resurrected black people dressed in like 1970s outfits dancing. Have you seen it?
I kept on
The
falling
scene?
asleep. I keep on turning it on and falling asleep 20 minutes into it.
Well, it's good, man. It's pretty solid. I mean, it is one of those Tim Burton movies. Just like a fun, weird fucking movie. You know, I love the first one, man.
I didn't know
So
Tim Burton
good.
made the first Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Did he really?
The first Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense with Large Marge. I forgot to tell him Large Marge.
Marge.
That looked like the girl we brought to the UFC event in Philly. You remember?
If they would have called her that, we still would have kept our heads down.
Large Marge. She is large. Fuck.
Bro, Pee-wee's Playhouse was so fun. Or Pee-wee's Big Adventure, rather, was so fun.
Pee-wee's Playhouse was
There it
trippy.
is.
I didn't even know that. That's how like weird. Like Pee-wee's Playhouse was meant to be like.
One of these bikes was for sale recently.
Well,
At an auction. I thought.
how much did it go for?
Well, guess. I'll let you guess.
$100,000.
It went for more than that.
$500,000.
No, it was $135,000.
Wow.
There's 14 bikes, and it was one of them that was supposed.
It had no seat on it.
It was a fun movie, man.
Yeah.
I went
Oh,
to
it
see
was
that
great.
with a girl I was dating in high school, and we were like the only people in the movie theater. It was like one of them lucky moments. We were just fucking howling laughing.
First was well, the whole thing was always to have like nods for adults in it.
What
Even though
year
it's
was
a kids
that?
movie.
Yeah,
84?
it was totally like an anybody's movie. It
Yeah.
wasn't just like a kids movie. It was an anybody movie.
It was Pee-wee's
fun
was a
movie,
little
man.
off. I was being a kid watching it, being like, "What's the fucking deal here?" Big Top Pee-wee. It was just always a little bit weird.
Well,
and
Big
a little
Top
bit.
Pee-wee
but it was
was
fun.
his. He tried to do it himself, and that's why that did terribly.
Oh, really?
Because again, there's jokes in there no one gets. I forgot this. I saw it once when it first came out. Never saw it again. He's got a makeout scene with somebody that just goes on for like 5 straight. They just never stop.
That's funny.
Having them make out and just keeps panning further and further backwards, like 5 and in the middle of the movie. 5 minutes of him just like hardcore making out with a chick.
Well,
But maybe when I was older, I think I would have gotten. I said because he had such like. He said a lot of Andy Warhol inspired stuff and reference. There was an episode of Pee-wee's Big Adventure or Pee-wee's Playhouse where he said 2 minutes he just put dog food in a bowl and it was just like ASMR, a close up of a dog just eating the food for like 2 straight minutes, which that would have weirded me out when I was a kid.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's a lot of whatever it was just a little bit off.
He
so
got
as a
rolled
kid-
up in one of the most bullshit cases ever.
Oh, when he got caught jerking off
He
in the
got
theater.
Kurt jerking off in a gay movie theater.
Where
Like,
you're supposed
what
to jerk
are
off.
you supposed
that didn't ruin
to
him.
do?
That didn't ruin him the way he thought like that. In fact, I thought it was interesting when he did his first comeback was that Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, and he asked him to make his character look like his mugshot. That's why he looks like that.
That's funny.
Said it made him look like Charles Manson. Just like a tough.
Did you watch it, Jamie?
No, I saw clips of it. I was really into.
I mean, didn't it get his show canceled? Like, it
No,
kind
the
of-
show was already done.
Okay,
Show was already done.
but he was out for a while. Then he was in Blow. He was in that.
No, he came back. He had a career
Derek
comeback.
for real.
But after that, what took him down was because I thought you were saying he got caught up in the biggest bullshit. He was caught up in that sweep that got Jeffrey Jones.
What's that?
That was the principal from Ferris Bueller. That guy got nailed with actual
Kitty
child
porn, yeah.
pornography.
Oh.
And Pee Wee Herman was friends with him, so they went and searched Pee Wee's house. And what they found, he's a collector. He's like a crazy
They
collector.
just found a big couch that can talk.
Yeah. A bunch of naked kids inside of it. No, you don't understand. I don't fuck him. It eats them. No, he had like erotica from like the 70s like, in collections that was like, and everyone was above age, but it's considered obscene material.
Oh, no.
When they went to his house.
Where was he living?
California, I believe. And
erotica, obscene erotica.
he got nailed with obscene material charges, but he was lumped in with like pedophilia.
The charge here is a little worse than that.
What is it?
Pleaded no contest in LA court to charges of hiring a 14-year-old boy to pose for photographs.
To pose for photographs. They leave that out of the
Sexually
documentary, I feel like.
Oh.
They didn't put that in the documentary.
Look at Jay defending an actual pedophile.
I'm just saying he was a good guy.
You got to stay clear of those documentaries.
The
They'll have
charge
you
of
turn
possession
vegan.
of
Oh, man.
child porn was not part of the deal.
Joe,
though.
the first time we did your podcast, when you showed us all of your cool toys in your LA studio, I would have sucked your dick to do one of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Which toys?
Your compound bow.
I've told this story so many times on podcasts. That's the first time we came here, and it ends so great because me, Dave, and Lewis all came in LA, and you took us first, and you go, check this out, and you grabbed the compound bow, and you had the laser sight, and you could shoot it all the way across the full UFC gym you
And it
had.
looked so cool. We were all like just warming our hands up. Like, we can't wait till we can do this.
Then you put the bow down as I was reaching for it, I thought. And then you went over, you go, there's the pool table. You broke a rack and sunk a few. Like, cool. Then you open the door and you're like, here's where I freeze myself. Here's where I thaw myself out. And we're like, wow. And then you go, and here's my prize possession. And you had they do it for golf and stuff too, like the Kevlar screen hunting.
Yeah.
And you had the flat tip. But I go, he probably wants us to do this one because it's the flat tips. No one's going to get hurt. And then you fucking whaled 2 elk, and then you go, let's go podcast, boys. So I was like, he just showed us all of his toys and was like, don't touch them,
The
please.
problem with those toys is I can't teach you that quickly to use
It's
it.
fine. I understand.
Especially the
We're
ones
going to
that I
embarrass
have.
ourselves.
We would have embarrassed ourselves big, but then we always say like how much Dave Smith came on for like talks with you after that individually. Me and Lewis were like, why doesn't Joe embrace us the way he embraces Dave? And then someone brought up the first picture we ever took here. It's so funny. It's the werewolf. I am standing behind the werewolf like I'm fucking it.
I'm getting sucked off.
Lewis is acting like he's getting sucked off by the bear, and Dave is just leaning in, touching it, going. And I'm like, oh, you know what?
Dave had respect for you and your belongings.
We're like, oh, that explains.
That's hilarious.
The difference between us and Dave.
He goes, I wonder why Dave keeps going back.
Dave has his hand on the head gently.
Yeah.
Is Dave in the Rogan sphere? We're trying to figure out how we get in the Rogan sphere.
Yeah.
My Oker sphere
You're
is
in it
more-
right now.
Look, first of all,
If
Shane
you're in it
doesn't.
right now,
Shane doesn't
you're
need the
here.
Rogan sphere anymore. Let's just move Shane out. Move Big J into that position.
Doesn't
right?
require the Rogan
Ari's
sphere at all.
moving to fucking Thailand or something. He's gone. I'm ready.
He's
I'm a
not.
wacky guy. I'll shave half my head.
Ari's gonna do a stint over there and bail.
Agreed.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna talk to him. I'm
1
call
year.
him up every day. Fuck that place.
We'll
I'm
do
gonna
a
call
year.
him up, plant it in his head. I think we got Diaz coming here.
Oh, to Austin?
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. We talked about it this weekend. I saw him in Jersey for the fights.
Joey's the man.
So he's back in the sphere.
Fuck.
Yeah,
All right.
come
Jay,
on,
that
bro.
was your
There's plenty
position.
of room for you guys. You're in the sphere right now. You're on the show.
Every time the Rogan sphere gets talked about, we never get thing. When Cat Williams said 6 unfunny comics,
We knew it wasn't us.
I knew it wasn't us. I would have been happy to be one of the 6 unfunny comics.
Listen, Cat probably has a point. But what I was trying, he thought I wouldn't have him on. I'm like, bro, I love you.
He's so funny.
I couldn't wait to have him on right away. I'm like, I reached out to him right away. I go, that's not true. I just haven't reached out to you because I didn't know if you wanted to do it.
Sure.
Like, I didn't know he wanted to do it. If I thought he wanted to do it, I would have had him on a long time ago. I
He's
love
an
that
interesting
guy.
He might be
story.
one of my favorite like stand-ups to watch a special of because
my
I have a
God.
hard time like laughing at like on TV specials.
Pimp Chronicles?
Dude, he's fucking so funny, dude.
Bro, Pimp
I'm not gonna lie.
Chronicles
I
is
need
a
subtitles
masterpiece.
for it, but I genuinely don't know what he's saying. But I know
Chronicles.
Cat Williams is very, very funny.
Pimp Chronicles is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. He's so good.
Why can't me?
There's something about him when he's cooking too. When he's like really on fire, it's different than everybody else. He's sweating and you know his fucking hair's throwing back and just the tone of his voice and the way he repeats punchlines. It's like that guy gets cooking, man. He
Yeah.
gets cooking. And you watch the crowd; they're just falling out.
He
of
does
their
really long
chairs.
sets too, right? He does like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah.
He's a beast. He's a beast. He's a wild boy.
At least I've
Knows how to drive too. I put him on the driving simulator. He fucking killed it.
Oh, I always see
Like
him
he's
on
been
World
to a track.
on World Star Hip Hop. He beats like pro athletes in races and shit all the time.
I believe it.
It's very weird.
Yeah,
And he talks about, and he still, what's funny is he also dresses though like the old black guy who comes to play basketball, so it looks like he's not going to be that good. And then he's like fast as shit.
Remember
But
we
I
got
still-
beat up
I'll
by a
never-
teenager? Do you remember
He
that?
did.
That's the funniest thing in the world when he goes,
Watch this. This is him at a racing simulator. By the way, he's doing it one hand. Give me some volume.
Get in there. Get in there. There you are. There he is. That's when you're having to fight that competition off that corn. Cold.
How accurate is the simulator?
Pretty fucking good. It's got gravity. It turns you side to side.
cool.
It has crazy noises. It feels like you're really driving.
Yeah. And how do we do it like this? Because we do this in real life.
if he was driving Uber, he'd be making a personal phone call right now.
The roads, the highways, and the byways of America that allow you to do this. So he can drive.
He looks terrified.
No, he looks like he's on it, man.
That steering wheel will break your wrist if you're holding
Yeah,
on to it.
it's hard. It's
not a game.
No, the steering wheel reacts as if your tires would react at high speeds.
Put
It's on
Lewis
a
in it.
racetrack. You guys ever do a racetrack? You ever drive on a racetrack?
No. I can't drive 35 miles an hour on a regular road. Joe.
I do believe in
it's
full. I do
fun.
believe in full. When I did Bert's tour, one of the things we performed at a racetrack, and they had the pace car. It was like a convertible, and they took us all for like a couple loops, right? Like individually. One at a time. They wanted us to film it, and mine was so boring because I was like smiling, It was exhilarating the whole time, but they were like, Bert's giving them, and people are going like, no, like the corners are coming, and they were like, you didn't freak out at all. I go, I just had blind trust that they're not going to kill us, like, right? Like, are they going to put us in real, like, are we going to start cartwheeling down the fucking road here? I assume they're not going to do anything they don't know how to do perfectly.
This is why Bert's famous, because Bert's fun and he reacts big, and you just sat there like...
I was just like, this was neat.
Nobody wants to watch that.
I know. I should have
overreacted. Want to watch you screaming and fucking yelling and crying about your daughter.
Just be yourself.
My daughter.
Don't worry about what people want.
Yeah.
I can't scream at that. Remember when the first time you guys did my nails on the show? I freaked out about that. Touching my cuticles.
And now he gets them done. Now he gets them done. No, he gets his nails painted by an Asian lady every week.
Well, now you have to once it's get done. Every other week, Lewis. I'm not a diva.
Is that a thing you think you feel connected to? Like you have to keep doing that now?
Yes.
Is that a Bert Kreischer take your shirt off thing?
Oh, no. Not like that. No, it's more like connected
somehow gayer.
No, it's a gayer thing. No, it's connected to I bit my nails forever. Got my teeth fixed. Can't bite my nails anymore. They grew in raggedy. I tried to take care of them myself and was just terrible at it. They got my nails on the show one time.
As a bit, because if you just did this to Jay, look, if you show him you pulling your cuticle back, he'll freak out. For some reason, it's a weird thing. So we had an Asian lady come in, and we warned her. We were like, listen, the type of show, the jokes we're going to make, she was so cool. This like little, she barely spoke any English, but she was such a fun time. And she did his nails on the show, and he screamed like a girl the whole time because she was
didn't scream. It was more like that, like pull away. Like I did not enjoy it.
Yeah, and then it became a thing where every week after that he came in with a new color nails.
Every other week. But it's the, he keeps saying every week. I'm not a gay man. No, but once they were done, then once you can't really undo it. I don't know what to do now. I can't take care of them that good myself. I can't make them look like that.
Just go get it done. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
If that's what you
get
like.
It done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Lewis.
got their own quirks, Lewis. Leave them alone. Jesus.
Yeah, Lewis, you chose to have nipple rings to connect.
I have had one nipple ring.
I can't believe you actually had one. I was
had
kidding.
one. Yeah.
Did they connect like Xerxes?
No, I had a nipple ring. I had a lip ring.
I like, by the way,
ring.
Isn't the funniest thing you had all those things when you're like now you?
When my body sucked.
Yeah. You never had a nipple ring. You never had a nipple ring with pecs. You had
the
nipple
end of your tit.
It was so you look sexy in tank tops.
I was so bad, dude. Just a fat kid with a nipple ring.
Why'd you get it done?
I don't know. I just wanted to. I like tattoos and piercings and shit. I was young.
I was surprised though. I kept from being fat my whole life. Also, I kept my tattoos always to arms. For the most part, I never did ones that I would have to take my shirt off for people to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a stomach tattoo.
No, but you had like here.
Oh, I have my chest tattoo.
You have
it
your
says
chest
on my own. I got it when my mom died.
It says on my own.
On my own.
I know. Isn't that ironic for a guy who owns a company and has 1,000 friends and collaborates with people and everything he does? He's on his own.
Well, he says on this side, coattail rider. So.
You figured out early on, though, that the best way to not get pulled off of shit is to have your own network, though.
Yeah.
Like Kumia did that. You guys did that.
Yeah.
That's such a
and what's funny is we were going like for a few years it would almost seem like pointless because Patreon got so big. But then with censorship with YouTube and all these other platforms, now there's never been a better time for it.
Yeah.
Like we have an uncensored version of the show, an ad-free version of the show. We can say anything we want.
YouTube hunts us every time we get close to that plaque.
We've had our 4 YouTube channels taken down
in the 90-something thousands of subscribers because they just start reviewing it. Then they're like, no way.
What is what gets pulled? What's it about?
Most of the time, it's actually our fucking dumb producers leaving in like nudity and shit like that. YouTube relaxes moderation rules to allow more controversial content.
Like just today, though. So.
Oh, this is today.
Yeah,
Good. Freedom of expression value may outweigh harm risk.
That's great. I love
that.
Good
for YouTube.
That's
Fuck yeah.
It is changing a little bit, which is good.
The pendulum swings, right?
But Corey Holcomb's podcast I was listening to the other day, and I was like,
wild.
how is this?
Corey's wild.
He's so funny.
All the words you're not allowed to say. Like, so we bleep out like all the no words, right? And
this includes discussions of elections, ideologies, movements, race, gender, sexuality, abortion, immigration, and censorship. Beautiful.
We're back.
Ooh.
Not remove anything considered to be in the public interest.
Oh, dude.
Interesting.
Oh,
well,
abortion, too. So we could do that abortion now on the air.
Remember that live abortion?
We've been putting that bit off for years.
That would be a great bit.
Early term.
Everything that you can discuss is in the public interest, though. That's, I'm glad they changed it to that. That's a great way of defining it.
Like jokes, like specifically, like I got my, on Instagram right now, I can't go live or advertise on Instagram for a year because I was talking about a bit that I did on my first special on Dan Soder's podcast. about how I would get free cocaine in Mexico. I went up the beach and like I would get samples of cocaine. I just told the story about actually doing it, and they flagged it and said we were promoting like the sales of drugs, and I'm fucking fucked for a year now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like literally a joke. I'm just.
You did put up the number of the dealer, though.
You put up the dealer's number?
No. But that's what I did. I would go up and down the beach, and I'd get a free sample of cocaine. I'd go to the next guy, get another free sample of cocaine. Go to the next guy, and I just did that all night until they caught on. They were
until you were the leader of the cartel.
Yeah, they can get you for RICO charges now.
Yeah, that was the Cabo Comedy Festival, the shittiest comedy festival ever, like a decade ago.
Cabo Comedy Festival.
Then at the end of the night, I fucked like a 70-year-old woman. She was gross. Lewis still hotter than the girl we brought to the UFC in Philly.
Was she?
No.
You've hooked up with a couple of hilarious ones.
Old ladies?
Yeah, just like, I think on Shiprocks one year, you hooked up with a fucking doozy.
Oh, yeah, she had like a really thick smoker's voice. It's like, come to my cabin.
Jesus.
You're a little bit locked in on a cruise, especially a heavy metal cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Of heavy metal from the 90s.
There's no hot chicks on those cruises.
Cruise?
Yeah, we did a thing called Shiprocked.
I've done it a bunch.
Dude, I was watching this documentary today on the Black Sea where all those cargo ships wind up sinking. Have you ever seen ships going across the Black Sea?
Mm-mm.
It's apparently like the most dangerous part of the ocean to cross.
For Lewis, where's the Black Sea? Because I see his eyes are crossing.
I think it's across the top of the UK. I'm not exactly sure. But I watched this documentary about watching these fucking cargo ships get nailed by these monster waves. And I'm like, imagine being on a fucking cruise ship and some shit like that.
Oh my God, it's terrifying,
renegade
dude.
wave goes sideways. So where's it? That's the Black Sea? So where's that at? Turkey?
Yeah, between Turkey.
See if you can find some videos of cargo ships getting fucked up on the Black Sea. It's crazy.
It's the ocean's scary in general.
Terrifying.
The ocean is. I've been surfing before, and I'm just not good at it. Like you feel the power of the fucking ocean. It's
well. How about just I've done those cruise ships enough to be like, it's just if you go off that boat, you're as good as dead.
They won't stop.
Look at this. It snapped the cargo ship in two. The wave was so big it snapped this fucking ship in half.
Fuck that.
And this is nothing compared to some of the waves I've seen. Some of the waves are fucking bananas.
Apparently, if you fall off a cruise ship, they can't stop the ship.
They can't.
Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Just fuck that. If you fall off a cruise ship, they can't turn around and get you.
You think there's more death by fire a year or by sea?
No, they have to like call the Coast Guard or whatever to come and find you, but you're dead.
They give you coordinates that mean nothing.
Yeah, they throw some fucking donuts out to you, and you know that's it. There's
and
no.
You have to find the donuts in the ocean. The ocean's fucking flopping.
The worst part of that,
dude.
The worst part of that for me is that if I fell off, I'm holding onto a donut and hearing the sounds of Tesla slowly slink away. Oh, they're doing acoustic signs? Shit. Take pictures, you bitch.
Yeah.
There's a cargo ship that's on fire right now in I forget which ocean, but it's filled with EVs. And apparently one of them caught fire in the middle of the ocean.
That's why you can't put fucking electric cigarettes in your fucking suitcase.
Right.
Same thing.
I pay attention to none of those rules.
Remember when those Samsung phones were lighting people's cars on fire? Indian Coast Guard battles massive fire in container ship listed off Krella. I don't know. I don't think this is the one.
It's in India.
There's another one, Jamie, that is that's UVs. It's all UV cars.
Isn't there theoretically people in some of those cargo things?
Cargo ship carrying UVs on fire.
Isn't that how they
EVs, sorry, EVs, not UV.
Is that just the wire, or is that how they get people over sometimes? There's people sometimes in those cargo things?
Oh, yeah, no, that's real. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So that's filled with electric cars. I wonder whose cars they are. It just says EVs. It doesn't say... if it was Teslas, it would say cargo ship filled with Teslas. They would throw Elon under the bus for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the electric car.
They're great when they work. It's just like... if you have them plugged into your house, it's the shit.
Well, you need it
You
more.
never go to the gas station. You just plug it in when you go to sleep at night. It's easy.
I think you need your car to be more reliable than your phone.
Well, they're really reliable. The thing is about driving them, like Teslas, they never fuck up. I've had three of them. I've never had a problem.
Really?
Yeah, nothing. I had one problem with like a windshield wiper motor. It was simple.
Do you get rid of them because just it's time? You
It's
just
a
get a new
lease.
one?
I get a lease.
So you get a new one, yeah. Okay, so it's not like you're not like, shit, this thing's starting to peter out.
No. Well, they make them better every 3 years.
When do they peter out? What's the death of a
Good
Tesla?
question. You can get them, that are many years old. It's just their batteries degrade slightly over time. So like if it first comes from the factory with 340 miles after like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it's probably got 280 miles or something like that.
So that's all. It's just efficiency kind of goes down.
Yeah, but for driving around town, like if you're just taking it to commute, it's easy. You just plug it in when you go to bed at night. You don't ever have to go to the gas station again. Silent. They move faster than anything you've ever driven.
I mean, how quickly do you get a return on investment? Because the amount of money you save in gas has to be like.
I don't know about that.
I'm wondering about the miles things. That's what I'm saying. I remember like when I was a kid, and you remember this too. Like they would say, "Oh, like Hondas are the best because you can get 200-some thousand miles, 300,000 miles." I don't think that even exists anymore. That a car is supposed to. I think once
Toyotas.
You
buy a Tacoma.
Acura's,
those motherfuckers will last forever.
The reason I got the Acura was because
last forever.
Yeah, my buddy, Nick Rochefort, shout out Nick Rochefort, great comic, and he was like, dude, trust me. He was like, get an Acura. He was like, it'll last 250,000 miles. I'll give it to my kid when he graduates high school. Like,
my friend Matt Farah had a Lexus with 1 million miles on it.
Yeah, that was the other option too. He said, get a Lexus or an Acura. Those are the two that have the greatest resale value and also just the shelf life of the car.
I got a Ram and a Jeep. America, fuck yeah. And me and other Rams are like this when we laugh at Toyota Tacomas. Get that little stupid rice burner out of here.
I've had a couple of those Lexus SUVs, the 570s, the LX, fucking great car. Yeah. Great, comfortable as shit, big. It's so smooth. Never fucks up. They never have problems.
Don't buy an Audi. I'll tell you that much.
Why?
I just totaled my Audi, and it
wasn't the Audi's fault.
It was a fender bender. It was literally a fender bender.
That fender was going, dude. That fender was softened up by all the other fender benders.
Dude, I was like, for sure this is just an easy repair. They came, they're like, yeah, this is totaled. Each headlight is like $5,000. It's insane.
How much is your car worth?
The car I bought it at $70,000 when it was new, and then.
How long ago was this?
I had it for 4 years, and then it depreciated. It depreciated in value to like $25,000, and the damage was like $22,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, most of that was to take off the airbrushing you put on the side. You Puerto Rican dumbass.
That's fucked.
It was crazy. I was so bummed.
You know what's a really great value if you want to get a car? Get like a Mercedes S-Class from like 5-6 years ago.
I'm gonna make a call.
Still amazing.
Honey, Mercedes S-Class, order it for me.
No, the old ones.
Old car?
Yeah, you can get them from like 10 years ago, and they're fucking awesome, but they're like super cheap. But they're so well engineered, they'll never break. But for like less than like an Accord, a brand new Accord, you can get an S-Class from a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about that. Is it possible to get like an old car? Is there such thing as a brand new
old car?
Old engine?
What do you mean? Like what?
So
kind?
could you buy a brand new 2019 car? Like, what do they do with that one? Once
No,
it's
but
like
2019 is not even. I'm talking about like, can you get like a 1997 Mustang, and then somehow get a new that kind of motor in it, an original,
100%.
like no computer, none of that shit in it, just like the one you could fix yourself.
You definitely can.
Brand new.
Yeah, there's companies that'll do that for you. For sure. They'll make a car with a carburetor, the whole deal.
Well, I think I'm
Most
talking
of
about
them don't, though. Most of them use a crate engine. So what they'll do is like they take an old car, like a 68 Mustang, and they put a Coyote 5.0 in it, like a modern Ford 8-cylinder Coyote engine in it.
Yeah, the new ones.
So it has like an ECU. It has like which is like this little motherboard. Like you program it, and it has electronic fuel injection.
I used to have a Grand Cherokee that when I got out of the car, sometimes to start it, I learned I had to get a hammer and hit a certain part of the engine, and then it would start. I think it was the starter, possibly. You had to clank it, and it did start. And
Why did you just get a new starter? Why you hit it with a hammer?
Broke. This is way back in the day too. So I got the car. I got the car from it was one of those like what do you call it? The auctions.
Mm-hmm.
They repoed cars and shit like that. So it was a piece of shit. But I would clank and get it to start. There's just nothing when you open up. You could have a car for a year at this point, a brand new car, and open it up, and it looks brand new because it's barely engine parts.
Right.
It's mostly computers, like a big plastic covering over a computer, essentially.
Right. You can't like get in there and work on it.
When you bring it in and go, hey, it's having a problem, they go, did the light go? This happened to me the light went away. So the light's not on anymore, but it was there. They could plug it in and find out that there was a light that came on at some point, but they can't do anything to it if it's not happening. You know what I mean? There's not a thing where it's like there's this clicking. It's probably a belt. Those days are over, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so. They seem confused by...
You're going to bad mechanics, maybe.
It's the dealership.
Okay. So they probably have everything connected to a computer program, and the computer program talks to the computer that's in the car.
I think that's what you have to do. Yeah. Everything now. It's no more like... my mom Chuck and Larry. No, not Chuck and Larry. That's the gay guys that got married.
The-
Chuck and Al were like my mom's two. Like, now I think about it too. She probably fucked Chuck or Al. My mom
Probably
really.
both of them. Your mom?
My mom really threw the puss around to make sure we had what we needed when we were younger. Not like in a prostitution way.
Good lady.
Yeah, it was a good lady. But Chuck and Al was always our car mechanics. Like for our car, just
You know,
always
Tucker.
looked at them. They can't even be in business anymore with the cars now.
Well, there's a lot of people that still have old cars. They want to get them fixed up. There's a lot of people that really just like driving analog old cars. You know.
But not enough for the amount of like auto shops.
But
there
don't you hate
are.
when it's like a really famous guy? Who's a famous guy who drives like an old pickup truck? I want to say it's
Tucker Carlson does.
Christian Bale.
Post
I think it's
Malone?
He drives an old Tacoma.
Like an old Ford, or
It's a Toyota, yeah.
I think Jimmy Butler, the athlete.
But I
does
just feel
that.
like he's doing it to be like cool. It's like, bro, you don't need to drive an old ass truck.
I'll tell you, Post Malone showed up to a Shane show in a fucking muddy, shitty, big tires truck, and I believed him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? When he got out of it, I was like,
Yeah.
this is this thing.
But he's also got a Lamborghini and a fucking. He's probably got a whole,
Well, because he's hanging out with his country friends or his black rap friends.
He's got one of those Raptors with 6 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his Christian Bale's same Toyota Tacoma since 2003. Yeah,
It just bugs me for some reason.
They're bulletproof.
Keeps
That
it clean.
fucking thing, yeah, it's clean. It's not raggedy. But those things last forever, man. They really last forever. It's like if you wanted a car that's going to last forever that you can buy right now, get a Toyota Tacoma. They're fucking bulletproof. They're so good.
Yeah, they just re-released one of these old-timey looking trucks, and it's like vintage look. I think that's gonna be another thing that starts happening. It's like vintage looking cars that are brand new.
Toyota did?
I don't know if it's Toyota or another. It's a pickup truck that's coming out that looks like an old pickup truck, but it's brand new.
You look like a
2026.
jerk off though if you bought the novelty car of the time. Anyone that's still rocking a fucking one of those like Union Jack little like Mini Coopers or something, you look like an
that's
asshole.
crazy.
A Fiat, you look like an asshole. Do you remember the PT Cruiser in the early 2000s,
yeah.
late 90s, where they were like, "Hey, everyone likes that ZZ Top car. Let's make a very cheap
That was a
version of
shitty car.
that."
My
Oh,
mom
I
had a
drove one
Dodge
of those.
Neon. That was maybe the shittiest car that's ever been mass
Oh,
produced.
I had a Dodge Neon. You
Dodge-
had to at some point.
It was crazy.
$14.
Dude, I think it was $10,000, $100 a month, no money down. Like this was like the cheapest car ever.
It was such a piece of shit. I think 2 companies ended up making it.
Oh really?
I think it switched at one point from like Dodge to something. Yeah.
The Dodge
Remember the
Neon was-
Yugo?
It's so weird. Yeah.
Yugos?
Or a Datsun.
Was Yugo from Yugoslavia? Is that who made it? Is that why it's called the Yugo?
How
It was
do-
a garbage little car.
It's amazing how many cars I've been in that are now like defunct. They don't even make them with Mercury's, Sables, and
Right.
shit like that. But I have no trust or belief in a brand new like car that comes out.
Well, Saturn
I don't
doesn't,
even.
Saturn doesn't exist anymore. Saturn was like a brand that everybody
Right.
had back in the 90s.
I trust Hyundai now. Do not trust Kia. Hasn't been long enough for some reason. I don't know why that
Well,
one sticks.
those
with-
Genesis.
Genesis. No, I see
That's Hyundai. That's Hyundai's Lexus version. You know, their high-end luxury version. It's fucking really
Oh, because
good.
Lexus
man.
is Toyota.
Yugoslavian. Yeah, Yugo's Yugoslavian. That was a garbage.
Yeah, I
little
knew
car.
that from
But it was
delivering
like-
auto parts.
That car was like $5. It cost more for gas than the car.
What did you take your driver's test in?
Oh man, I wish I could remember. I think I took it in my mom's Barracuda. My mom had a 1970 Barracuda when I was
Nice.
a kid.
I think hums.
Oh, it was fun.
I was
Fun
in a
car.
stick shift Chevette.
Oh,
My mom's white stick shift.
you had to
Chevette.
learn how to drive. That's good though. To learn how to drive and do a driver's test on a stick, like you really know how to drive if you're a kid.
I
you
know.
could
It
do
is
that.
it is one of those feelings though where you're like even my daughter, I'm like, it's a good skill to have driving stick, and then she'll never be in a world where it will ever
Most
be necessary.
likely. It was fun though. I had an Audi Fox. That was my first stick shift car. I never had all my muscle cars when I was a kid were all automatics, but I had an Audi Fox. It was this cool little fucking front wheel drive, shitty 1973 car. It was great though. Like little 4-cylinder. It was like the first car that I had that was little that can like move around. I was like, this thing's fun, and like learning how to shift. Everything today is just you're barely connected to what you're driving. You feel like the shifting is the steering's electric. Everything's smooth. Back then, you felt the cars.
Yeah, that's gone.
That's why people like to drive old cars still. They like to feel them, you know.
Yeah, I would if I had the money, I would get like something. That's why I said I asked about if you can do a new engine in a car.
You have money.
So many
What are you
cars I
talking about?
missed.
You could get a car with a nice engine.
No.
You literally have
engine.
2 brand new cars.
You're not going to.
No,
First
one's
of all,
a lease.
You're not going
And
to
one's a Ram, which
fix it
apparently
yourself.
sucks.
You're not going to fix it yourself.
Never.
Right. So
No.
then find a mechanic, you know, that you trust. Ask around, get a relationship with this mechanic, and get a fucking cool car.
Not the same way your mom did, though.
Not that way.
Not that
well,
way.
if I could. Do you have a car, Lewis? What's like usually something
My
from your
dream
childhood.
car?
Maybe
Yeah.
the dream changes. When I was a kid,
Jaguar, the one with the actual the hood ornament that
front?
was a Jaguar.
Sure.
I looked it up a
What
couple
year is
years
that?
ago. I wanted to get it's like an old school Jaguar
Early
SJ6 or something or whatever it was.
early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. They were the coolest cars ever. And I looked it up recently and I found one for like $9,000. Like, just, it looked great. And then I was going to buy it. And then a friend of mine was like, dude, you literally, to get anything fixed on that car is crazy. Like, you'll never find the parts. Like, it's just, especially.
That is a tough one. When I was young, the one that like the cool kids had that you're like, damn, I wish I had that, was that boxy looking Mustang 5.0.
Oh,
That was the one
like
with
the Vanilla Ice one.
The convertible. Yep, that's the exact one. Everyone,
Rolling
they put
in my 5.0
rims on it, and the convertible, and that one just that was the
Yeah,
one.
that was a
but when
good
I was,
car.
But talk about it changing. When I was a little kid, this was one of the most hurtful, fat comments ever in my life. When I was like, "Shh, dude, when I get older, I want to get a Mazda Miata," and they go, "That's going to be a fucking roller skate on your fat body." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll get past the Miata." And now sometimes you see one on the road still, and I still go, it's pretty cool looking though.
You ever seen those Miatas that they do conversions with? They put a V8 in them. Mm-mm. Yeah, there was a company called Flying Miata, and they sold it to another company that's in Florida that does it now. I don't know what the name of it is, but they take a regular Miata and they stuff a big fucking aluminum GM crate engine in it. And it's got like 500 horsepower. It's madness. And this tiny little
So
car
light.
that weighs nothing.
Just lifts off the ground.
But apparently they are a riot to drive. They're like the most fun cars to drive because they're super light with crazy power. And these new engines are not that heavy, so it doesn't fuck with the balance that much. It's like slightly heavier than the stock engine, but insane amounts of power, and it sounds insane.
When we were down at a Nashville Comedy Festival, there was a guy who used to work at the club who pulled up in a like gold and blue
Lamborghini.
And it was just like the colors were crazy and it had some writing on it. And we were so curious about it. He won it in a sweepstakes. He actually won a Lamborghini in a sweepstakes.
These are those cars. Like, give me some volume so we could hear this thing.
It's the Miata?
Yeah, these are the Flying Miatas. Okay, that's not a Miata.
I mean, it's just the front.
This is the Miata. That sounds crazy. But there's a new company that does it now. It's not them, and there's some better videos where they show like what the
Who's driving that thing, Cat Williams? I think was hugging the corners.
Imagine if Cat Williams like enters F1, starts winning races. Oh, you never thought I could do it.
F1's really like right in the streets of a town.
Yeah, in Monaco, they drive through the streets. They do it in Vegas too.
They did it in Canada.
Oh, did they really?
In Montreal, I think one year the festival was there. There was like they were preparing for F1.
Oh wow, it's wild. They do it out here, but they do it at the Circuit of the Americas. That's what that neon sign up there is.
Oh, really?
Our neon died, I think. Did it die? I think it died. But that fucking racetrack out here, Coda, it's awesome. Watching Formula One, you can't imagine how fast they're going.
Oh, is that the place?
Hugging the cars.
Is that the place? I think I did one of those rock fests there backstage or oddball tournament. Is that the one that has the overlook thing behind it?
Yes.
The F1 track?
Yes.
That's one of the. Talk about getting over a fear in one day, what I've never felt. So it's got a overlook thing. You take it's one floor elevator, just goes right up to the top of that. Half of it's concrete, half of it's glass, very thick glass. But I've never had this happen before. When I got up there the first time, I was gung ho to walk out over that glass and go. When I got to the glass part,
The glass is the floor?
yeah,
No.
but it was concrete. When I got to the glass part, I almost fell forward because my legs stopped. Like my legs stopped moving. Like my body shut down. Be like, no, we're not ready for
Dude,
this. By
I'm
the end of the night,
terrified of heights.
Yeah, you should be.
by the end of
terrified.
there it is, dude. That's fucking.
No,
and by
I
the
hate
way,
that.
they didn't have. I don't think those red things were there when I was there.
Did I take the on top of the needle in the Stratosphere in Vegas? The Strat?
Oh yeah.
They have like a roller coaster at the top, and then they also have like, you know, the ride that goes straight up and then just drops.
Yeah.
I went on it with my son. My son has no respect for me anymore after this, dude. Because I was sitting in the chair, literally just like they didn't even start. They pull you up for like maybe 5 feet first, and I thought when I was at the top, I was screaming like a woman. Everybody was cackling at me. My son was making fun of me, and they didn't even go. And then when they finally went up, it was, I mean, I'm so deathly afraid of heights. Even if I'm strapped in, Oh my god, dude.
I could deal
You
with it.
should be.
I'm afraid of falling.
It's normal. If you're not, you're a freak. Those free climber dudes, they're just freaks.
Oh, the guys that jump
Like
from
Alex
building to
Honnold.
building.
How about the thing that our
guy
friend
climbs like Mount Capitan with fucking just chalk?
How about the thing that Ralph did that in New York you can do? You can go to the top of some building, and they have a thing where it's like they have you're like connected to a line. But do you remember the TV show showed to you? You could take a picture, something in New York where your like feet are on the building and you're hanging off it, like over New York City.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like, crazy.
Fuck that.
It's just like
Fuck that.
I'm not like
just for a thrill.
I maybe could have gotten talked into skydiving young. Not a chance. I've had some people try to talk me into it as an adult, and I'm
Bungee
like,
jumping.
if
Fuck
my
you.
daughter's got to tell the fucking
way.
story, if my daughter's got to tell the story of her dad dying in a fucking wingsuit or something, like a jerk off.
Brian Redband's dad was working at this place. One of the people he's working with was a skydiver, and always trying to get him to go. Come on, come with us. One day, goes to work. They're not there. What happened?
No.
Just didn't open.
Didn't open.
There was a great.
It happens.
There was a thing called McCloskey on Netflix years ago.
Was it a documentary?
It was in fact a documentary
sure.
about a snowboarder guy. He was like an extreme sports guy, and he died because he jumped. He base jumped into a national park, and when he landed, he was being chased by the rangers and the cops to arrest him. And he went in the water with his parachute and everything, got caught up and died. I think he drowned in the water, I believe. Then they did a thing on the news. They were doing like a base jumping, for this guy, like in memorial of him. It was a demonstration. It was like it shouldn't be illegal. So what they were doing was people were jumping, parachuting down, and when they landed, it was almost like organized. The cops would then arrest them. They were all getting arrested for doing it, but that was their protest that we're all going to do it. You're going to have to arrest us all. And then while they're doing all that, just in the background, you just see someone go, just like way in the background. Oh God! It's like, yes, this is why this is stupid.
Yeah, fuck all that. I've never had any of that adventurous shit in me. I've gone skiing, which I feel like is adventurous enough for me.
Yeah. Killed a Kennedy and Sonny Bono.
But it's actually really dangerous, dude. Skiing is like fucking wildly dangerous. Just sometimes I was in Park City, and you're just going down it's a really long trail, like 20 minutes, like you're just going and going and going. But there's times where like I'm going to the edge, and all it takes is like just a little less control, and you just fly off the edge of a thing and you're done.
Oh yeah.
How do cars not go off like up in the canyons in LA every year? Like tons of them.
They do.
They do.
Constantly?
Isn't that how Tiger Woods crashed?
He went off one of those cliffs?
Isn't that what happened, Jamie? No, quite. Not quite?
I thought he just hit a tree.
There was one guy who was tweeting, who was like a famous plastic surgeon. He was like tweeting, and they discovered that he was tweeting at the very same area where he fell off the fucking cliff. So he was just like texting while he was driving and not paying attention.
Crazy.
He went off the side.
That's the most
nuts.
2 in 10 moment of my life when I'm going over those, like through the Hollywood Hills. Just like,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that you're able to drive that close to like certain death.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how about the fucking drive up to San Francisco if you take the coast? Oh,
yeah.
There's times where the left side of you is just cliff.
Yeah, like 1,000 feet
There's
down.
like famous places like in the world, like in just other countries where, I mean, I've been to a few countries where you're driving, there's no rail, your tires are just like along the edge, like almost hanging off. It's fucking terrifying. Yeah.
Fucking dumb other countries.
Oh man, there's some
why Jay
wild
won't go.
countries where the only way to get is these fucking roads through the mountains, and sometimes there's boulders that fell in the way, and you got to move the fucking landslide and hope it doesn't hit you while you're driving.
It's amazing all the years of driving for comedy and how long I've driven. Never seen a falling rock once.
Not once.
That
the
is
sun
amazing.
says falling rock. Never seen falling rock anytime ever.
I've only seen it on
Never
the
hit a
internet.
deer?
It's crazy. You never hit one deer?
I was on a tour bus that hit a deer once. That was pretty gnarly.
I hit a rabbit recently.
Oh yeah.
I tried though.
Oh, did you?
No.
I thought you meant with your foot when you killed them both.
No,
with
I
your
did.
foot.
That actually happened to me recently. I was moving my lawn furniture because my fucking Mexican fucking lawn care people never move the furniture back to where it's supposed to be. And I'm moving it back, and I felt my foot go into the ground, and I heard beep, 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 beep. And these baby bunnies jumped out of a bunny's nest, which apparently they're underground. I had no idea. And yeah, they fucking.
So Lewis reported those guys to ICE. Piece of shit. What a piece of shit, dude. Come on. They're just here trying to live the American dream, dude.
Yeah, the one jumped in my pool and went belly up, and I thought it was dead. I scooped it out with the scuba, threw it in the garbage. My girlfriend was like, "Are you sure it's dead?" I was like, "I'm positive it's dead." It was.
Did you try feeding it carrots?
She really did bring carrots out to these little broken bunnies. I was like, "They don't want your carrots." Like these fucking.
Did they live?
Stop trying to what's
they
up
did
doc
actually.
these
I thought they were going to die for sure because I called. It was on Memorial Day and I called like a rescue, an animal rescue place, and they were like, "We're closed today. Call the cops. They'll come and get them euthanized." And we were like, "No, I'd rather them die a slow death in my backyard." And eventually, they just started hopping around. The one guy, we call him Limpy, and he was just fucking pushing himself with one leg. And
you should have glued their hands to their genitals and then hung them from something and be like, "Oh, another autoerotic asphyxiation gone wrong." Great. The guy from NXS, David Carradine, and now these rabbits.
So he either lived or a hawk came and got him eventually. But
do you think that some of those auto asphyxiation guys were murdered and they were set up to be humiliated and look that way?
No, I think do you see now they try to take the jerking off part away from all those stories now?
Really?
Yeah, they don't want.
How many stories are you reading that are autoerotic asphyxiation?
None.
But he's watched a whole documentary on it.
No, I'm gonna make my own documentary. Soundgarden jerked off to death. Linkin Park jerked off to death. Anyone who hangs himself.
Well, you mean Chris Cornell?
Yes.
Well, I don't think he was jerking off to death, was he?
This is
that
Jay's
what you're
theory
accusing?
that he thinks
is
everyone.
It a theory?
It's a strong theory.
Did you make it yourself?
Yes.
Oh,
who
just want to be
hangs?
clear.
He has
Breaking
no
the news
evidence.
here.
He has no evidence.
You don't hang yourself from a fucking doorknob that low when you're not trying. They flash knockout while they're doing it, and then they just die because they're being choked.
100%.
They pass out. That's it. Yes, 100%. You heard it here first. And Linkin Park.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. They said put a note, but again, I think now since Michael Hutchence from NXS famously did that, and David Carradine, that was news. That made news. They died from that.
How good could it possibly feel?
You ever get choked during sex?
I've had people call in
to get choked out, like while you're nutting.
I've heard people call in
pretty
to
good,
tell.
dude.
People say it mimics. A lot of times, former addicts do it because it mimics like the feeling of like the high of like heroin. That's what they said. But that's just people who've called in to say that. Who knows? But because Michael Hutchence and David, it's like the first when you think of their name before you think of even NXS or any of the songs, you're like, oh yeah, he died jerking off. David Carradine, all those movies, died jerking off. So now they'd rather have you think they were just depressed and going through it than saying that because that's all you're going to be known for now.
Right.
It's probably
I see
pretty
the
great.
theory. It's not a bad theory if the family can hide that information. Like is it
Wouldn't you?
important that he was jerking off? He killed himself. The world doesn't need to know he was jerking off while he killed himself.
Well, you'd rather feel that it was on purpose because he was desperate and sad than he was such a weirdo that he had to jerk off and hang himself from a fucking doorknob.
I heard there's a conspiracy involving the David Carradine one. I think David Carradine had run afoul with some shady characters.
Yeah, five Venoms, dude.
I think it was in Thailand. Wasn't it in Thailand or something like that where he won?
He's actually kung fu.
Is it? Is there a conspiracy theory attached that we should call Sam Tripoli?
He roamed the earth, bringing HPV to foreign lands.
He was kung fu when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, he was the guy that was doing
Hell yeah,
martial
Kane.
arts on TV.
Yeah.
Kane.
Lai Chang Kane. Everybody called everybody Grasshopper back then.
Yeah, but getting choked while you have sex rules.
All right, bring it back up. I guess
Not
we'll
really,
talk
dude.
about
I'm
it.
saying
He's hanging on it.
I dig
All right,
it.
bud. I'll
David
choke you out while you
Carradine was
whack it.
wearing fishnet stockings and a dark wig when his body was found hanging in a Bangkok hotel room. Grainy images printed in the tabloid Thai Wrath reportedly show kung fu actor suspended from a clothing bar in a closet. Red woman's lingerie appears to be in the bed adjacent to the body.
Oh, this is somebody who hated him.
Yeah, that might be, right? Found with his hands bound above his head and a rope around his neck, wrist, and genitals. How would one do that to themselves? Sordid details of Kill Bill star's sexual life began to surface as the photos generated more questions about the actor's mysterious death. That seems like you couldn't do that yourself, unless you're like really ingenious. How do you bound? It says hands bound above his head. How do you do that? And a rope around your neck, wrist, and genitals.
You need a really cool friend.
How are you doing that?
1-inch punch. 1-inch punch, dude.
Are you pulling it tight with your hands?
I don't.
What? Okay, yeah. Let's fuck that.
Started getting carried away.
Sorry, you look real gross. Yeah, there's a lot of accusations involving
He was giving his wiener the old 5-finger death punch.
But I mean, what are the like standards of like in Thailand if they find you hanging wearing women's lingerie? Do they really want to investigate? They're probably just gonna kill themselves.
I don't want to touch that. It's icky.
Yeah. They're probably like, how is it autoerotic asphyxiation if his hands are tied up too above his head?
That's the weirder thing. I never saw that before. His hands were above his head.
That sounds like he got
That sounds like
killed.
somebody walked away. Well, it's one of those things. Might have gotten carried away, and somebody just left because they were like, "Whoop,
Right.
he's
like
dead."
maybe a lady was giving him head, and then he came and then blacked out, and she couldn't get him off the ropes.
Yeah,
So she just
split.
Just fucking booted out of there.
Not like Linkin Park and Soundgarden, who were just jerking to each other's music.
I think some of them are just depressed, dude. Bourdain was just depressed.
But who hangs? There's so many
People hang themselves.
faster ways to take care of
They
the
don't
situation.
have anything around them other than a rope, and it's an impulsive decision.
And it's also like a romantic way to kill yourself.
it's
It's
like-
like,
Who's got rope?
You don't need
I got
rope
rope in my
cord.
garage.
You can need cord. How about the guy
Sock, your jizz sock from all your autoerotic asphyxiation?
the guy that was connected to the Clintons that hung himself with electrical cord and then shot himself in the chest with a shotgun?
from 40 yards away.
Yeah, it looks a little sus, as the kids like to say.
Yeah. If you had to kill yourself, Joe, how would you kill yourself? If you had to.
Well, gun is definitely the best way, right? Because it's quick.
Yeah, but what if you shoot like your front lobe off? And
Don't
you're
do
so-
that.
Yeah.
Don't put it in your mouth like a real man.
That was the fucking Richard Jennings. Richard
And then
Jennings
choke
thing was
yourself.
that. He missed.
Yeah, he missed.
And died later.
Yeah, he died in the hospital. Oh.
That'd be my biggest fear is like shooting, like just angling it wrong and then just.
I saw a video of a guy who did that with a shotgun. He just took off the front of his face and was blind.
Oh.
Lived. Yeah. Oh.
Life is now worse.
Richard Jennings takes his life. Dave Coulier never even tried to take his own.
Richard Jennings was funny, dude.
Very funny.
Back in the day, he was the fucking man. He was depressed that he never wound up being a movie star. He wanted to be the next Jim Carrey, you know?
He did. Yeah, he got close with like, the mask, and they said it just made him more bummed.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's like, to us, all the comics back then, he was the guy, you know? He was
on all those shows. Were you doing comedy at a time? Do you have performances on like A-List and Stand Up Spotlight or VH1?
I did a
like
bunch of those
things?
Yeah, I did a bunch of those.
Caroline's Comedy Hour was
Yeah,
a biggie.
I did that. I did
Evening at the
MTV
Improv.
Half Hour Comedy Hour.
That was Pauly, right?
No, that was Pauly. It was totally Pauly. MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour was another show that would do, do like 10 minutes or something. I forget what the time was.
VH1 did one of those with Rosie O'Donnell, kind of hosted them or something.
Yep.
Those it seemed like it was a pretty fun time in comedy. Comedy was pretty polluted with like a lot of same old.
Yeah.
At the time, but I mean, like, what a time to kind of like. That's why it was funny when I was opening for Dave Attell those years. He couldn't get a grasp on like the change that I was experiencing. Because he was kind of like, after 3 years, like, you want to go with me to this club again? And I'd go, absolutely. And he'd go, aren't you headlining this place yet? And it's like, it doesn't work like that anymore. Because he's from a time where they said if you got an hour of comedy together, then you tour. That's what they say.
Well, Dave
then you
was
tore
way
that
ahead of his time.
You tore that hour of comedy. He goes, you can't just do that. Like, you need places to book you.
Well, Dave, back when I started, this is 21 years ago, like, people would just have their act. Do you remember Seinfeld's documentary where he was like, I'm going to get rid of my act after 20 years and have a new hour. It's like, that's what everyone does now. The standard of comedy has changed so much.
Yeah.
But I feel like Attell was always like that. He would turn over. He was very prolific.
No, for sure. I'm saying he didn't get that, like, the change that now you have to be able to sell tickets.
Right.
To get booked places first. It wasn't just like, well, you're one of the comics who has an hour in the country.
Yeah.
There was a time where it was that. It was like these guys I think it was like the two coasts, really, was all of it. You know what I mean? Then the internet, I think, really opened it up to the rest of the country, and it's like saturation.
Yeah,
now.
you used to be able to go to clubs and build a market. So you just keep returning. You turn like once a year, and after a few years, people would come to see you like, oh, Big Jay's coming. He's really funny. We saw him last time.
San Fran Punchline, Stress Factory are maybe two of the only clubs that really, I know there's more. Oh, the Providence Comedy Connection. Let me go there and have enjoyed watching it be like, giving me a couple $100 for a weekend to change over the years.
I remember
I've seen that.
I opened for you. You made $600 for the weekend as the headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give you a chance. And if you're good and they know you're good and they give you a chance, the people trust them because they got a long history of booking good comedy. It's like, who's this guy? Is he good? Let's take a chance.
Right, but places got afraid. I remember that hurt so much. I opened for Steve-O when he first started doing comedy, stand-up. I opened for him, and I'd done DC Improv with Attell and stuff before, and I did that weekend. And I hate when you go hat in hand to places and you get bad news. I remember going to the booker there, who was like someone who's like so friendly to me now, and she's great, but like, it was so hard. I go, hey, Just, I'd love to come back and headline, even like on an off weekend, when people don't want to do 4th of July, Thanksgiving, whatever. And she goes, yeah, I'd love to, but you don't sell any tickets, so it's all about selling tickets. And she just kind of laid it out like that. And I just thought I was like, well, how do you, I didn't even know how to start making that happen. It's pretty when we started like Legion of Skanks and stuff.
Well, podcasting sort of created an opportunity for comics to
the best.
Yeah,
the
build
best
an audience. People,
Yeah.
they know us. They feel like they're really like sitting here with us.
Well, they really are, right? And we talk like this if we were in the green room. The difference between podcasts and everything else is we're really talking just the way we talk.
Yeah.
You know?
But everyone also gets mad to it, like what the thing is besides stand-up that makes it happen, whether it's podcasts,
Yes.
internet videos.
Yes.
But I've learned also to stop having that because people get a lot too much wrapped into that. Like, they're just a social media comic or there's a whatever. It goes, buddy, I don't know. My ex-wife does comedy and people ask me, like, are you mad that she does comedy? Like, I can't judge why anybody gets involved in it. I got involved because somebody suggested it to me.
It's crazy to even want to.
To care. It's
Like, who gives a fuck?
It's like, why'd you get it? It goes, oh, because I was having funny tweets, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Like,
Well,
okay,
the
that
first-
seems like a good enough reason as anybody else starts.
The first decade, you don't even, there's no path. Like, what is the path to like even making money? You're just doing it blindly, going
Right.
like, I hope something happens eventually.
People
you know?
get mad because I think there is a path now to making money very quick, and people are doing it. And so it's that.
Right.
It's the Howard Stern used to shit on. It was that famous thing with him and Ari, shitting on the idea of podcasts. But when people were shitty about that, I always understood his anger. At least I don't agree with it, but I understand when he did the.
Well, his anger
AM
didn't make
rate-
sense because he was already super famous.
No, but his argument was saying I had to do AM shift.
Yeah.
2 a.m. to 6 a.m. In this shitty town. And I had to do this, and I played music until they realized it would be better to let me talk 10 years later. You know, and he went through all that. That it's just like, well, you could flip on a switch, and if you have an audience already or connected to somebody who has an audience, like, you're doing it already? Like, you're just doing it now.
Well, also the difference is we all hang out with each other and do each other's podcasts, whereas those radio guys all fucking hated each other.
Right.
Like Howard Stern
It's about
hated
taking
Opie
each
and
other
Anthony.
down.
Yeah, they would talk shit about each other all the time.
Opie
They're
Anthony used to have, what was it, Jocktober, where they would just find shitty radio shows and they
Yep.
would have their fans torture them
Yes.
for an entire month.
Yes.
Oh, so funny.
Brutal. Fucking brutal.
And
Cutthroat.
Yeah, it was a
Podcast
different.
doesn't have to be.
Right, because like you could only be the one big radio guy in Philly, you
Yeah.
know. And if Stern was coming into Philly, and if they're going to open up like a syndication thing, he was going to talk crazy shit on the big guy in Philly, whoever it was, or whatever city it was.
I do feel it's interesting watching. I wonder if this happens with every generation. The comedy dollar gets stretched though, because it is kind of funny. Not that it
What do you
necessarily hurt. I think now with like having these kind of like Shane, I'm opening for Shane at some of these arenas and stuff. It's amazing. He's getting like 18, 20 some thousand people into these places and doing it. One, that's very difficult to like think of new jokes when you're doing comedy like that all the time. But
well, you do clubs
for sure. No, I do
you have
clubs.
to.
But I'm
no,
saying,
but I mean you have to.
like a Shane will do clubs also.
Yeah,
Oh no, for sure.
of course.
But I'm just saying like a ticket to see someone in an arena it's before they'd be able to see everyone they loved was coming through the Improv or whatever, and then a couple were doing theaters.
Right.
Like now it's like it's a fucking night out at like a sporting event to go see comedy where it's like they might not have the money next week to go see me or Lewis at a club. I think it has changed. It's interesting in that way.
Well, there's some people that just don't want to spend that kind of money to go to an arena anyway, and they'd rather go see someone in a club.
Sure.
It's a better experience. That's
it's a
how
better
comedy's
experience.
supposed to be.
The best experience, though, in an arena is in the round. In the round is
That's
like
how
a
Shane
giant.
does it.
It's like a giant
It's
club.
nuts.
It's like a giant club because the people on this side are watching the people on that side laugh, and you're all laughing at each other. It's very intimate, weirdly, even though there's like 16,000 people.
The only comedy I don't love at all of the three things, clubs, theaters, is theaters. Theaters is impersonal from the crowd enough and also personal enough that you could still do bad. They could turn on you a theater, possibly, if you're not the person they're there to see. Or even if, you know what I mean? There was like a Nick Swardson thing where they turned on him.
Well, he was lit on edibles.
Yeah.
He couldn't remember what the fuck he was talking
my
about.
Point just being, they weren't with him no matter what. Like, they did turn on him. Something about the arena, and again, Shane's doing an hour at these things, which is impressive as hell. For the 20 minutes I have to do, it's like, how could this go bad? Like, it's just, if anyone's laughing in there, it sounds like a million people laughing.
Shane had a guy open for him. I don't want to trash the guy.
I heard it was
So
a
his name-
sound issue, though.
But he just like, dude, he just started getting booed. And dude, getting booed out of an arena is crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, you have to feel like it has to feel like being like you're getting the same reaction like that the visiting team gets when they go to that arena.
I've seen it on Killtony.
It happened to a comic.
Killtony arena shows too happen. Somebody will do 2 jokes in a row that bomb,
Yeah.
and then the crowd's like, "Fuck this guy," and then it's almost fun. I think it's because people are in that environment; they think it's fun to do it.
How about TJ when T.I. got booed at something when he was doing comedy, like at a big arena?
Oh yeah, well it wasn't. He didn't have it tight.
No, he sure
You can't
didn't.
do that. You can't just
But
jump into.
But you can just lose him. So like Damian Lemon, very very funny comic. He did like the Hot 97 Summer Jam comedy thing, and like they turned on him hard, and when it turns, it turns.
Or the most famous one of all, Bill Burr on the Traveling Virus tour, Opie and Anthony back in the day in Philly.
Well,
Do you
that's
remember
because
that?
they had turned on Dom Irrera before.
Yeah,
him.
and then he came out
Turned
and he
on
just
everybody.
said, he said, "Fuck this crowd," and he
Yeah.
spent 15 minutes just shitting. It's one of the most beautiful
It's
moments, legendary moments in comedy.
So I'm from Philly, and it's one of my favorite lines ever about Philly that is indicative of that town that I love. Was he says, "Joe Frazier is from here, who beat Muhammad Ali. No statues to him, no nothing, and you have a statue of a fictitious Italian heavyweight."
Yeah. He's like, "You piece of shit threw batteries at Santa Claus. Fuck this town."
It's a classic. And
It's great.
And he kept rattling off 7 more minutes.
Yeah.
Like
I know that's funny. He had to quit that tour because everywhere he went, then they would start booing him because they'd be like, "Do Cleveland now."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was like this is before viral videos were happening like that, and it was
Right.
such shitty, grainy footage. But that's when I mean, maybe my first year in comedy that happened, a couple of years in, and you're just seeing that, and it's like it's such a comics moment where you're like, yes, just fucking.
Well, it's a big pin. It's a big moment to have in comedy. I said a few of them when silence doesn't scare you anymore, or just I could talk into a microphone, especially for 15 minutes, under any circumstance. You know what I mean? Like it'll suck if it's a terrible. They're already booing. Go out in the very beginning. There's no one there, but like. I'm not afraid of the moment.
Doesn't it
You know what I
suck
mean?
when it's
That's
like,
a big thing to get over, and that's what being scared for the moment.
When you're
That's why I
headlining
said
a
I
show
do
in the
well
first-
overseas the first time. I was like, do they even understand English here in England?
Dude, the first 5 minutes, if you're doing a headlining set that's not going well, and you're like, "Oh fuck, it's gonna be another hour." God damn it!
Are you a long time guy, or do you try to do like when you headline something?
I do an hour.
An
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, especially if I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Always. I don't really have an hour right now, so I'm like putting it together. I think last night I did 50 minutes, and like some of it I keep forgetting my new stuff. It's a lot of new stuff because it's all since August.
Sure.
And I took a couple months off where I wasn't doing stand-up at all. I was like, let me just refresh my brain. And then I hopped on, started doing other people's shows. Then I had some old bits that I'd never put on the special, and I started bringing them back and piecing it together. But it's like you gotta have a real set before you take that bitch on the road. You can't think you could have like a club 45 minutes and go do an arena. Like if you're gonna do an arena,
for sure,
you gotta
yeah.
have a real set. It
So
has to
I
be-
work out in the clubs on the road.
Have to.
Particularly. I mean, like, but it's.
Burr said that back
it's all
in the
just
day.
preparing for a special, really.
Burr said that back in the day. We were just talking about someone's special, and it's like he didn't do the clubs. And he's like, he's right. Like this person, like some persons, they start doing theaters, big theaters, and they do real well, and they just keep doing that only, same opening act every time. Crowd wants to see them, and you develop it's like a soft act.
Yeah, it's no good.
Yeah, not good. You need clubs, man. You need
Yeah, but
clubs.
Austin's great for that as well. So what you did down here is you've cultivated like comedy fans that want to see edgier shit. They want to hear fucked up jokes. New York and LA, they don't really like if you're just going on a random pop-in set at the Stand or the Cellar or the Comedy Store and just some random show and they don't know who you are. You start doing fucked up shit, they get very tight. Very tight. Like down here, like you go in the main room of the Mothership or at the Creek. I mean, they're comedy fans. They're like legit.
Yeah.
It's become like a comedy destination, kind of how like, people go to New Orleans for jazz.
Well, this town doesn't seem to feel like it has the same responsibility to like correct bad behavior on stage
Right.
that New York has and LA has sometimes. Like they want to let you know that you're out of line. They
Well,
don't want you talking about a certain subject. It's like
Did you think there was going to be when you opened the club? Did you like foresee the dissension and stuff that happens just within the scene? The people that don't work there bitching about that it's for this reason, and the people who
it's a walled garden.
And everyone goes, they got in there because of this, and I'm not in there because of this.
They have a walled garden perspective. You see a bunch of people having a good time and you're not involved. Oh, fuck those people. It's
Yeah,
normal.
sure.
It's a natural reaction
Yeah.
that people have to like this intimate community of people that are all friends that are having a great time. It's normal to hate it. Yeah, but it's not all wild comedy. There's a lot of like really clean comics that come here that kill.
Sure.
Like Vecchione is fucking pretty clean. He's hilarious.
He's squeaky clean sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, he's on
hilarious.
Nate's,
he's like Nate's, one of Nate's
murders
guys. So yeah,
and murders at the club.
he's a beast.
He's a beast. But it doesn't matter. It's just funny. It's just whatever kind of funny you're into. Holtzman comes and destroys.
Yes,
Well, I'm not
like
saying
all
I'm
different-
not even saying the booking's like one dimensional anyway. I'm just saying just that
You can.
Did you even foresee there'd be comics that were going to be eventually like club sucks anyways?
I don't hear
Ugh.
about them.
You stay away.
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't make its way to you. They wouldn't. That'd
I
be
mean,
stupid.
You're gonna have people that complain about anything that they're not involved in.
Sure.
They're gonna decide it sucks. Like, how could it suck if you've got 2 days of open mics? How could it suck if the comics get paid more than anywhere else? How could it suck if it's entirely set up for comedy? How could it suck if it's super supportive of the comedians?
What's the
and gives
path?
them a path.
What is the path for the young comic in
Well, there's
Mothership?
a real talent coordinator. You know, Adam Egan's a real talent coordinator. So
Sure.
he sits there and he watches your set. He gives you advice. He'll have you come back and do it again. He'll give you spots on certain shows. They start developing comedians.
And it's like anything else. Like, you know, this business is about being likable and getting people to want to watch you succeed.
Yeah.
Where it's like you'll get your opportunity if all the other comics are like, yo, this guy's funny, you should take a look at him. I've seen that happen directly. Can I get the lighter again?
Yeah. Well, we have it set up for development. Like, the whole idea is like you want to develop new talent there, and Kill Tony's the best vehicle for that ever. You know, if you have a banger minute on Kill Tony, you could become a fucking star. And if you could reproduce that every week, like those
59 times.
kind of crazy that some of them have to do that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible writing exercise.
It's kind of crazy. The advice that I would have given a young comic, 15 years ago, I was a young comic at the time too, but it's like, I would be like, do not be on camera for the first decade that you do comedy. Develop and act first. But now a lot of these guys they have the opportunity. It's like,
But
could you
can it
really
be detrimental if you really eat shit on it and you're like a 3-year comic?
I don't think people remember people bombing on Kill Tony where it'll be detrimental to your career.
It could be. But
It's
it
gotta
could
be
not
so
be.
bad.
You bounce back and have a great set the next time, and the people love you. I've
Sure.
seen that happen too. Look, you're taking a risk when you're doing a new minute every week. There's a real possibility you might have a dud.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're new to the game. You've only been doing it 4 years. You got some talent, but
I genuinely don't know. It's an interesting thing when I did do it, essentially at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
When you guys were there. It's an interesting thing. They try to whittle down in your head, like, what the fuck is
Just a minute, yeah.
Yeah, but they were all pumped to see you, so it was easier.
No, of course.
They were
That's that arena atmosphere too. It's like it's our game to lose.
The Garden, I think, was like the best arena Kill Tony show. Like it was like
That was
it was
unreal.
really cool. I went both nights, and whatever it was, like they were just the crowds were so lit on watching those shows.
Yeah.
Like nobody got booed. There was no problems. Like super supportive.
Super supportive. Well,
Yeah.
some people got booed. There's people that bombed.
Did they?
Yeah.
The one.
couple people.
I think
bombed.
someone went right before me.
Yeah, a
I
couple
think I had a
people
rough
bombed.
one.
It's fucking hard to do, man, and it's fun to watch someone just go out there and fail sometimes. It's
It's
makes
very,
the
very
people.
fun.
It makes the people that succeed look better.
When I do Kill Tony as a panelist, I love watching somebody bomb. It's my favorite thing because then you just trash them. You get to fucking make fun of them. I thought that's when we started doing the show. I've been a panelist on Kill Tony. I think I might have the number one amount of times, like 25 times I've been a panelist. And when we started doing it, like back in the day in the Comedy Store in the belly room, the most fun we would have is when somebody just had a hot one and then we would just fucking trash them. It became way more supportive now. Like the whole show format is like really like Tony trying to put guys over. But back in the day, we were just mean. It was just like a mean, evil fucking thing. It was so
evolved.
fun. Yeah.
It evolved. Those belly room days were wild because
Yeah.
like half the crowd would be like comics.
Yeah.
There was no one there. It was fun. But he kept doing it. I mean, he fucking did it over and over and over again until he honed that motherfucker down like a samurai sword.
Yeah. No, I'm super impressed with it. Like, Tony's the man, but that show itself is like...
I think it's inspiration even for like Story Wars. It's a very different show. It's just the idea of like the live.
The format and
Yeah.
that's...
Skanks has always been a live show, but the development of Story Wars has been very like...
Well, it's also easier when you have a format. Like, we literally just set the table and then play, and it's like we don't have to really do much. Like, when you're on a podcast like this or like Skanks, you have to actually kind of like be a little bit more present and like just sort of like you're trying to connect with the comics in a different way. When we do, it's like a game show that we created, and it's just super formatted. So it's just kind of easy to just
plug and play funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys, by doing Legion of Skanks, just by the name itself, it like opened up the door to wild comedy. because it's like you know what you're getting into. The show's called Legion of Skanks.
Well, this was a brilliant idea that Jay had. Like our secondary tagline is the most offensive podcast on earth, and it's not. There's more offensive podcasts, but it lets people. I think this is the reason we've never gotten in trouble. Is because you know exactly what you're going to get.
Right.
It's great. Like for anybody to come.
Why would you watch this if you don't want to watch the most offensive podcast?
How are you going to complain about it? You look like an idiot if you start complaining about it.
Exactly.
Adam Carolla had a great analogy about it when he did our show. He said. He was like, "This is why you guys get away with it." He's like when Snoop Dogg goes to the Grammys, Snoop Dogg goes backstage and he lights a blunt, and nobody's like, "You can't smoke back here." It's like you invited Snoop Dogg, you know what the fuck you're gonna get, right? And it's the same thing with us. I think people know what they're gonna get with us, and we sort of just, play and have fun and do our thing.
Well, you give an avenue for comedians that's like, where people know what they're going to get. And obviously people flock to it. I mean, Skankfest sells out immediately.
Yeah.
It's because people love the vibe. It's fun. It's just fun. We're not here to take ourselves seriously.
Also, broadcasting has done something for comedy. It's pretty amazing that I think broadcasters like the Howard Sterns, had that all the time. It's very interesting when you meet the people. They know you inside and out. They know the time you told a story about the thing that you fear the most, and they know whatever. And I had to get used to stuff like that where they'd be like, "Hey, did your daughter picking a college?" And you go, "The fuck you?" I'm like, "Oh, I guess I." And you're like, "Oh, I guess I talked about that on the radio this week."
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It's weird. You can forget that there's an audience out there sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You forget sometimes the things you say have weight to them.
No, absolutely. We found out the hard way when we started out. Who knew what this was going to happen when we started Legion of Skanks? We started Legion of Skanks pretty early podcast times. Not
14,
thinking about it.
14 years ago.
Don't you think even now sometimes you say things you're like, I shouldn't have said that.
No, unless it's I don't.
Yeah.
I don't unless it's about a person. Like sometimes it's about people.
Yeah, that's what we learned. We learned to stop making fun of retarded children on the internet because they have families. Well, we do sometimes, but I've had to apologize to multiple families of mentally handicapped people because we've done bits on the show, and I mean, we've gotten into where they would come to me and be like, what is wrong with you? This is like a child that has like Down syndrome. We're like, we had no idea that they.
But then they get on the phone with Lewis and they're like, I didn't mind. It was funny.
The problem is,
didn't that happen? Didn't someone say to you? They were like, I know you're kidding.
Well, no, twice now that happened, and both times I ended up becoming very friendly with the family. They came out to see me at shows. They brought the kid.
Oh, now it's your burden.
Because
that's the problem is like you're saying things with your friends like you would normally say.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you don't realize.
Ron Bennington calls it corner talk. Just corner talk with the guy.
But there's a real person on the end of these stories sometimes,
Exactly.
and that's the thing. The only thing that's changed is I think in the beginning we would just say whatever. There'd be a silly story, and now I'm going like, well, all right, is this person going to hear this? And it's just a normal person who's like, their parents are raising a special needs kid. It's a tough enough life as it is.
Buddy, I felt terrible. Last time I came in here, when you talked about it, I was like, hey, there's that video going around of that girl freaking out. And I was just going like, yeah, it's just like she wasn't ready for this moment, but I went through, didn't say the name on purpose. And there's so many videos on the internet that are like, Jay takes a shit on this girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not what I did.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes you say things because you're just talking, and then
Sure.
you realize, like, God, that other person's going to hear that. I did that recently, and I'd like to apologize to this guy. There's this guy named Flint Dibble, who's an archaeologist, and I said, he attacks other archaeologists like Graham Hancock, and he says some terrible things, but what I did was very counterproductive. What I said was, like, these weak, bitchy men, and I named him. I'm like, and then he tweeted about it. He said, I have stage 4 cancer. And I'm like, fucking forgot he had cancer.
Oh.
I didn't mean him physically. I meant his behavior, but it made me feel bad. So
Well, the guy's got a bitch body that's been
I want to
take over
tell him
cancer.
I was wrong. What I said, I shouldn't have said. There's sometimes I say things and I just think I'm talking with friends, and I realize it's going to hurt someone's feelings on the other. And it's counterproductive. Like, I'm doing the exact thing I'm accusing him of doing. He's attacking other people. I'm attacking him. It's stupid.
And we can be funny with anything. You don't need to like.
But I wasn't even being funny. I was talking to an archaeologist. I just get I got angry at this process that sometimes like established archaeologists are attacking these people who have legitimate ideas. But I shouldn't have done it that way. And you just
like
sometimes
archaeology is your one passion.
No, it's like I talk about a lot of different things, but I talk too often like I normally talk. Like sometimes when you're talking about like a serious thing, like you probably shouldn't insult people. It comes normal. Like, fuck that idiot. Like it comes out.
Sure.
And you go,
yeah,
shouldn't have.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
You get loose. You get a little too comfortable
Well,
talking.
can I tell you also, that's the smart move I said that Howard Stern did years ago that I'm trying to get better at and do. When you think something's ridiculous, praise it, and then use it and you could show everybody without having to make fun of it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
They'll make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
That was the
you could
core.
definitely do that. Well, I do that sometimes when I'm questioning people and I know they're not telling me the truth. And I'll say, wait a minute. So what you're saying is, and so I don't even have to like say that's ridiculous.
You're just
That's fucking
acknowledging,
bullshit.
yeah.
I just let the internet have it. You know?
Yeah, you go,
You know what I
really?
mean? Like Epstein didn't kill himself. You know, like that kind of a deal. Like, okay. You know, like let the internet deal with this. I'm not going to deal with this. This is like I can only be so pushy. You know, when people don't want to talk about a specific thing or want to give you an answer that you think is pretty much gaslighting you, you're like, okay, so that's a real UFO? All right. You might, you know, I have people come in here all the time that I know are bullshitting me. I know they are. Like, I feel it, you know, and sometimes it's just like, all right, you just, what are you going to do?
You'll call them sometimes.
Sometimes, but like sometimes I don't know.
Who was the guy years ago you had an argument with? But it was, again, sometimes when vernacular causes the problem. I feel like at the time you were just like in a rhythm of saying the word bitch at the end of a sentence a lot. And you said something, you're like, come on, bitch. You can't think that way, bitch. And he was like, you're calling me a bitch a lot. You're bullying the shit out of me.
Who was that?
Was it Crowder?
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a weed conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I thought I was
bitch.
talking
He was like,
to him like a
bitch.
comedian.
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
would just
yeah.
go along with it, and he got genuinely offended.
He was like,
and
you
I was
called
like,
me a
I didn't
bitch. I feel like
mean
you're
that.
bullying me.
Yeah, we said we were bullying him because we were like researching information live that was countering what he was saying. It was trying, and he didn't have access to it. I was like, all right, you know, whatever.
So he was being a real bitch.
I was trying to be a good host, and I wasn't. And I was being too like a comic. Like I could talk to you that way,
Sure.
and we would have fun. I could talk to you that way, we would have fun. He wasn't. He was a little serious.
Shit, you can call those a bitch all day.
That's the problem. Some people
Tee
just
off
get
on the sky.
If you're choking me while I jerk off, you can call me whatever you want.
Some people just get serious, and you don't realize they're serious. Like, oh, you're serious. Like, you're really upset. Okay, because we're so used to talking shit, it's so normal.
Yeah.
Like when people talk shit about me, I'm like, I would do that. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna
You're
get
too
mad.
famous to not. You can't get offended. You're so big at this point that it's just part of the territory.
That's part of the problem with saying things like about that Flint Dibble guy. You don't think about it while you're saying it. Like you're saying it to millions of people.
Yeah.
It's like it's not just talking. You know, and you're like,
Guy's dusting off a raptor bone, and you just see a tear hit it because he's listening to you in his headphones. That guy's a dumb idiot. He's
I
like,
genuinely felt bad.
my raptor bone.
But it's like, I actually didn't have a bad time talking to him. We had to confront him on this one thing because he accused Graham Hancock of being attached to white supremacy and this like weird thing about Atlantis. Like, how does that have anything like? And he tried to deny it, and we pulled up the quote that he did.
Because Hancock says no blacks in Atlantis.
No, this is like this thing that these people do when they try to discredit things. Like certain academics will do, where they'll connect what you're doing to racism or homophobia. They'll just try to like virtue signal their way into a position where everything you're doing is wrong. And it's the thing about Atlantis is a weird one. It's like it's apparently at one point in time there was some white supremacist that like was pushing the theory of Atlantis being this great white race, but that's not what any of the people that are legitimately trying to research it think.
Well, you think
they
black
think it was
people-
in sub-Saharan Africa.
You think black people are going to let their hair be wet all the time? I'm no archaeologist, but I am a bitch.
What do you think Atlantis is? You think they get in the water?
Oh, isn't it the underwater
No.
land of
The
Atlantis?
The lost city of Atlantis.
no,
Yeah, what an
no,
idiot,
no,
right?
no,
I didn't
no.
think that either, Joe.
What were we talking about? The Bahamas? What a fraud.
Atlantis, they believe, was this structure. There was a series of concentric circles that had like a lake running through it. It's like really fascinating because there's this place called the Richard structure in South Africa. And this is another one of those things that archaeologists will argue about because this thing looks like Atlantis. And there's this guy named Jimmy Corsetti, and he gets labeled a Nazi for talking about it. It's like weird stuff, man, where they try to make you look like you're racist for pursuing this idea.
And the people who defend
totally
that, if you
understand
defend
it.
a person
You're
for
defending racism.
you're defending racism, and
Right.
it becomes this whole stupid argument that nobody really believes, and it only exists on the internet.
Exactly.
And nobody in real life gives
in
a shit.
academia, they believe it. Like,
Yeah.
And if they don't believe it, they use it as a tool. And they'll use it as a tool to dismiss you. But this is one of the things that came up during that topic, that when even archaeologists come up with a new timeline for things where it throws the old history into a tizzy, they attack them. Like, and Graham Hancock brought up this concept of Clovis first. They used to think that the Clovis people, like 13,000 years ago, were the first people in North America. And this one guy found evidence of people that lived a long time ago, and they fucking ruthlessly destroyed his career. They attacked this guy, and it turned out he was right. And they found these footprints in White Sands, New Mexico. They're 22,000 years old of human beings. So they were probably living here even before that. But they destroy people that come up with an idea that throws their expertise into question. And that's what they're all doing with Graham Hancock. What they do is he's pointing out that there's some real evidence that perhaps there was an advanced civilization that was thousands of years older than we think civilization started at.
No crime and only 3-pointers.
Well, it is in Africa. That's the fascinating thing. It's all in Africa. Egypt's in Africa. You know, all this sub-Saharan stuff where they think the Richard structure. Let me show them what it looks like. It's crazy because the area, when you zoom out, looks like it was hit with a massive flood. Like everything looked like all water erosion, like it was like massive amounts of water just destroyed the landscape. It still looks like that today. And it's in the exact same place. Like it's the mountains are north of it, the sea is below it. That's what it looks like. And that is like the size that Atlantis is described in Plato's recollections of it, or Plato's stories about it. You know, there's a lot of debate about it, but the position that it's in and the weirdness of what it is makes a bunch of these ancient history guys that really believe in Atlantis, just like they really believed in Troy. They thought Troy was mythical until they found it, and then they're like, "Oh, geez, Troy was a real thing." So there's a lot of these people that are the gatekeepers of academia. And they don't want anything to be dated older than what they've established and what they've taught in lectures. And
because everything's wrong then?
Everything's wrong. Well, everything is wrong. There's weird stuff like Lebanon. Have you seen those fucking stones in Lebanon?
No.
There's these immense, I think they're called the trilithon stones or the trillion stones. They're so fucking big. And they're supposed to be, somebody's moved these from a quarry and placed them in place. And you look at them like, how? How long ago? And then there's older stuff. There's stuff that's built on top of it. Look at the size of these fucking stones.
My Flintstone theory works here, but I think it's a brontosaurus that a man is controlling.
Baalbek, that's what it is. Look at the size of these fucking stones. And if that one up in the top in the center, right to the right of that, Jamie, that one. So that shows you the size of these fucking stones that are in place. Like if you put a person next to them, they'd be like, these are 5 meters high. That's fucking bananas.
How many miles per hour is that?
I don't know. 5 meters, 25 feet. So those are 25 feet high. 15. Oh, sorry. 3. It's 3. Right. Yeah. Sorry. My math sucks, obviously. But these stones weigh some fucking insane amount. And there's no explanation. Those cornerstones, that's all one giant piece. And how? How the fuck did you do that? And there's a bunch of shit in Malta. They found Neanderthal bones, so maybe Neanderthals were in Malta, and maybe the land bridge was connected. And there's all this confusion about the date of these like ancient structures, because it seems like people built other structures on top of them. And when they find stuff like this, there's like this great resistance of anybody to try to like say they don't understand it. They always try to come up with some sort of an explanation, even when it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Wasn't the Colosseum, wasn't it completely underground at one point? They discovered it?
No. The Sphinx was underground. But the head was above it, and then they cleared out the sand.
God.
The Colosseum
You
was
came off stupid as shit there.
No,
I don't think it was underground. No. The Colosseum has always been there, but they did used to be able to get water in it. They used to have water fights.
Yeah.
They'd have boat fights in there.
It was crazy.
Bro, imagine
really cool shit.
Watching people get eaten by lions in front of everybody. Imagine what that was like.
Well, back then, you understand, they didn't they would have these games, and they would bring in they would have like hunts, and they would have like animal fights and shit like that. But it's like back then, to see a giraffe, it looked like an alien. Like they had no idea what they would bring in animals from Africa, like rhinoceros.
Yeah, these people didn't have YouTube. They weren't traveling.
They had no idea. It was like it literally like you're watching aliens fight.
Have you been to the Colosseum?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Did you see those things where they lift them up through the floor and then the lions will pop out?
They had underground. They have a whole pulley system where like they have elevators, and they would have slaves like pulling people up, and it was a whole show. It was a really cool thing.
I appreciate you saying slaves lower.
If they had that right now, we would watch it.
Yeah.
If there's something on YouTube, like I've already seen. Have you seen the night fights where guys dress up in armor and beat the fuck out
Yeah,
of each
yeah.
other. with
Harrington,
axes?
Harrington does
doing
the
it,
he does the commentary for it. He's like the Joe Rogan of night fighting.
That's so ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, shit.
They hit each other with battle axes and shit.
Yeah.
a scepter strike to the leg.
But it's like they look tough, and then they take their helmets off, and they're just fucking virgins. It's like just these really nerdy fat dudes.
Preemptive balding
Some of
people.
them know how to fight, though. I've seen ones where guys take guys down, leg kick them.
They're MMA guys that are getting into it. It's just another like outlet.
Another outlet.
Part of the floor of the Coliseum was buried until the mid-19th century.
Oh, you were right. There you go.
I knew. Yeah.
One floor.
I don't want to correct you.
Hypogean floor lay buried under 40 feet of earth. All memory of its function, even existent. What is that? The floor that lifts up? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the floor. There was stuff sticking out of it, and then they went and they uncovered that there was like an entire underground system, like all this shit. It was actually really all
so
really
did
recent.
someone cover it up? Did you go back to that description, Jamie? Because I think it explained that someone covered it up.
Well, I mean, they destroyed most of Rome, so I'm sure it was part of it.
I wonder why they did that.
They were using all this shit for
The tour that I did of the Coliseum was boring as shit.
Mussolini fixed it. The guy wasn't all bad.
What were you saying, Jamie? What'd you say?
They were using the pieces of the city for construction or whatever else they were building, new stuff. Same with like the pyramids.
People shit on Mussolini. I'm pulling that right.
Horrible.
They go, Mussolini, what a monster. I go, clean the floor of the Coliseum.
They did that with the pyramids. They stole the fucking stones from the outside of it.
Yeah,
people are so gross.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well,
It's
remember
like
the
when-
Trevi Fountain a few years ago in Rome? They poured like black ink in it or something, just protesters. It was like, and they literally had to drain the fountain, and it took like however many months to clean it. It was fucked up.
The Colosseum architects made changes to allow new methods of stagecraft. Other changes were accidental. Fire sparked by lightning in 217 AD gutted the stadium, sent huge blocks of travertine plunging into the hypogeum.
What?
That whole area is so nuts, man.
217.
That's a lot of words.
How do they have those facts?
Coliseum was really cool. I learned more about it. I did a gladiator training program with my son. They have it was like a little like place you went, and I learned so much about the Coliseum doing that, more than the tour. The tour was boring as shit. I went in like August. It was 110 degrees out. It was insane.
He's aggressively trying to make his son straight.
But that was a cool experience. Like, dude,
It's fucking cool as shit, man.
they didn't
'cause
kill
it's-
each other. The gladiators, like that's all like
It's
lore.
lies?
That's
They
all lies.
didn't?
It was none of that because it was like pro wrestlers. If your gladiator killed another gladiator, the guy who owned that gladiator would have to pay the other guy who owned that gladiator. They were all slaves. So it was all just show. It was like pro wrestling. They would cut each other, but they had like big, like fat bellies, so they wouldn't cut each other's organs. They had to like do it in a certain way. It was all show.
Really?
It did happen once in a while, but that was more rare when you see an actual death.
So occasionally they would fight for real to the death.
I don't even. Yeah, I'm sure occasionally they did.
Where
but
did you get all this information?
from my gladiator training program?
Really?
Yeah.
The guy's certified. I mean, what are you gonna do? Argue the guy's
But like
certification?
the
He's got
different
paperwork.
weapons and the costumes they would wear and like the type of
Yeah.
armor they would wear is like there was like, whatever, like, a couple dozen different types of guys, and you'd be like, oh, that's the guy with the fucking mace and like
Yeah.
a certain helmet. And it was like it was free as well. All the people in Rome, there wasn't a ticket price. The government would sponsor it, so it was just to get people like, keep them happy. And fucking the richer you were, the closer you were. Like all the peasants would be up in the rafters.
Right.
But
So the movie Gladiators bullshit? Is that what you're
yeah, a
trying
lot
to tell
of it's
me?
bullshit. There was no thumbs down, thumbs up.
What? A common misconception that gladiators always fought to the death. The winner survived and the loser died. Very rarely, and usually with special dispensation from the emperor, would there be sign miso battles, which automatically meant death for the loser, with no chance of being spared. So occasionally they died.
Yeah.
Very rarely they died.
But they were like celebrities. Like the gladiators would come out and they were like,
Wow.
Does
Some
he think
historians
this
say,
means-
oh, wait a minute, 1 in 5 died in battle. That's a lot. Others say 1 in 10. Most only lived to their mid-20s, which compared to today's
well, they
average-
would die of their injuries very often. It wasn't like it was fight to the death. They just
would
didn't
just
have
get
medicine.
stabbed.
Like, yeah, they would
They
get
get
stabbed and
stab
get infected.
infection.
But Gladiator 2 was right, though, right?
But that, I mean, when he's talking about the water, they would fill it up with water and have boat fights. That was a real thing in Gladiator 2.
Oh, I see. Now I'm bummed out. I thought they really fought to the death.
Like every time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. Well, I've got bad news about the WWF also. Oh, my God. Then, you know what? I might as well pull the Band-Aid off if we're already here. Wrestling also.
But it was like akin to pro wrestling. Like they would have like personalities and people would like,
That was a problem in Japan in the early days of MMA. Some of the fights were fixed.
Yeah.
You could tell. And you could tell like certain guys would win by leg lock.
Well, they'd
That's
have,
where
like,
you can stomp and
they'd
shit
have
too,
professional
right?
You could do
wrestler,
everything, yeah.
like promoters, do those MMA fights.
What does it say,
This is
Jeremy?
describing the animal hunts they did, but I'll skip ahead to this part here.
Hypogeum played a vital role in these staged hunts, allowing animals and hunters to enter the arena countless ways. Eyewitnesses describe how animals appeared suddenly from below as if by magic, sometimes apparently launched high into the air. The Hypogeum allowed the organizers of the game to create surprises and build suspense. A hunter in the arena wouldn't know where the next lion would appear or whether 2 or 3 lions might emerge instead of one.
Yeah, out of those like
Holy
trap doors
shit.
in the bottom, a lion would just jump out, and you're watching a dude like hunt lions. How cool is that, though?
This uncertainty could be exploited for comic effect.
He goes, guys, I'm not afraid of no bullshit ass lion. I fuck a lion. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Emperor Galenius punished a merchant who had swindled the empress, selling her glass jewels instead of authentic ones, by setting him in the arena to face a ferocious lion. When the cage opened, however, a chicken walked out to the delight of the crowd. Galenius then told the herald to proclaim he practiced deceit and then had it practiced on him. The emperor let the jeweler go home. Whoa. So they let people, so it wasn't that
Killed
mean.
him days later.
They were less mean than we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still pretty brutal.
Well, it was a fucking brutal time to be alive back then, man.
Dude, 1 in 5 got to live. Relax.
1 in 10, maybe 1 in 10.
Maybe even 1 in 10. No
Yeah.
big whoop.
I bet a lot of dudes were sliced up, though. You ever see those Nazi dueling scars where the Nazis in like when they were in like military school, they would have duels with sword fights, and their faces would get slashed up, and that was like their badge of courage. So all the Nazis that came over for NASA, they all had these like crazy Nazi dueling scars.
All over their faces?
Yeah, you ever see those?
Mm-mm.
Bro, it's so creepy.
They do the shit we do now in arenas too with like t-shirt guns.
Ah!
Snacks fell from the sky.
Snacks as
Wood-
abundantly as hail, one observer noted, along with wooden balls containing tokens for prizes, food, money, or even the title to an apartment, which sometimes set off violent scuffles among spectators struggling
Nothing
to grab
changes
them.
today.
Nothing.
There used to be a blimp that would go around the Sixer Stadium and drop coupons for Hers potato chips, and I've seen people fall off of balconies for them.
It was as hot as a boiler room in the summer, humid and cold in the winter, and filled all year round with strong smells from the smoke, sweating workmen packed in the narrow corridors, and the reek of the wild animals.
And no bathrooms and all that.
Did people just shit into holes?
Well, they always did. You know,
Ugh.
where would you go if you're hot and you're drunk?
And everybody's got the plague. All right, boys. Should we wrap this bitch up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's bring it home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Are we
much.
officially in the Rogan sphere now?
Yeah, you're in. Come on, man.
God.
You were always in.
All right, you said it here. So
You were
we're here.
always in. What the fuck are you talking about? We just don't see each other enough.
Please watch my specials.
Yes.
Them Day, both
yes,
available on
They're
YouTube.
awesome. Anything you got?
Yeah, check out Story. It's mine and Big J's new podcast, Story Wars, which is great. And yeah, I got a book actually. You know what?
You wrote a book?
I'm writing. I'm almost done with it. It's coming out December 2nd. It's pre-sale right now on Amazon.
What's it about?
It's my childhood memoir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it starts off with the
What made you want to do that?
A dude who wrote other books was like
Knives and Spoons.
Yeah,
A memoir.
yeah. He was like, "Hey, dude, I can get you a book deal," and I was like, "Really?" And then I started working with him on it, and yeah, it's been good. It's dark, it's funny, it's fucked up. It's about just my fucked up childhood and finding comedy.
I always admire someone who can write a book.
Yeah,
Like, I always admired Norton. He's written a couple of books. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, you wrote a whole book. Like, actually wrote a book.
Norton's a man. Norton's in town right now.
Yeah, yeah. He's here Friday.
He's doing Story Wars tonight.
Nice.
Nice.
Where you guys at the creek?
No, we're at your club.
Oh, you're my club.
That's how little Joe knows about his
Fantastic.
own club.
What time is
Christ.
it?
This is our path.
7:30 and 10:30. Why don't you come, Joe? Why don't you come on Story Wars?
Oh, I don't have any good stories.
That's
I used them all up.
You-
I used them all. I've had 2,500 fucking episodes. I've used them all up. I
You
have
don't need
nothing
good
left.
stories. I'll tell you all.
There's going to be something that goes, once on an archaeology journey. I'm like, oh, this is Joe. This is definitely Joe, I think. I think this one's Joe.
One time I was talking to the director of the CIA. He's like, well, that must be Joe.
Took out a black bear from a helicopter with a crossbow.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
It was a
man.
lot of fun. Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Joe.
All right. Bye, everybody.